Lift off. We're not even halfway there yet, Royal Ascot. And as you've heard, the RP Queen... the mics were going live then, by the way, Nat. Honestly, the people they put me in to work with on this show, you never know. Welcome back to Racing Post Live. We're still here, we're still kicking. It's Gold Cup Day, everyone. Happy Gold Cup Day. Stradivarius, Kyprios, no Trushan now, of course. The biggest certainty of the week is out. That was always going to happen, wasn't it? Let us know you're out there. Loads of people watching the show this week. 2 contrasting days. Madness, pandemonium on the Tuesday after Baid got the meeting off to an absolute flyer. Yesterday, slightly more decorum, but what a day we had. Winning naps all over the place. Loads of winners coming your way. This is the real-time action here on RP Live with Betfair, of course. Everything Exchange, everything Sportsbook. If you don't know already, you're going to be educated. It's an all-in-house panel again. I'm thrilled to say. Let's go down. Give us a thumbs up on YouTube. That's what it's all about. Let us know you're out there. Like and subscribe. That's the way you can say it. Loads of chat we've had this week. Great socials, honestly. Highlights of the week so far. What's yet to come? The decks are out, obviously, for Saturday. Home affairs. The good thing in the Platinum Jubilee. No Queenie today, unfortunately. But will she make it on Saturday? Fingers crossed for Her Majesty. Is she going to win the last? That's the question, isn't it? The market expects it. All right, if you're watching on Facebook Live, say hello, get involved. Anything on Twitter? Bustling Twitter this week. Hashtag RP Live. Dave Orton, thrilled to be with you again, and Natalie Green, who they already know is here.
It was a long intro, wasn't it?
It was longer than normal. I'm sort of saving you. Oh, Barry's not. Look, Barry's here as well. Look, Barry's come in for the once again.
I'm sorry
not the derby.
I am really sorry for putting you off. It was just I was watching Ripon and Paul Mulrennan just won, but he nearly fell off after the line. I wasn't laughing at that. I went, whoa, go! Anyway, he won. So
Your
sorry.
pal.
I'm sorry for interrupting you there. But what a tremendous day. And also, Dave, what a great week so far. Very privileged to be in the studio. It's been a lot of fun.
How are you feeling? Because you've been doing quite a bit for us, haven't you?
I'm feeling great. Really
Yeah?
good. Really great to work with different people. First time I worked with Maddie. It's been really great in the mornings.
Yeah,
And
she loved
Keel's obviously so insightful. We've had some big prices. Doesn't always go to plan. But we're trying. That's what we're here for. We're trying.
You'll notice we're slightly later today, and that's because Keith Melrose is with us back. The betting editor himself dares to join us, finally.
Danes is the word you're looking for.
Danes. Thank you. Oh, he's already got in there, hasn't he? He's
Well, tell you what, I've got a bone to pick with you, because I get subjected to a quiz every damn week on that flat pack now, and it's because of you.
The Quizmaster is
you
back.
are the Quizmaster.
Barry was even asking a question earlier, and the only person that knew it was, of course, Keith, which we'll get to later on in the show. Barry, how was the first 2 days?
Great. Been fantastic.
Was it?
Yeah, it was. It was a real privilege to be there. I'm glad to be in here now as well, obviously, but it's just a fantastic meeting. They do everything really, really well. Ascot, I know I've given out about where they had the press tent for us, but that's another day's work.
No fireworks?
No fireworks, no, all on the race course.
Yeah.
Are you glad to be here because of the aircon?
That's a help, yeah. That's a
Scorchio
big help.
out there, isn't it?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
It
We had a
is.
bit of lunch, didn't we, before the show, and we walked back, and I'll tell
It's
you
really
what,
hot.
2 miles felt like the Ida, Keith. You'll be delighted to
Hey,
know.
what it is, Dave? It's muggy.
It's a bit, what do they call it? Yeah, close. Yeah, muggy.
Close.
How are you feeling out there? Where are you watching? Let us know. And I've got some friends watching the show today. Smith's out there. Happy days. Welcome to you. If you're having a barbecue or you're at the track, you can take us, of course. Let us know how you're watching. I always like to hear that. I can see the chat is absolutely flying up. We're not too far away from the first. It's the Norfolk Stakes. We better get to Barry, haven't we? Is there a lucky 15? Now, Barry, one of these is going to land soon.
There is a lucky 15, Dave. There is, and hopefully today's the day that it's going to land. So we're taking 4 horses. Obviously, it's 6 doubles, 4 trebles, an accumulator, and 4 singles. And what we're going to do, I'm going to get it up here on the bet slip. The 4 horses are: first leg is the Antarctic in the opener. Our second leg is Flying Dolphin in the 305, the handicap. Then we're on to Who Put 50 in You in the Britannia.
Ooh.
Really like that one. Yeah. And then our last leg is in the Queen's race, Maksud. We're going to take that against Reach for the Moon.
You were always going to lay that today.
You have to take that.
It's quite.
You have
The
to
Queen
take-
isn't in the procession, but this is one, isn't it?
Listen, it looks like the biggest boat race of all time, but at the price, it's going to be artificially short. So that's a play that we'll get to in good time. But we're going to do £1 each way, lucky 15. So it's going to cost us 30 quid, 7,286 if that comes up. So fingers crossed for that lucky 15. Wallbank is a short order in the first race, Dave, but. yeah, I'm hoping that the Antarctic can do us a favour.
He's a big price now, isn't he? He was, of course, the anti-post favourite, wasn't he? And the fact that they've moved the chess pieces about with the 2-year-olds a bit, he was always confirmed for this race, wasn't he?
The Antarctic was,
Yeah.
yeah. The one thing I just don't like about it is the way they backed Little Big Bear yesterday was like the feet was out of the question.
That's the thing, isn't
Yeah,
it?
He
so
got massively punted. It's almost like I bet they might regret doing that. He might have been the big one, mightn't he? He might
Well,
have done
that was the big one. I think we know that,
he's
don't we?
been the big punt of the
Yeah.
week so far, all right. So that just has me a little bit worried about the Antarctic. But I just really like him. I thought he showed a good resolution last day in Nace. I think he's an eminently backable price at 9-2 currently on the exchange. Your favourite wall bank 2.88, 7.4 Brave Nation. That's fancy. Pillow Talk is 10-1.
Everything's a backable price bar that favourite, haven't they? You know, he's so short now.
Making the market for everything.
Massively.
around.
I mean, obviously he's got a great chance. And how
Did you
much
do the paper preview for this?
I did, yeah.
Yeah.
And I mentioned that I think part of the reason his horse is so popular is because he's got so many shades of Go Bears Go, who was second, I think, in this last year, and went on to win all those good 2-year-old races.
Now, what's the line?
He's in the what was it? I
What's
said?
the line? If they
I
wanted
forget.
to go one better than Go Bears Go.
Oh, they couldn't have dreamt a better horse than this. He's by a speedier sire. He's got a faster pit. His
Great
dam
line.
was actually finished racing before the St Ledger meeting at 2. She was dead precocious, no lippy. And the sire is Kodiak, who is speedier than Cody Bear, who's Go Bears Go's sire. He's just got everything going for him to be a faster version of Go Bears Go, and he nearly won the Norfolk himself.
Sure. I've got a bit of a confession to make. The Antarctic was my lay of the week on Monday, when I thought he would be like little.
9-4.
So this I'm doing
Yeah.
a U here, not laying this at this price.
Yeah.
You must be crazy. But when do you start to worry about these 2-year-olds in Ballydor that become a slightly more attractive price than you might imagine?
Yeah, I know. I'm actually with Wallbank on here. I think I've got it in my head with the Antarctic. Of course, I can see the appeal. I'm not, not totally stupid. Obviously, brother to Batash. I mean, this tick 750,000, purchase price, and of course they can win this. It's just, I know he was green when he came out stalls at Tipperary, but was upset in the stalls, then ducked left. I didn't really like that much, and the big atmosphere of Ascot. And then, okay, fine, next time was a bit more sort of grown up, but still hung a bit left. I just like horses over 5 furlongs to just be dead straight and just uncomplicated. So I've managed to pick a hole with the Antarctic.
There's a lot that can go. You're coming out of stall 10 and down the middle stalls at Ascot as well. There's a lot of ways you can go. There's a lot of leeway to drift if you're going to zigzag. So I can see that one. I mean, I don't know about Barry, because you seem to know more than certainly me what's happening in the Ballydoyle. Who's the fancied one? You seem to hear stuff. Maybe.
Well, just looking at the market, I suppose I'm reading Ryan Moore's piece as well. Ryan's been really open, unusually open in some of his columns on Betfair in recent months. And obviously, this is a dark angel cult. There's not many dark angels in Ballydoyle. He carried his penno in Nace, and he's done it well, but the market is not speaking in his favour. He's out to 6 now on the exchange, so that's a bad sign for my money.
Historically, they don't have the greatest of record in this. Let's just go to socials, of course. There's the social corner, and Dimp, which is a moniker I've not seen so far this week. Welcome back. Watch the Antarctic's last 2 races. One under one length, both times he's won against Nout. So
I wouldn't say that now. The horse that he beat, Wado, ran yesterday, was only 5 lengths off Little Big Bear yesterday. There's not many have ran again out of the races that he's won. But I think it's fair to say that any one of these could take a massive step forward. It's hard to be dogmatic about anything in these 2-year-old
races. It is, absolutely. And you'll see it in here. In fact, it was lovely at my tip, Barry. Thank you for that. But a lot of them have just they've won their maiden and been saved for coming into Norfolk. I think that's exactly what's happened. Everybody likes Brave Nation, who's taken that route.
Yeah.
But
Michael Bell's horse.
I've gone for the other one, which is Bakil.
Yeah.
Andrew Balding has obviously started having a really good go with his 2-year-olds now. He obviously won the Windsor Castle, I think in 2020, and was third or second. Tactical. He won the Albany and the Coventry last year. He's not won the Norfolk yet. I think he's taken dead aim with Bakil, who won in a good time over this course and distance on his debut.
There.
Yeah, he's a big horse, isn't he?
He is a big
He's
horse.
a big horse.
Big horse.
There was a Mark Johnson filly in the race for Highclere. I can't remember the name of it. He made it look tiny.
It's big. He's big though.
And he's a stallion who seems to be making a big name for himself.
Yeah, exactly. So that's another thing that links him
Sioux
and Brave
Nation.
Nation. They're both the Sioux Nation, who won this race 5 years ago. And he's got obviously a lot of early 2-year-olds basically for that reason. In fact, is the Norfolk the Group 2 that's most likely to guarantee you a place at stud?
Good question. Let's have a look down the previous winners as they amble down to the stalls then. They're there on this really hot day. Perfect Power, who goes in tomorrow's Commonwealth Cup, we've been name-checking you this week. The 5th Classic, like
No Name Never.
No Nay Never, who we've got Reckless Abandon, Prince of Lear, Sioux Nation, the Lear Jet, of course.
All sires now, aren't they?
Dutch Art.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
You forget about Shang.
Johannesburg, Dutch
Yeah,
Art.
it was Johannesburg. He was a monster.
Turtle
One of my
Island.
favourite ever 2-year-olds, Johannesburg. Oh,
How could he not be? He won everything, didn't he?
Yeah.
marvellous horse.
But anyway, I just think, just to finish off on Bakil, I just think he's been dead aimed at this. I don't think there's anything wrong with the fact he's been off 7 weeks. I think that's been exactly the plan.
Absolutely, and the fact that they ran Chateau yesterday in the Windsor Castle, I keep calling it Windsor Forest, in the Windsor Castle, he ran more right, didn't he? This is the one, I think. Who's on top for you then?
Yeah, I was going to ask Barry to showcase really at Betfair and the Exchange how we can play it. So, like, if I wanted Pillow Talk without the fav, for example, what would I get there? Because I do really like Pillow Talk.
Do you love a bit of Pillow Talk?
Hey, can you imagine? I never shut up, do I?
Poor old Dom.
Poor husband's probably like, I'm not coming to bed. Hopefully she's
He
fallen
doesn't need
asleep.
to die as a pair.
Favourite
Straight
out
to sleep.
overtutable now on the Exchange. 305.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
Yeah.
5.6 the Antarctic. Brave Nation, money for that, 8.8. Pillow Talk, money for that, 8.8. And Crispy Cat, money for that, 9.2.
Yeah, Crispy Cat is interesting, I think, because Maria Bramwell got him on the line, didn't it, last time? He got first run on it, and I think he's quite interesting on the Blackbeard form. But I'm on Wallbank, but again, I was hoping that a horse called Clearpoint was going to turn up here for last year's winning Connections. He's not in the race for whatever reason. I hope he's all right. I thought Wallbank was the danger to him over the Antarctic, actually, so I'm on it. I think 2-1 is all right. That Ascot maiden is sizzling form, isn't it? Royal Scotsman, of course, but very close in the Coventry.
Noble style, yeah.
But my slight reservation about Wallbank, if you're going in, is that he's probably got one way of running. If he does what he does at York, it's not going to be so easy to do that here. He's very quick horse. And when Golden Pal wins, we were saying on Tuesday, he does it by taking them out of their comfort zone. He breaks 44 seconds over 800 metres. Everything else is gasping at that point. He's not a horse you hold up from the front. I reckon Wallbank is that similar to that. Can you do that at Ascot? The jocks don't think so. We were talking about the Hunt Cup yesterday. How good was it yesterday to have Matt Williams in as well? Wonderful.
You can do.
Just in
Number
pictures,
8,
the Riddler's being a pain.
Named
Well
after
named.
an ex-colleague of mine, maybe. Andrew Rydell.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh, yeah, there's a chap.
I've got to say, the Antarctic looks beautiful in pictures. Really impressive to look at. So, yeah, I might go massive then. Wallbank chased home by Pillow Talk.
Great stuff. So basically, if you're international, let us know where you are. Had loads of Japanese guys yesterday joining us for Shariah. It was a bit disappointing, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Oh, just about
I
come
messed
back
up on that. I
out
had
the parapet after Baybridge got... Well, he ran his race, didn't he, Baybridge, don't you think?
Yeah, he might win a good race over a mile and a half.
I think we're all in.
We're all in. OK, we'll come back to that. Loads of chat about the previous 2 days. So much more still to come. RP Live first race. Good luck wherever you're playing in the north. It is 2:30 and everything. I'm glad to say after a nice break. Now, where are they going to go? The centre of the track is what's been fancied. And I tell you what, the Antarctic's going. He's given a nice sight, isn't he, up there at the moment, Barry? Does that mean his price has come in slightly after a furlong or not at all?
No, he's 5.4, 3 Wallbank, 7 Brave Nation and Pillow Talk.
They're being a bit more conservative, Keith, aren't they, with Wallbank? Probably a wise idea.
I think so, yeah. I mean, you're 44 seconds for half a mile. You'd die if you did that at Ascot. It's very, very fast fractions up a very stiff track over that 5 furlong course. They don't stop climbing until the last furlong there.
Thunder Moor's going well on the near side of Carl Burke, who took out the first yesterday, now slightly off the bridle. Here we go, then it's the Antarctic going for it. What do you like now?
I like the way Wallbank's going here.
You
I'm
think of that
happy.
staying?
I'm happy.
Yeah, it's Wallbank basically from Thunder Moor on the near side now. Here
Green
we go.
colours.
This is
Riddler
the
on the
Michael
far
Bell
side.
goal. The Learjet connections is
Riddler
coming.
on
The
the
Riddler's
far
doing
side.
all right. Wallbank's paddling
Riddler's got
slightly,
it.
but he's got it at the moment.
Come on.
He's going to
Got
get
it.
done, Wallbank.
Oh, he's
Favourite
hanging
done in the
across.
first because the Riddler's won all over the place actually, but just Wallbank for second. But the Riddler has won for Richard Fahey, who took the tip then. No clear point. He's taking it anyway. Back-to-back wins for Richard Fahey with Paul Hannigan.
Paul
50
Hannigan
to
in the
1
place.
shot. Yeah, exactly. Paul Hannigan, the Manigan. Has
The
got
irony of that.
The irony of
Having
that.
left.
That's Sod's Law, isn't
Where's
it?
Where's Oshin
Where's
now?
Oshin riding
Where's
today?
Oshin
He's suspended, wasn't he?
Is he suspended?
He was beaten by Chateau, this chap. We covered that on the show, of course, in the, what's it called now? Yeah, the Brian Yeardley, isn't it, at Beverley. Beverley's been well advertised, actually, on this show this week.
Yeah.
It was, I don't know, every chance, Natty, for Wallbank.
Yeah, no excuses. I wouldn't have personally had the Riddler. That was a great performance. Fahey will be absolutely delighted. I mean, if we think back, I mean, when I used to work on all the Yorkshire tracks, you'd always be backing Fahey and
Well, absolutely, yeah.
You would, but they'd be delighted. But yeah, the irony with Paul Hannigan on board. But
well, it's not. The thing is, Hannigan said at the time of the split, "Oh, there's been no fallout here," and I said, "Yeah, we'll see about that, shall we?"
Well, this is the thing.
And then from get put up to date, there clearly hasn't been a falling out.
Trainers always say he'll continue to ride for me. I don't want to name check Sean Flanagan and Noel Mead, but that was the most recent one we had, of course.
Yeah.
And he goes, he'll continue to ride for me, and there's like zero from zero. I don't know, but this is it's great to see. And Paul Hannigan, of course, very good on the straight track at Ascot. What was the Champions Day sprint he won?
108 Betfair SP.
Is that what it was? And well done to the mighty Gomez. I'm hearing that you had it in the chat out there. Absolutely one of our regulars.
Yeah.
Whopping.
Somebody else, one of the other regulars pulled him up. I saw that in the chat. Yeah, so the Riddler.
Oh yeah, right. Okay. Yeah, absolutely.
Well,
great stuff.
well, that's
very
right.
well. He wandered around a little bit, didn't he?
Are we going to say he's an enigmatic sort?
Yeah, right. Well, he has actually.
Look at him. He's hung across the whole field there.
Hang on a minute.
he has.
There
He's
will be a
bumped,
steward.
There'll be a steward.
Brave Nation got.
He won't get turfed out, but Hannigan might get a wee.
Brave Nation did get like.
So we're watching it now, about half a furlong out. They're all under the cosh. He is the last on the bride, but he's done Crispy Cat absolutely no. It's definitely cost that second.
And Brave Nation gets a real
hello.
look. It gets a bit of a wallop here. See, gets chested.
But he's not in danger of being thrown out here, is he?
Any other country in the world, he is thrown out. I don't think he'll get chucked out here.
The Antarctic, quite see it out, really, did he?
No, he's done nothing wrong. He travelled well into the race. I'd say that's probably as good as he is.
I've not seen anything up that near side finish this week.
Nothing yet. Nothing yet.
A bit disappointed with Pillar Talk as well. It kind of hung in the early stage. Did you see the head carriage?
The kill was a bit disappointing as well, wasn't he?
Oh, he's absolutely
Murdered
clattered
Brave
him.
Nation.
Definitely.
Are we thinking this is going to get a bit spicy then, or?
Well, he's really bumped into Brave Nation. Really, like in his chest, and completely knocked him off his stride. It's not easy. But
what would normally happen is that
would run it again.
the coward's way out really is to throw the book at Hannigan and let the horse keep the race.
That's what happens here, though, isn't it?
Tends to be what happens. They'll just give Hannigan.
He's got a Royal Ascot win, so it's kind of like.
Well, exactly. Yeah.
More than take
that's why it's the coward's
Chris
way out.
Cook in particular, our front runner, he's been the most vocal here recently, hasn't he? About the way that jockeys can happily take how many days they want, and the fine, because this is job done, isn't it? I just didn't really see it. It's a fair play to Commander von Roerich, I'm hearing. One of our regular commenters out there was on it as well, so fair play. I mean,
one thing you would say is, well, that horse has obviously looked so. You can't really chalk that up to an experience here. He's one of the most experienced horses in the field. This was his fourth run. He's run at Ripon twice as well, which is a funny old track.
The undulations.
The undulations of Ripon. It's like a links fairway Ripon. And he's also run at Beverley. So
Brazen Bow.
Wasn't he a bit of a
Brazen Bow was the horse that got done, wasn't it? We were saying that on Tuesday, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Home affairs still to come, of course. Chris Waller already off the mark. James McDonald, the Kiwi Hoop. Is he the best in the world, James McDonald? A few questions being...
Oh, he's a great jockey. I mean, the fact that he's ridden here before shows relative to someone like Irad Ortiz, who never has, and it's been showing so far this week, whereas McDonald rode here for a while, looked really good even then.
Stouty used him, didn't he?
Just a damn good jockey.
Was he with Shannon? I remember Hugh Bowman was with Shannon. I mean, mixed sons.
Well, McDonald came over to ride the Godolphin horses. He basically was Kieran McAvoy for us.
Australia are, as I bleat on about all the time, I know a bit about it, and the jockeys down there are the sort of superstars.
Oh yeah,
I mean, Winks obviously was the poster girl, but the jockeys are the hoops, as they call them. They think they've got the best riders in the world anyway, bar none.
I mean, the rules are strict.
The Aussies.
Oh, yeah. Well, they probably think they got everything.
They think they got the best of everything. They think that we stayed in hell and sent them to heaven, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. It was great to see State Arrest win yesterday, wasn't it? Because it was almost like putting it back up to them a little bit. The one horse that managed to get through the insane quarantines, basically, yesterday. In the Prince of Wales Stakes. How are you going then? With one race down here on RP Live. We're here with you until the procession. That is the Hampton Court at 5:35. We've got very tough handicaps coming up for the rest of the week. Of course, all the decks are out now, aren't they? We were expecting a little bit of rain on Saturday. Doesn't look like it's coming.
I thought there was not decks out yet when I saw the Platinum Jubilee field. I thought these are still the 5-dayers, these. 27 horses in that race.
What?
The Platinum Jubilee.
Oh, yeah, massive.
I thought it was still the 5-dayers when I saw the decks.
On the field. Favourites are 2-1 shots.
I think still, look.
Well, of course you're going to back the favourite.
Oh, well, I'm a big fan of this.
You're the man with a hammer, seeing everything as a nail, aren't you?
Nothing wrong with that on this show this week. Nothing wrong with that. it's been great actually to simplify things. We certainly had that on the show
Look
yesterday.
how much this means to Paul Hannigan.
He's chuffed, isn't he?
Yeah,
What a
that's it.
prize.
Celebrate, Paul. Very good. Quite right. Absolutely. So there you go.
Don't do a flying dismount, Paul. He's getting on a bit.
Why not?
Because he's very joking, because he's getting
The parade
old,
ring hasn't-
Dave.
the
Great,
parade ring
like you
hasn't looked
lose
very
a
busy.
high-profile job like that, and to ride a Royal Ascot winner, I'm sure it means
Oh,
the
that's
absolute
nice.
world.
Oh, it's
Fahy giving him a hug.
As much
Yeah.
as I don't profess to know absolutely any jockeys at all, but as far as they go, Hannigan always came across as a really nice fella, actually, when I did the tracks. And
Him and Paul Mulrennan both just
I've never
sound as a
interviewed him
pound.
on camera. I've spoken to him before, but I think Bruce did it when I was. There was a feature show I was away for, and Bruce did it, and he had only good things to say about him.
Yeah, he's a very pleasant chap.
Okay,
Very
right.
smiley.
He ought to save his energy for the stewards' room, says Dan Walsh, our producer, because the
think,
ding-dongs
yeah,
have
he-
gone at Ascot right now.
He may have to go a little bit Johnny Cochran to get himself out of more than a few days.
It's warm out there, isn't it, at the moment? And tomorrow's going to get hotter.
Yeah. It'd be
How
like
do you
a-
feel about that when you're like a punter? You know, we were talking to James Millman on Tuesday, and I said, what sort of differences, you know?
Depends whether
you
you're
have to get
winning or
there
losing.
earlier.
You're basking in the sunshine, or
You know,
it's
if
way
you see
too
a
hot.
horse lathered
Sweating
up
in
on, if you see a horse lathered up on a November at Cheltenham, you're worried, aren't you? But here we're just thinking it's all right.
Yeah.
Come on, horsey person.
It
you
doesn't
tell us.
bother me. If
bothered.
they're going to get warm, aren't
It's
they?
more the edginess beforehand that will worry you.
Yeah.
Seen a couple spike out, I think.
Although that didn't happen with the race before, did it?
Wow, what was the Betfair SP
The
then?
Riddler didn't want to load, he was
108.
upset.
No, what, 108?
108, 107 to 1.
Oh, there we go. Did anything go really low in that race? Wallbank, what
Evens.
Something. And again, we had Matt Williams in yesterday, pro punter, which we said, is that what you call yourselves these days? And absolutely they are. And he said the in-running market always knows. So if you're watching there, is the exchange for you? This is the real market. And sometimes I come to you, Barry, when you're in Dublin, and I say, that must have gone low. And you're like, no, not really. It's always more intelligent, funnily enough.
Well, it's always more intelligent than you sort of give it credit for. But again, if you couldn't beat it, you wouldn't have Matt Williams, you know, because he plays the in-runnings and he can obviously beat it.
He told us how many 1,000 to 1 winners he backed last night. We had a beer after the show.
Really?
It's quite a lot.
Am I allowed to say it?
It'd be several, wouldn't it?
More.
Yeah, it'd be loads. Because you just...
Guess, because I know.
Oh, it must be 20.
He won't mind us saying. He won't mind
20?
us saying.
Oh, it must be more
I
than
know.
that, actually.
Is it 999 to 1, isn't it? That's the
Yeah.
top price on the exchange. How many winners do you think out there that Matt Williams has? Have a little think about it.
Okay.
Maybe go back at that. Let us know out there. We know you're there. Get your chats in. The boys in the studio doing great work all week. Wonderful to have Barry with us, of course. It's a different show, isn't it, Barry? We could just come to you. Everyone loved the Derby show. That was different class, wasn't it? Desert Crown. Let's talk. We got
That was good, that
a
wasn't
little bit until the 3:05. Let's talk about. We haven't had Keith in so far. Bide. Shall we do this? And Barry, of course. Bide.
Monster.
That's a really good horse, isn't he? I mean, I feel for Real World. I like Real World as a horse.
Me too.
And
Not so much.
he's...
After last year's uncle.
Oh, don't go there. Yeah, absolutely. Astro King, of course, memories of that.
Oh, of course, yeah,
I'm
you were all
over
over.
that
I
now.
was.
No, I'm over
Okay,
it.
are
I'm
you?
over it.
Are
I'm
you?
over it now.
Well, his first name. Yeah, that's been getting a mention quite a bit on this show this week. Keith, 129 was the RPR. Very impressed, by the way, with the RPRs and rapid they've been on the website out there.
They have been. They've been. You know, being real time is a big thing, I think. But you've got to get it right. So there's a balance to be struck. But the guys are doing a really good job on that this year.
Led by Matty G, is it? And
I think he's leading that initiative. He doesn't lead the team, but he's leading this sort of bringing it on a little bit and trying to make it a little bit more sort of real time. He also does the 2-year-olds.
Yes,
and
he
the
does.
Top raters on RPRs this week have been going very well on the 2-year-old races, actually. So
what did we give the commentary when a bad
hats
sell?
off to Matt. I don't know, actually.
Oh, sorry, that was a curveball, wasn't it? But this is a great thing to do, and we had a bit of fun yesterday on the show. Bruce can't stand it when I get the programme book out afterwards. I absolutely loved it. Turns out Matt did as well, and Kate was very good at that, and Bruce was like, oh, God, here we go. Who cares
Bruce
about
has
the
his
future? You
things,
know what
doesn't
he's
he?
like. I mean, he was also saying when he was there on Tuesday about the paddock, he's like, a horse just looks like a horse. He was saying, he doesn't look for any edges and all that sort of stuff. So I know that sounds ridiculous to you, of course, but a lot of people
but each
just
their
do see it
own.
like
Look,
that.
I don't think it's right to criticise. People have different strengths, and people have different opinions. I've got quite a strong opinion on Bede. I think he's absolutely superb, and I'm getting a bit sick of people saying, like, you know, if he didn't win by a huge amount, you don't need to throw the kitchen sink at a horse on good to firm ground.
You said that first off, Nat, and I agree with you. I think the ground is a big thing with this horse, actually. We don't quite think about it. I think he definitely wants a bit of cut to be
a racehorse.
He's crying out for a step up.
Yeah, 100%. But a racehorse, why does he have to win by huge margins? Like, they know what they're doing. If he thinks he's got enough in hand, if Real World was getting really close, you could have just pushed the button a bit more. They didn't need to. Look, he's still on good firm ground. You want longevity. Look after him.
I spent a year, maybe more than a year actually. In fact, all of us did, because at the time I was working at Timeform, and we knew after the Guineas we wanted to rate Frankel higher than Seabird, who was the highest at the time on 145. Every time he ran after the Guineas, we were like, oh, is this the day we can rate him 146? Is this the day we can rate him 146? And then he won the Queen Anne by 10 lengths. Clearly did push the button. Yes. He did get him out. And we were all up, yes, today's a 146 lads. They went 147 in
I'm glad you said that, because that's how it works. These handicappers, that's why they get out of bed in the morning. When does Baid, this is perfect link, get his 130? Because you didn't give him the 130 on Tuesday.
Because it will happen in the Judmont when something goes hard and he beats Desert Crown by 2 lengths.
All right, there you go. Absolutely.
G-Rod's not in the room.
Yeah, so am I. With the
could be a scrap.
Laptop off the table.
Desert Crown's he's a brilliant horse. I loved him. I was out my chair when he went clear in the Derby.
You weren't alone.
Do you not think the most amazing thing about Baid is how simple, like not simple, but how easy he is? Like, he doesn't
uncomplicated. He seems
well, he's all his forms in steadily run race, not steadily
Great
run.
brain.
He's not had that fast run race yet, and he still is. He's never looked like over racing.
Yeah.
Which is why
the seven's on to
what
keep
you
the race.
what you need, seven's on to keep it.
Yeah, we'll just go back to the first, if you don't mind, guys, because there is and there's a lot of writing out there on Twitter, actually. I think, funnily enough, about how aggressive that was from Paul.
Aggressive.
Well, look, he's
It's a right-hand drive.
He's just whipping his right hand.
This is like we're watching a race at Wolverhampton here, isn't it? You know what I mean? Down that home straight,
right across.
Thou shall
He's not stopping.
pass.
That crispy cat he did first, and then
And then Brave Nation.
No
got
point
it.
is he's.
Nation. He doesn't interfere with the second.
So let's have a look at who he's cut up then, the riders, who of course, let me just remind myself, go back, I've already moved on to 305 on my screen.
James
Sylvester.
Doyle and Brave Nation.
Yeah, so James Doyle, who can be a bit feisty, and SDS as well, Sylvester, of course, who used to, of course, have the #1 at Shadwell, along with Paul as well. So it might be a bit meaty in the weighing room, mightn't it, I suppose?
Might be a few arms going
flailing around, like you see on RP Live. Absolutely. All right, that's it then. The Riddler has won. Massive prize, shock, horror. We had the first 2 favourites going yesterday, didn't we? Napped by Matt Williams, who was on the show. Bruce got his nap of the week over the line. You were watching that, weren't you?
Yeah, I was, yeah.
Go on, say it.
Yeah, no, I was saying Matt Williams, obviously, is a man who's made his name in running punting, but he got that wrong twice, I noticed in the clip.
Yeah.
He called the wrong winner and then called the photo the wrong way.
Lucky he was in here yesterday.
Well, exactly. But no, I did notice it, and I did have a wee chuckle to myself. But going back to the Coventry, Bradsill was actually an above-average winner on very recent runnings of the Coventry.
Result stands, I'm hearing.
Oh, lovely.
Unsurprisingly.
I say lovely.
So we'll keep an eye on the H14s maybe and see what Paul gets for that. Should we have 7 days?
I don't know, but he'll get.
It's Ascot.
I think
William
gets,
and Rashoon for the win.
You'll get a meaty band for that, I think.
Yeah.
All right, the Riddler has won the Norfolk. Where does he go next? I suppose you're looking at races like France, aren't you? Maybe the Morning.
Yeah. Well,
Dramatised goes there.
He needs his head looking at first, doesn't he? The way he hung.
Yeah. All right, so we're coming to the 305 now. It's only a mile 4 handicap. With how many runners have we got in there? 19 selections there.
Field.
Nice and easy. What have we got after that, of course? This is the Gold Cup. Finally, the first mention of the Gold Cup. I say finally because we've been on there for half an hour. And I've not mentioned Stradivarius yet. Stradivarius Kyprios. Well, let's not give it away, but we are all expecting a certain result, aren't we?
Yeah, we are.
Yeah, all right. Who wins the Gold Cup? Is it a match? Is there anything else floating around? We've got the Ribblesdale, of course, at 340. That's an unusually small field, isn't it?
It's cut up bad, that race.
Yeah.
A lot of people in our office out there have backed Magical Lagoon at meaty prices for that. I'd almost forgot that the Ribblesdale was even happening this week. It's been so, after Emily John came out, it's like, what's running in it, you know?
No, I agree. It's not my favourite. But I totally, if I was training or owned Emily Upjohn, I'd do exactly the same. I'd just stick to the Irish Oaks, Yorkshire Oaks arc. I wouldn't have come to Alaska.
We've got the magnificent Britannia to come, of course, at 5 o'clock, and then we go off I'm laughing because the Hampton Court Stakes But the prize is staying at home here, isn't it? I think
It's winging its way to.
you are taking it on though, of course. I mean, it's your MO. It's a silly price you're saying, and you're going for Hughie Morrison's max.
That's the plan at the moment, and that can change. It all depends on price. To be perfectly honest with you,
He was 11 to 8 on Monday.
Yeah.
And people, we had Oshie Murphy in the studio, did a feature show with us, and he said, it's the banker of the week. And we were saying the race was going to cut. I don't think any of us thought that they'd all give her the pass like this.
I think if that happened in any other country, I think we'd have no problem calling it something else, wouldn't we? When everything comes out to let the head of state's horse win a race.
Well, yeah, and again, that's why a lot of people were thinking that Queenie was going to be there today. Let's hope she makes it on Saturday. I think it'll probably be Saturday if she comes for the Platinum Jubilee, of course, which is a 6 furlong burn up the sprint. We've talked about Baid then. Best horse since Frankel?
Well, best British trained horse since Frankel, yeah. You might have had one of those good.
Who are you thinking of?
That monster in America,
Justified?
Harrington. And
Harrington, yes.
Horses like that. He'd run at higher figures than Baid. But Baid was he's the best British trained horse I think we've seen since Frankel, yeah.
Yeah, I said to Bruce yesterday, I feel a bit sorry for Baid, all this comparison. He went, never feel sorry for a horse, mate.
Well, exactly. It can't feel...
It's a literal way of looking at it. You are like that. You're insufferable, rational.
Well, I used to work with people that would say, if you said, this horse likes good ground, they'd say, have you asked him?
Yeah.
People, and I think it's actually a good grounding. It keeps you rational about your decision-making process. It's a bit much, but it's a good. It keeps you in the right lane, I think.
All right, okay. There's a steward. Here we go. Look, here we go. Oh, all right. Well done, guys, from the BHA stewards. The stewards are satisfied that the interference has not improved the placing of the winner, the Riddler. However, an inquiry into the incident will follow.
I mean, apart from anything else, at least they've come out and said results unchanged and released something before. They could have rumbled on until that could have been still going on at the Gold Cup.
Yeah, we're not always very good at that, are we?
No, we're not.
That's good. That's good because it recycles money as well. Then that's important.
That's good.
There you are. Okay. All right. So, all right. Let's move on, shall we? Because we've got coming up, of course, at 3:05. It is the. I never remember which at this point. It's the King George V over a mile and 4. I really like one here. The market is really like post-impressionist, Barry, for William Haggis. Now, William told me that this chap wanted some cuts because the dam loved it when I spoke to him.
Interesting.
So it has been slightly easy to back, but it was getting to silly prices earlier this morning, I think. Yeah. This is a 4-1 the field race, surely. Yeah,
he's 7-2 at the moment on the sportsbook. Obviously the form was franked yesterday, wasn't it, of his second? So he's been very popular, 7-2, 9-2. State Secret is at 13-2, 8 Newfoundland. Deauville Legend is 12, 14 Flying Dolphin. That's what I like in it. Ran the now 103 rated Boundless Ocean to 3 parts of a length on his debut in Leopardstown. Then finished 3rd in Cork to Martinstown. He's a really promising horse, that Martinstown. Keep your eye out for him.
Good.
And then in first time tongue tie and cheek pieces a couple of weeks back in Garran Park, he made all to win and break his maiden tag. He's stepping up to 1.5 miles here for the first time. Johnny Murtagh, Colin Keane riding him. Very unlucky yesterday, Colin Keane. I don't know whether people felt he just went too early or...
Zachariah, of course.
Yeah, he had to go when he went, didn't he? But he just got nutted on the line. It meant a lot to him to ride a winner at Royal Ascot, and he's really at the top table of jockeys. He's a world-class jockey. Yeah. So 14-1. I'm going to back it on the sportsbook, though, because it's 6 places on the Betfair Sportsbook here. We're going to have 25 quid each way at 14-1. And we're on. So 6 places, definitely taking advantage of that.
Yeah, definitely. It's a good week for each way betting, this generally. I mean, you can get into the sort of real ins and outs of expected value and stuff, but as a rule of thumb, it's a good week to back each way because there's 7 places on some races. I don't know if Betfair are doing it.
Yeah, yesterday we did, in the big handicap yesterday, the Hunt Cup, we paid 7 places.
A couple tomorrow that you're getting 7. There's one firm that's in your stable that's going 8. For one of the races tomorrow, we get... No. The extra place firm's normally Skybet.
Oh, right. Oh, yeah, all right.
Usually everybody goes really extravagant and Skybet go, let me one more. It's like razor blades on your Gillette, always get an extra blade on there.
Smoother finish.
Well, that's what they say.
Our senior producer Kieran Thurwood has come on. I've got these chats coming up on my watch. He said, I agree with what you said on Derby Day, by the way. Barry is definitely better looking in the studio, he says. Look at that. I don't know why. You need to get some Izzy Phillips lighting at home,
Nothing wrong with Kieran's eyes, then.
It's because the blue shirt makes your eyes pop, you see.
Okay, so there we go. All right, let's have some fun this afternoon. Let's keep hearing from you. We build up to this race then. Barry is playing the Sean Mulrine colours. Johnny Murtagh Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? Johnny's horses always seem to run well at Royal Ascot, don't they? You remember
There's
Secret
a couple of
Brief
fancy runners this week.
He aims them at Ascot pretty well, and these big races pretty well. There's another one of his running tomorrow in the Holyrood House.
She's well fancied.
I get the impression, he saved her. That bit of form's quite good.
Yeah.
We'll talk about that at the time. But and there's another race on that card, going back to the favourite for this race, Haggis with a horse that he thinks wants cut because the dam did, but is getting backed anyway. Is quite encouraging for me because I've got one exactly like that in the Sandringham tomorrow.
Okay. So let's come back to this race then. Post Impression is now hardening up all the time. Daniel Tudhope, we saw him to such great effect, didn't we? He's on a treble, isn't he?
Yes, yeah.
Dramatised and Dubai Honour in the Wolverton.
Yeah.
He rises meetings so well, doesn't he? And Stall 13.
So well. He's a very good jockey.
Very good jockey.
If he was based in the south, everybody would know who he was.
Yeah, very, very good indeed. And he takes the ride then for William Haggis. Of course, the team that matched up with Dave when he won the Wolverton a couple of years ago. Natty Green, bit deflated after the first, need to bounce back?
No, you know me, internal
Long
optimist.
week.
I'm not
You had
deflated.
a really good first day, didn't you?
Really good first day. 3 winners yesterday, but 2 of them were favourites. So,
Well,
but Dark Shift was
hey.
my best bet yesterday. I was happy with Dark Shift, but I should have made Dark Shift my nap instead of being an idiot and napping Nahani, which was idiot-like. I shouldn't have napped Nahani.
G-Rod got a load of stick
stupid.
yesterday. As
What did he
tends
do?
to do.
For what?
What now? He put up Dark Shift as his nap of the week. We've been showing you the tips all this week, and all anyone
fair
wanted
play,
to
yeah.
chat about was how he said Baybridge is way better than the rest in the Prince of Wales, and it went mad again, Twitter. But
Graham could say the sky was blue. And get
I know.
Yeah.
I know. Millman said something on Tuesday when he was in Barry's seat. He said that Frankie, in a roundabout way, wasn't great on Emily Upjohn in the Oaks.
Well,
Not much reaction. If G-Rod had said it,
yeah, absolutely guaranteed.
Yeah.
you know, the sky turns
Guaranteed.
purple. You're right.
But no,
Absolutely.
in this, Dave, I'm actually on the other Haggis horse, which could be crazy, but
Mandobi.
I really like Mandobi in this. Obviously, second pick in the batting here. Another one for William Haggis, Tom Marquand on board. They're sort of going great guns, aren't they? The only thing is, realistically, looking at the form, has been running in classes 4 and 5s.
Yeah.
But what I like about Mandobi, this is my case, because I think if you are going to pick
Go
someone,
for
this,
it.
you've got to make a case, is this is exactly the type of horse that Haggis brings on slowly, quietly, calmly. And I like that about it. I know they do like this horse. I think he's be really suited by a test and stamina, but I also totally agree with Barry, and my one at a bigger price is absolutely Flying Dolphin. And I've liked that from quite a way out. So Flying Dolphin and Mandobi, so bigger prices for you. But let's hope and see what happens.
Let's get some social up before I give Nat's selection some weight. And Anand Gurung comes on. And I wanted to say Armand, but you're Anand Gurung. Post Impressions will
Fawlty
run
Towers.
well. But a dark horse, is it Fawlty
Is
Towers?
it, what's Armand?
No,
Oh no,
it's a bird
White
cage, isn't
Lotus. White Lotus series.
Oh yeah, he was the hotel manager.
Barry.
Barry watches loads of TV.
Show.
White
I'm going to
Lotus.
come back to that in a second because I saw some of your
Armand.
Twitter account on Tuesday. You were in the. Let's do it now. Actually, what's the show that you were?
Portrait Artist of the Year. Great show.
I was expecting to see Betfair this, Betfair that, Betfair this on Barry's show, and you went in the inside. They filmed it.
Landscape
at Royal
Artist of the Year. Yeah, it must have been Landscape Artist of the Year. They were doing the Stephen Mangan.
A great actor, isn't
He's
he?
brilliant. You want to see how dapper he was as well. He was really well turned out in his top hat and tails.
Good
It
actor.
wasn't his first time.
You watch
at
a bit of
Royal
that,
Ascot.
do you?
That's a great show.
Was it
Yeah.
just put you at easel?
Boom. Very good, Dave.
Oh my God.
He's here all week. Help yourself to the buffet,
I am.
folks.
I'm with Bruce yesterday.
Picked up a paper to throw it on the desk.
I'm not even really warmed up yet today, but I'm getting there. Don't you worry about that. Yeah, so
That's a
worth
great
a
show.
watch.
Yeah, it's definitely worth a watch.
See,
yeah,
I would never watch
Very
anything
talented
like that.
people.
But you need to watch a White Lotus. The hotel manager's Armand, and it kind of escalates.
I love the name Armand, but Arnon says that a dark horse could be Deville legend, I should
I
say.
think that's an and.
Huh?
An and.
Anand.
I know an Anand.
Let us know, Anand, where you're watching from, because that's a
What about
that's a cool
Savvy
name.
Knight for the excellent Sean Woods?
Yes,
Undefeated in 3.
yes. 20 to 1
He's
shot with James
operating at a
Doyle.
40% strike rate. I don't know what his strike rate is for the year, but in the last 2 weeks, he's had 10 runners and 4 winners.
So when you look at the Racing Post website, you see something called RTF, don't you, Keith? And it's and that the higher the figure, the more the horses are running to form.
Running to form.
Yeah, running to form, yeah. So I think it's within about £7 of their pre-race rating.
And you don't often see a 70 on that, which Sean Watts has got at the moment.
Yeah, especially, yes. I mean, you do sometimes with smaller yards, to be fair, because they don't have many horses, and if 2 or 3 come out and run well back-to-back, you get it. But I've just looked it up, and Woods has had 66 runners this year and 20 of ones.
That was quick.
Wow.
30% strike. Yeah, just click on this thing on the post site and you can get these things up.
I can
Told
see
by
the
the
I can see
betting
the
editor.
logic behind Dover Legend though, just for Anand, because
I'd like to thank
relish
you,
the
Nat.
trip, the 1 mile 4 plus, good to firm form on the ground. So of course I can see it, and
Like your pick, had the 3 ones to qualify for this, of
absolutely,
course, is what
and
you need.
16 on first. Yeah, why not? Absolutely go for it, Anand. I wouldn't put you off that.
Drawn in 6 Savvy Knight, drawn in 3 Derville Legend on the round course thus far this week. We've been seeing the low draws, obviously a safe ground all the way, and on fast ground there was a bit of a theory, wasn't there, on the first day? Did you hear Kills bleating on about this? You would have done, of course, about the Lingfield rail being the far rail. I think it was because of Arcadian Sunrise. I told him last night, getting beaten by
never going to get over that.
He's never going to get over that.
Yeah.
Kills him absolutely blinding for. He's put a mum's tipple today, and Bruce was in tears of laughter last night. We were having a beer. He went, he's put up mum's tipple.
He was.
And Kills went, oh, you'll see. You know, he was not having it at all like he does. But mum's tipple, the biggest red herring of all, I think, at York that
Keels
day.
is in good form. He said Kyprios is going to blow out and not even basically make it to the finish. So he's getting his opinions out.
Well, yeah, I can get it with Kyprios. I mean, yeah, we'll get to that.
Yeah.
We will,
Yeah.
we will,
Getting his
because at
opinions
4:20, Strad lines up again, doesn't he? Bidding becomes Yates. And some more social coming in, the great stuff. The Hunts, good name. Everyone's shouting at Inverness. I'll have to get in. Everyone's shouting Inverness, sorry. All right, everyone's shouting Inverness in the comments.
Maddie Playle and DJ
Hills.
are really keen on Inverness in this, both of them.
It's a different yard this year, Hills' yard. It's just
I'm not taking the mickey, but I didn't even really know it was right. It's that sort of forget-me horse, isn't it, in the Inverness? What does Charlie say, of course? Charlie's got big hope in the Britannia coming up when he's off the mark yesterday, wasn't he, in the Hunt Cup. He wants fast ground. He should get it and stay very well. He wasn't beaten. I'm going to come to Keith on that in a sec. He wasn't beaten very far. Epsom, the Derby trial, the Blue Ribond, and although he might lack a bit of experience for handicap,
You didn't miss here,
Le
and he didn't misspeak.
I don't, and I got called out for
Big
that yesterday.
argument, Bond.
But Bruce,
And rightly so.
absolutely ate me up about it. And even Matt was like, "You've had a shock us, lad." You know, he's a bit like that. And someone out there called it Blue Ribond, and I've kept it ever since. But he running the Blue Riband trial. All right, I'll give up. And Inverness, Kieran Schumacher, of course, who's no stranger to big race success whatsoever. He goes in 14. What's the love for this then? 3 runs and
3 runs, and then Hills is a completely different operator this year. He's just this is the best year he's had in his career. Charlie Hills. Oh, by miles, he's just a different yard now. Just the way these horses, he's operating like a genuinely top drawer yard now. I mean, he was always a good yard, and he used to get a lot of good material. But this year he's just gone up a gear. It's really stark actually. So he's got this horse that obviously he's run twice last year. They've probably run him in that blue ribbon to get him qualified for handicaps, to be quite honest, because he didn't have the mark yet. And now he's turning up in this. So I can see where it's coming from. I mean, I don't know enough about the horse, quite frankly.
Lots of arrows in these races people like to have, aren't they? Of course, safe gambling at the Racing Post. You don't have to bet in every race. That's what we're backing at Betfair as well. But you can have fun with these races, can't you? And he obviously is an arrow for a lot out there.
Yeah, a few people.
Inverness.
I mean, there's Hills. In some of these races, if I saw a Hills horse coming in with that profile, I'd say, well, OK, but it's not Gosden, is it?
Placing horses very well then.
I think it is placing. I think it's getting horses fit for the day is one of the big things.
Do you know what I would mention? Well, that's
50
placing.
on the exchange.
Placing is so important. You know, I always keep an eye on the paddock. I honestly don't, hands up if I'm completely wrong, but if I looked now blind at post-impressionists, obviously I couldn't be blind because I have to look at him, but I mean looked without looking at the market, I'd be like, oh, he did not look particularly awake to the occasion. There's calm and then there's... He looked a bit
I don't mind
mardy.
that whatsoever. We'll go back to him in a little bit because Nosmoz says, post-impressionist is going to hack up here. Thank me after, says Nosmoz. Seeing the ball big then. What price is he now then, Barry? That's 4s at 92-ish.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, he's currently trading at 5.5, bang on 92, 6.4 State Secret. He's very, very steady at that for William Buick. 8.4 Israr 11.5, Newfoundland, Flying Dolphin into 14.5, some money for that. Savvy Knights 25.
Good horses obviously win this race, unsurprisingly. I'm just looking at the...
Well, actually, fewer than you think. The ones that come out of this and end up good.
Typical.
The ones that come out, the one that comes out and end up good tend to be like they get placed and end up as really good stayers.
We were talking... Well, Hookham won this race. That's
Hookham won this. It's the only really good horse that's won it in the last 10 years.
Well, yes, Gold Mount. We wasn't called Gold Mount at the time.
Yeah,
it was the Alan King winner.
Subjectivist was placed in it, and Cross Counter was about 4th. So
Cross Counter was the biggest certainty ever beaten in this race.
That's right, yeah.
It was a horrible what.
He won the Melbourne Cup.
I love this race, and I'm going to give you my tip now, if you don't mind. I was tinkering with Secret State because of I've got beef about the Cross Counter thing. William Buick's got too far back. It wasn't his own fault, but it turned out he was, on the Melbourne Cup when I got beaten in this race. He's drawn in 8.
Didn't it win the Voltager as well?
He was just a very... he did, yeah. So that's what I mean. It was like, how did he lose at Ascot? I was absolutely all over him. He did place, thank goodness. But Secret State, I'm not sure he's quite up to that level. I watched him last time at Nottingham, and Workman light enough. Maybe that form will work out well. I think Israel's the one that's overpriced here. I'm surprised that he's not pushing post-impression. He's more the London Gold Cup winner. You remember when we covered that, Barry? He looked like he won every single inch of this.
He surely did, yeah. And there's money for him. He's into 7.6. Your favourites out to 5.9 now, heading towards a 5-1 chance on the win-only market on the exchange. Newfoundland out to 13.
Oh dear.
Okay.
I'm back in the London Gold Cup form in this too, because it is a race that informs us very well. It's usually our dead hot handicap. Israr, massive chance, but has been found well enough in the market. But I wasn't certain that Surrey Mist was that much worse than him, and yet he's 25s here. He's already outstaying his
second to him.
Second to him, beaten half a length. He came from further back than Israr to push him. He's already outstaying his pedigree, and usually this is won by stouter sorts than him. However, at those respective prices, I just thought he was far too big relative to Israr, who I massively respect and we regard as a more likely winner of the race, but not for a quarter of the price, but more likely than this horse.
George Baker, of course, trains, and Trevor Whelan on. George Baker, no stranger to Royal Ascot's success as they go into the gates. Yeah, I can see that, and actually, as you're saying that, and you're talking about it, I mean, he's a dual all-weather winner, so when he gets into home straight, he's going to be like, I recognise this, happy days.
yeah, he's just got a lot. There's a lot to like about him. He's actually quite progressive, and I think the fact he's trained by Baker actually helps him stay under the radar, because Baker's not top-tier trainer, or he's not a Haggis or a Varian that's associated with these 3 times and into big handicaps thing. He's George Baker, so this horse might have just been ignored a little bit too much.
I just thought with Israel though, Dave, because I've looked at it twice, and Jim has said 2, 3, 4 times about Israel wanting easier ground.
That would
really bother me, and he hated Newmarket, didn't he? He didn't like the track there, the dip, and that. So I don't know. That's a negative for me.
Yeah, look. Actually, his one run on soft was when he was beaten last year, but he beat Savvy Victory in that good. You'd have been there, wouldn't you, at St Leger Day?
Yeah.
It was around that meeting anyway. He did wander around a little bit, and I do take your point there. Absolutely. I just thought
his dam was fine on quick ground, wasn't it? Because we all know his dam, Taguda.
Yeah, it's just what Jim has said. It's not anyone else who's saying. It's just whether he.
Yeah, I was a big fan of his dam. I backed her for the Arc. Well, I backed her for the Arc. I really thought she was going to win that Arc.
That was the biggest certainty in King George history, wasn't it? I think probably Taguda with all that weight off him. Paul Hannigan, of course, rode. So look, he's bred to be a lot better. So, look, he did us a favour on the show. He just got there. Where do you want to be here? Do you think? Do you want to be on the outside of the home straight?
There's a big theory that you don't want to be too near the inside over a mile 4 at Ascot, because it tends to get really churned up and clogged up on that near rail turning in. But you probably want to be between about 4 and 10 maybe, or maybe even, you don't want to be right on the rail on the inside, but I wouldn't want to be in a car park either. So it's not really a draw course, but basically a bit like the straight course this week actually. The only place you don't want to be is on either wing.
Right, fine. Okay, you've heard it here from the betting editor. And last time out, winners tend to dominate this race. Good luck if you're trying to follow up the Riddler like some of our social commenters out there. Keep your questions coming in. Keep your nats coming in. It's second race of the day, time the 3:05. The King George, the Vid, they are all in. Good luck wherever you're playing. I think we might get a bit vocal during this. All right, and off we go. We always look for the stragglers at the start. Yashin wasn't great away. DJ will be watching this. David Jennings at the moment, he gave me that as one of his best bets. Going to have to come from near last to first at the moment. Israel right up there at the moment. Secret State there as well on the inside. Franz Strauss.
Is Israel closer than he wants to be?
Possibly. He didn't do this at all, did he, at Newbury? But he was drawn in the car park that day. And he won the London Gold Cup despite the draw.
He's not settling.
I always think you want to be more prominent than back in these races,
especially if you want to be, because if you're not prominent, you need to go wide.
Did you see him there?
What happened,
Barry?
Barry?
Looked like he took a false step or something.
Where is he?
Right on the rail, two-thirds back, right on the rail.
He's at the 9 on the
The saddle might have slipped, you know.
Yeah.
Oh no, you're kidding. Oh,
saddle might have
not. Oh no, this is
Saddle,
awful.
he's pulling him up. He's pulling him up.
Oh no, Barry, what's
He's not, but
he's 11 on the exchange.
This is
definitely
a
having problems.
Something's going on with Tudders at the moment. He's got lovely position, but we think the tap might have gone wrong. Natty, where are you?
Yeah, where am I? I was just fixed there, non-post impressionist. Sorry, I really was.
And there's a lot of yellow. I think you're midfield.
I thought Israel was a little bit keen.
Frankie in front, guys.
Yeah.
Well, he's not going to go. He's not going to go fast in front, is he? He never has in his. The last time he did that, he was on Lock Song.
I'm happy with Mandobie
Armand is going to be quite excited at the moment because Derville Ledgers go well. Barry, where are you on Flying Dolphin?
As well.
It does.
Flying Dolphins in the red cap is fourth.
We've got to move here, guys. Someone's not happy with Frankie. It's Jamie Spencer.
Well,
Henry de Broomhead's horse.
He knows full
Steve
well
Farmer
what
once famously said.
He knows full well what Frankie's doing.
Yeah, look at DeVille Legend. He's catching the eye. The cold train colours of Schmilson.
That last six aren't going anywhere, are they?
Schmilson.
And I'm afraid the Dolphins in there, Barry.
Come on, Mandobie.
Yeah, all to play for them is a turn in Surrey Miss getting a bit closer, but Israel's definitely going to get first
travels
on
a
him
bit,
here.
doesn't he? Come on,
I
Surrey.
would love it if I was in fourth or fifth at the moment. At the moment, Israel looks happy. Look at Frankie, look.
A great spot there is Israel.
I tell you what, are we going to finally see a double? Mandobie now being launched on the outside, Natty. Who else is there? Let's have a look. What's this in the King Pound coat? Tamusius Fox and Rob Hornby getting a better run than he did on West over the Derby. They're an absolute line abreast. Mr. Allen on the outside for George Bowie. Ross O'Ryan, this would be a welcome win for him. Israel, though, hits the front. Come on, Israel. Derville Legend at the moment. He's not going to quite see it out, I don't think, Israel, is he?
Is this Savvy Knight coming?
What's this on the inside with the white hat? This is Secret State, isn't it? This is going to be Godolphin. It looks like... Oh, Derville Legend's having a go. Come on, Derville Legend's going to get this. Well done, I think. Oh, no.
Oh, far side.
Secret State has done it. William Buick, Derville Legend lunged at the finish onto Danny Muscat, but Godolphin win the race again. They couldn't do it with cross counter. He turned out to be a Melbourne Cup horse. How good is this chap, Barry Orr? What happened there in home straight?
Yeah, well, Deauville Legend hit a low of 1.11, which is 9-1 on the Betfair Exchange. Post Impressionist never went a yard for favourite backers. He's returned Betfair SP is 6.18. Your horse is our...
Yeah.
That traded at a low of 3.2, so just 9-4. And my horse, after had nowhere to go, flew at the finish. Flew at the finish to finish fifth, I think.
You can count yourself probably as unlucky there, to be honest. That was a massive eye catch.
Just what he wants to hear.
We got the place part for the
absolutely
sixth
happy
place.
days. We're actually well in profit for World Child this month, and I mean, James Millman inadvertently showed us exactly what it was actually on the screen, but and we were having a bit of banter about that. But look, this is I always say this if you're new to the show, if this show's going to do one thing. It's going to boost the charity. Barry's been absolutely unparalleled at doing that. We're playing for World Child this month. We're having a bit of fun, guys. That's what we're doing here. Real-time reaction, the best anti-post, analysis in the business and post-race analysis as well. You get here at the Racing Post. Keith Melrose, Natty Green, and Barry Orr. I'm watching that finish back. Barry.
Tell you who else is Savvy Knight's going to shape really well for Woods as well. There, that was a wee bit unlucky. He's taken the inside route. Well, that just showed. That's Ascot in a nutshell, actually. Those two horses, Savvy Knight and Flying Dolphin. Savvy Knight shows you what can happen if you have to go up the inside. Flying Dolphin shows you what can happen if you have to go on the outside. And we've ended up that they've both come out as arguably unlucky losers. But the winner is we talked about these 3 races into these big handicaps. There's about 12 of them. This is one we barely mentioned. And he was another favourite.
I don't think there was anything wrong with him, was there? With the tacker they've ridden him out fully, but he just never seemed to go a yard.
No, it was very strange. Yeah, you were the one that saw the incident early on. I totally missed it.
I thought he took a bad step or something, but.
We might hopefully get a replay, but it would be interesting to see that because you want to see the replay. Well, you don't want to see the replay for what happened to Flying Dolphin, but I do.
Do you remember his dam, the winner? Jacqueline Quest.
Oh yeah, she won the Guineas, or she didn't quite win the Guineas.
It's a very famous horse, wasn't she? For
she got chucked out the Guineas.
Oaks, was it?
For Noel Martin. Do you remember Noel Martin?
She beat that. She beat the cricket head horse.
She was third in the Coronation Stakes after going Special Duty, wasn't it?
Special Duty, that's the one.
I'm here, quizmaster for you. Don't worry. When you're laying,
Colin Keane's had a bit of a mare, hasn't he? That's got so far. It'll have to come good. That forebodes well for Johnny Murtagh's runners at the meeting.
Yes. Let's get a social up. Oh, come on. Here we go.
Watching from Chamonix.
Verti Productions. Is that
Get
right?
out.
Watching from Chamonix, a marvellous spot in the world,
Where's
I have
that?
to say. Great fun. It's in France.
Mont
Chamonix.
Blanc.
Where?
It's where Mont-
I know it's in France.
It's in the Alps.
It's where
isn't it?
Mont
It's where you go
Mont
skiing.
Blanc's right at the
ski-
top.
Oh,
ski
beautiful.
resort.
Yeah,
Yes,
I always say,
Very beautiful.
Mr. Productions out there, if I ever went skiing, I'd go sledging. But I'm sure you're having a lovely time. Do you want to see me on skis?
I want to
great
see you
fun,
on a
guys.
toboggan.
Love Matt Williams yesterday. His writing in the post was required reading. Yeah, top man. Matty had a really good time, by the way. He loved the good feedback out there. Look, come on. We've been through a pandemic. Be nice out there. Be nicer to Kieran Fallon and these jockeys. That's what we've been saying, isn't it?
People aren't nice, Dave. Some people.
You're nice.
Yeah, we're all nice.
Genuinely
Some
quite
people are-
nice.
some people are
Quizmaster's
just-
all right.
Quizmaster's great. Very nice.
Irascible.
You're insufferable rashness that you are, and the lovely Barry Orr completing the quartet here. How good is this horse, Keith?
That winner,
Yeah.
the thing is, he might even be the third best horse in that race. So it's hard to tell at this stage. That was a messy race, full of unexposed horses. You know, they've finished in a bit of a heap. You know, Frankie got to drop anchor in front.
Yeah.
Messy old race.
And we've
I'd
got
want to watch that 3 or 4 times before I had a decent handle on what's actually happened.
We've got a first here, haven't we, on the week? We've had a trainer have a double. It only took 16 races.
Is that right?
But the leading trainer of the meeting is,
Different
unsurprisingly,
trainer.
the supposedly out of form, Charlie Appleby.
Not out of form. It's just, you know. It's,
Yeah, there was I don't know, we just have such high expectations of him, don't we? And it did dip a little bit, and we heard there was a bug going around about Newmarket a little while ago.
Who said that?
Listen, I'm going to hit you about
Yeah,
this in a
yes,
minute.
I did.
We'll get him, won't we?
Yes, we
Don't
will.
worry about that.
14 to 1 first show for the St. Ledger.
06 Kylie says, one of the rides of the week by Buick. What do you mean there, Kylie? What do you think it means? Just keeping it simple?
Oh,
Or strengthen the saddle I'm consuming towards the end?
Does that mean he's going to get banned?
No. This is hopefully not Rashun, is it? He's wandered around a little bit, also.
He has. He had plenty of room because everything that's finishing is coming over the top, and he was on the rail.
Do you think soft ground when he beat Honiton, of course, good ground? His first race on Rattling, you'd think this horse might want a bit of cut.
Was it? It wasn't the Guineas where it was dead quick that Jacqueline Quest won, was it? It was the year before when Ganati won. That was the Guineas that was dead fast.
He's a bit of a freak, isn't he? Because despite the pedigree, I guess it's the Dubai influence, but he's not bred to stay. That's kind of one of the reasons. I mean,
Wasn't Jacqueline Quest bred to stay quite well?
was she?
I think she was actually bred to be a stayer, even though she didn't.
She
end up-
wasn't this into Badam, was she, or something
Let's
like
have a
that?
look. Let's see what pedigree
It's
he
used
said.
a 14 to 1 for the St. Ledger.
I was going to ask you, Barry, are they going to go the cross-counter route and go to this Great Voltage or something like that? They could go to Glorious Goodwood, couldn't
Yeah.
they?
Good.
Yeah, Jacqueline Quest dams a 1.5 mile, 6 horse.
Fine. It was just her that was best at a mile. What's her sire? Sorry.
Rock of Gibraltar.
Oh, okay, the miler. All right, fair
And
enough.
well done to one of our socials with Deauville Legends.
Yeah.
That was really good.
Armand's
Yeah,
horse.
brilliant.
Armand.
Brilliant. And
Armand's
please.
horse ran an absolute blinder. We've had some great... So actually, we often say here, for a bit of a joke, we're going through the card. We could do with a winner here, but it'd been a pretty tough race. We had a 50 to 1 shot, of course, 108. The Betfair SP was of the first winner. And while we've had a well-backed winner, but you're going through the card out there, aren't you, in social land? Happy days. We will now move on a little bit. But I would like to still talk about some of the beaten horses, actually. Where do you go? Do you think we might see some, I don't know, contenders for some of the bigger races later on?
Yeah, you get, as I say, those sort of horses tend to be not even ledger types. They tend to be slow developing handicappers. Look out for some of them in the Melrose. Look out for some of them
Melrose.
in the Cesara, which maybe, you know, that's
Your race.
Well, yeah, supposedly.
Why was Flying Dolphin in that?
Flew.
We spent 5 minutes. We spent 5 minutes talking about how well he
The
shaped.
red hat.
Oh, did you?
Yeah.
Oh, I was just like,
No, he was the red hat.
Fly!
too.
fly. Oh, that's
week.
good. That's good. Right, good.
Good.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
good, Barry.
that's
He was
good. I'm pleased.
He was actually the horse that I was thinking about future targets for, because you know what Johnny's like. He will, you know,
York.
And
Sean
what's
will
the,
run and one have a runner at York, I'd say.
you think so?
Yeah.
And what's the race that's been boosted ridiculously in Ireland? It's the Irish Says, isn't it? I'm waiting to see what
Yeah,
Johnny.
it's £500,000 or something.
Did he?
Really?
It was yeah. Do you remember when we
Something
said that on the
insane,
show and you
yeah.
had to do the double check,
Yeah,
didn't
yeah,
you?
yeah.
It's up to €600,000 that race.
Wow.
So yeah, if Gosden or Johnson isn't aiming about 5 at that, I'd be
Well,
amazed.
It's
Willie
Mullins, isn't it?
Mullins
It's
all over,
Mullins.
won't he?
Could that be Bay of Insanity or whatever it was called? What was it called? Your horse in the week? What the one that was second, of course, in the
Bring on the Night.
Bring on the Night, not
I
Bay of
thought it was
sanity.
Nice horse, that. And my horse didn't stick that out, did it, Mandobi?
Is Willie going to run one in the Queen Alexandra, just out of interest? No?
Is Willie going to run one in the Queen Alexandra?
Well,
surely.
I mean, is it a fancied one? Is it? You know, I haven't
Moore's not riding it anyway. He's on
some of us have had a hard week so far. You know.
What?
This is your first dance in here. All right. I know you've been
I'm writing 4,000 words a day.
You do it in your sleep. All right. Everyone knows that. He literally does it while he's asleep. He's probably got one of those things, isn't he, where you can like teleport to your laptop or something. Wake up and it's all done. What's he got in it?
Like
Falcon 8's in it, isn't he? Trushan somehow is in the race at 6-4. Stratum would be the horse. Oh, it's Wordsworth for Aidan O'Brien, of course.
Yeah.
James McDonald's
Tony
got
Bloom's
one.
or Stratum, that'll be the one for Willie.
Tony Bloom wants to get us out of box. And
Stratum's the one. He's won that
Before,
race,
isn't he?
Yeah. The 9-year-old. That's the final race of the week then. Are we nearly at half-time whistle?
I think this is...
is this a false step?
We're watching back the King George V, by
missed
the
it.
way, guys. And something that they're highlighting on ITV at the moment, which is
Matt,
what
if
we're
you
just
look at
watching.
the back of the field, you'll see Dolphin.
Okay.
It was a race we had to be prominent, Keith, wasn't it?
Red
Seemed-
hat.
Was it called round? Yeah.
Right.
Oh, there's Walsh.
Oh, yeah.
In the
There's
analyst
Rhodes.
hub, it's great, isn't it, to hear what he says?
Yeah.
Oh, he's hit the, he's got the right thing. You want it to be prominent in that race because it dawdled about. That's what happened. So
That's what Frankie does when they let him dictate.
exactly. Yeah. Frankie's. I said last time he went hard in front. He was on Lochsong.
Absolutely, quite right. And it's like the old boys, isn't it? Hughesy used to ride from the front very slow whenever you see Spencer up. The reason why
Spencer was the guy who
he's
noised him.
deadly
As
from
you
the front.
pointed out, Spencer was the guy who noised him up because he knew exactly what was going on.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because Spencer, we talk about Hughes and Spencer, and people laugh about drop on your hands, this and that. They were actually damn good jockeys from the front, which is actually frustrating sometimes.
Wordsworth is a certainty to go off in the a favourite in the Queen Alexandra, isn't he? Because Trushan's just not going to turn up, is he?
No.
This is twice this week he's been entered. Should that be allowed?
Well, probably. The thing is, as well, if you're because the really sort of edge type punters are just going to back him. Are just going to bet in that race now because they're going to get a massive Rule 4, even though he's.
Something to quite look. Love Kingy, as I said, love the horse. Not having a go at connections, but messes it up a bit, doesn't it? This is internationally certainly it does. They won't be working out what on earth's going on.
World Pool won't be happy.
Exactly. World Pool with Shariar yesterday drifted. A big drift on Shariar yesterday, wasn't it?
Was there on the World Pool?
No, on the exchange.
Oh, yeah.
Straight out. I was going to say probably 6 on that,
But everything was massively.
Well, it's not because it's not just on course money. It's worldwide. So I think if there was a Hong Kong winner or something, you'd get like a 6s on, wouldn't you? But the Japanese money itself in a simulcast pool isn't necessarily going to push it over when Hong Kong are throwing their money around, or is that?
The Japanese can weigh in as well.
I know they do it. I know they do it at the Arc, but that's because a lot of it's on track, isn't it? Whereas the actual big off-course pool is generally Hong Kong's, isn't it?
Yeah.
So that might have offset the sort of the elan from the Japanese punters.
I haven't had a word from you guys yet about Nature Strip talking about international and world pools. Very important, wasn't it?
Different species, wasn't he?
Just different class.
And why don't you? Do you not think that Home Affairs is just going to rip it? I mean,
He might well, but all I was
they're
saying,
different gravy.
you were saying off air that you thought they say Home Affairs is a better horse. I watched the Lightning Stakes, and I'm telling you what should have won that by 2 lengths, and it wasn't Home Affairs.
But what happened? He didn't win.
He missed the break.
He did, but he wasn't actually the best away on Saturday. On Tuesday, sorry, he still absolutely taught us a new one, didn't he? One of the lines of the week that we got in the post was when James McDonald, he said, "I wonder what the loose horse was." He said, "What's this coming out?" Thank God he's not got a jockey on it, because he genuinely couldn't work out what this thing was. It must be absolutely different gravy.
Well, it made Nature Strip go even quicker, but like
He's
you
a
say,
right character, James
just
Mack.
looks a different animal. Massive.
Oh,
huge.
love this.
Huge
Look at
horse.
this,
Ate up the
Barry.
turf.
Some love for you. You should come in a bit more. Not only are you better looking in the studio, win or lose, Barry Orr is just mustard.
Thanks, Mum.
We had Tommy Orr on, didn't we, at the Orr? Did you ever get to the bottom of that one?
No, I didn't. Well, I know he's not a relation.
Well, you come from a big family, Barry, so we were wondering whether potentially there might be some more people out there. Really good chat out there at the moment. Really good numbers this week. Absolutely different gravy. Our followers out there. We've had lots of new ones as well. If you're new to the show, welcome on. This is Racing Post Live, the only live reaction show to racing. Secondary experience, call it whatever you like. We cover all the ITV terrestrial races every Saturday usually, but we are here for you for the rest of the week and of course the big festivals as well. It's interactive. Keep shouting in out there. All you have to do is like and subscribe on YouTube and get along. And I think we're nearing a win here, guys. The Ribblesdale's coming up next. We are nearing a win.
Are we going to put up one each?
How many are in it? Yeah, no, like 6 runners or something, aren't there? In this,
Yeah, there's 6, and one of them's 28.
Is this an unusually small field for this? Isn't it?
I think it's the smallest this century, possibly. I didn't do the work myself. I think Chris Cook
did,
wrote it. Yeah. I think it's the smallest this century.
Yeah.
But it's a race that relies on slow, maturing, middle distance fillies, and Gosden and O'Brien have most of them, and they've not really got. O'Brien's got 1, but Gosden's not got any.
I'm seeing the ball big in this, guys, but let's find out what. Yeah, I am. Yeah, I'm going to back 2, and I think I'm going to get the money. Yeah, this is the. Israel went well for me in the last, but I think this is the one that I've been looking forward to actually. Let's find out what Barry's trade is though.
Yeah, so my trade here is the Irish filly Magical Lagoon, Shane Foley for Jesse Harrington. Second beating a short head on her first run this season in the Salsabal in Navan by Concert Hall. Now the form hasn't been let down. I don't feel she's stepping up to 1.5 miles here in a race that has cut up badly. She's one of the less exposed in the field, and I just think at around a 4.0 on the exchange, so 3-1. But we're going to set our own odds here. We're going to look to back her at about 4.2 because she was 3.85 earlier on, so she's just on a little slide. But she's probably just finding her correct price. Really, she should be about a 7-2 chance here. So we're going to put in to back her at 4. We'll put into backer at 4.5, bang on 7-2, and we'll see if we can get matched. That'll go over onto the lay side for someone to come in and lay us that bet. So it'll be interesting to see, but because I'm here, I'm operating it myself, I'll be able to reevaluate how the market's shaping and potentially lower our expectations in terms of price expectation and get matched.
Okay, all right. For Jesse Harrington then, who you sort of associate with Royal Ascot a little bit, don't you? Because of her 2-year-old success and, of course, Alpha Centauri.
Yeah.
She's 4 from 34, actually, at Ascot going into this race. And maybe not quite, but she has had some big winners, hasn't she?
Yeah, well, people think, the strike rate at Ascot's not all that. But remember, not even Aidan O'Brien's strike rate's all that at Ascot because the races are always so competitive.
Yeah.
So if a trainer's got like a 15% overall strike rate and a 12% at Ascot, their Ascot record is good, lads.
Yeah,
do not forget that. It's because you've got to make that allowance for the sort of the number of runners, the competitiveness of the fields. You just got to bring it into your thinking.
And Aidan, of course, usually has 5 in a race, so it's.
Well, that's it.
Yeah.
Even if he wins, he's got a 20% strike rate in that race.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. All right. So just the 6 runners then, an unusually small field in the Ribblesdale, the Ascot Oaks, I suppose we called it. Natalie, won't we? Who wins the Ascot Oaks?
Good job, Jonathan Rossland saying it. The Wibblesdale. The
Wibblesdale.
Wibblesdale. I really like Magic Lagoon, filly by Galileo. What I like about is the fresh angle as well. Not run since April. I like that. I think that's a really nice break coming into this. Second last time to Concert Hall, who we saw
well in the Oaks.
Fourth in the diary recently. I just think only beaten a short head by Concert Hall at Navan. She was keeping on really well, which was pleasing to watch her replay. There's just so much to like about her.
Check out the screen.
She will stay all day. That's what
be a
you're
bad
guaranteed with her.
route
As a
to
2-year-old,
when
when
he's
she won the
free.
Flame of Tara, she flew home.
I remember that. Yeah, and she's got some pretty good form. She ran behind Inspiral as well, didn't she?
Yeah, she was in that filly's mile.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Quite well
look,
been.
Natty, because look, some love out there for you. Hang on a minute. I thought you were on history.
No, I'm on Magical Lagoon. I wanted to give a big shout for history. That
You
mid-dividend.
changed your mind? Because I'm sure we had that chat, didn't we, about history? Have you switched?
I didn't take history over Magical Lagoon,
Oh, someone put it up to me. Okay, fair
but I
enough.
thought the step up in trip would be a positive.
I put her up in the Irish Guineas
I've
and I
looked
was
at history.
Underwhelmed.
But I don't see history beating Magical Lagoon.
The form has worked out, hasn't it? I think we can say that with Concert Hall. She's a Galileo. Okay, Lagoon is me. Yeah, she's going to stay. You're absolutely right. All you need to do is basically go onto the Racing Post website, you click on the horse's name, go to pedigree, and you'll see it all. If you're a member, of course.
It's even quicker where you just click on the dam on the race card. That's what I do sometimes.
Well, it depends how you look at your race
Well,
cards,
that can
Keith.
be. Yeah, it's true.
And I bet you've got every setting up, haven't you?
Have
on
I
yours?
now? I don't put the quotes on.
Don't you?
Oh, no.
Oh,
What
I
other-
love the
What other
quotes.
people think?
What,
No.
I
I-
love the quotes.
Eyes over ears,
Trainer
obviously.
quotes.
Yeah, no.
I love them.
They are.
I like the trainer quotes.
There are occasions when I'll use them, but
Yeah,
That
no,
they're
I
one
like
of the most popular things that we.
Oh, yeah, there will
we
be.
advertise.
Yeah,
I'm
dead
gutted
popular.
when there isn't a quote.
Who's not giving a quote to us here? William Haggis.
Harrington has.
Yeah.
There's always a plan to skip the Oaks and go straight to the Ribblesdale with her. Thanks. She's done great since Navan and I was thrilled with her second to Concert Hall there. Thanks, Jessie. She's a lovely filly. and
That
one
is
you like.
important because, like, it did
You
have
close
me
your eyes,
scratching
Nicola
my
Sturgeon's
head a
in the
bit
room.
with her why they didn't go to an Oaks
Exactly.
Did she get a little hold up? Now you're probably not going to tell the Racing Post if they did get a hold up, but
quite, yeah. So it's quite.
No, I meant more. The quotes I like is in the race analysis afterwards.
Yeah.
When you can
That's
read
brilliant.
what a trainer thinks and what he says.
So I give you a little insight to this. I do those.
Analysis
That's my midweek day job sometimes, and although you never know it anymore, that is one of the most annoying things that everyone references the races that you've written about, and all they want to see is the quote. So we tag them on at the bottom, and I'm like, I've just done this brilliant. I'm really happy with that analysis. I've nailed it, and everyone just goes to what Gosden said down the bottom, and you're one of them.
No, I'll read the analysis as well. I like watching the race first if I haven't seen it. Then I'll read the analysis, and then obviously where quotes are.
Should have a quick nod to that department.
The analysis department.
Which?
Oh, your tipping's going really well. How much has that been you?
I'm 1 from 2 in it.
What are you now?
Yeah, I mean, I'm part-timer there these days, So,
I know.
No, they've been doing really, really well.
Yeah.
They're walking the National Naps competition at the moment.
They
Expert
are.
Eye, they're called.
They had a really good start and have kept it up.
Yes, and there's a lot of banter. I'll probably try and find out what it is today, the Expert Eye. But there is. I might break it as well. Actually, have you been involved in this?
What is this the name?
Yes.
I didn't know if it was confirmed, but I was aware.
They would like to. Well, they'd like to rename themselves because
Yeah.
the department has massively changed since the days of Raceform. It was never really. All the guys that worked there were mainly hired by the Racing Post, But you'll know them as Raceform.
Yeah, I think it makes
Wes
sense
Lowe's
to try and bring it, make it a bit more modern. Yeah.
We're all modernising. I mean, Ron Wood runs it, doesn't he? He's a serious operator.
Ron's a serious operator.
Yeah.
Richard Young's a serious operator. Who's his
Youngie's
right-hand
brilliant.
man.
I'm going to try and get Youngie on this show. We'd love to get Ron on.
He
but
did the
he
telly in
hates
the old
cameras.
days, didn't he, Young?
Yeah,
Richard.
can't stand. Oh yeah.
He's quite nervous.
Everyone loves Ron.
He's red hot in the American stuff, isn't he?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
And
I've met him at a Breeders' Cup
Yeah.
actually.
I mean, look, we love TC, but
Ron's a proper
Ron
operator.
is.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's spotlights that you see during the Breeders' Cup. They are
he
genuinely.
does them for
Yeah.
Dubai World Cup night. He does it for all that.
And there's a
He's,
spotlight
Nice
tip
fella
on the
to
screen,
be.
look, as I'm being told, as we get back to the race. What, we've 3 or 5, so we've got what? Oh, hang on a minute, 3:40, sorry. 12 minutes to the race, going back in
I've got
time.
a while, yeah.
If only I could. Life of Dreams, bidding to give Charlie Appleby and Willie Buing a treble on the week. And this is Emily Upjohn form. Does anyone like this chap?
if you were against Emily Upjohn in the run-up to the Oaks, part of the theory was she's not beat an awful lot. And obviously Life of Dreams was second to her in the Musadora. But we saw that in the Oaks, Emily Upjohn, I hesitate to say is as good as we said, but she clearly is Group 1 class. Her and Tuesday are both very good fillies on that Oaks evidence. So, Life of Dreams, she's entitled to come on for it. She's endless time. She was a late developer, the dam.
Yeah.
This is the thing, we talk about the jumps and all about they come back every year, but I do it with dams. These good dams and these good flat races. Anyway, she's going to keep developing, I think.
Yeah, and I think Life of Dreams wasn't seen to absolutely best effect at Musadora because she was a bit awkward to load. Then she was towards the rear, she drifted to her right, then 2 furlongs out, she actually did keep on.
Musadora.
Can you pronounce anything
Musadora.
right? Do you speak
Yeah,
English at home?
Musadora.
I called
Musadora.
Julian Muscott yesterday, just very quickly.
Do you speak English at home?
Yeah.
Yeah, I speak better English than you do, man. I can tell you that much. Look, as the microphone goes down. Listen, we don't mind a little bit of, to and froing here, me and Keith, but he's getting a bit spicy, isn't he? Oh, look, here we go, look. Oh, this is a nice social, isn't it? All sports fan Adam says, I've made millions of pounds following Dave Orton. Give him a try. He's on fire, this Royal Ascot people. Whoever you are, there's a seat in this studio for you.
Whoever you are. As if it wasn't you multitasking.
I guarantee it's not
millions.
me.
He must have started
Made
with a couple of
millions?
billion.
There's another one on the screen, and producers say Adam is lying. Very, very good indeed. Yeah.
Am I back on now? Can you ask producers? Because I did. To most people's delight, my microphone was turned off for a while. I'm sure people are
You're the
pleased
only
about
person
that,
I've ever worked with, unlike me, if your microphone was off, everyone would still hear you. You're literally the only person I've ever worked with like me. Your mic's fine.
Got a lot of time for Magical Lagoon in this race. So I did watch that race back.
You tipped it as well?
No. The only thing I thought, she did carry her head a bit high, but it's a very minor point. I mean, I do give her a big chance, but it was the one thing I thought, you know what, you have to get that head carriage a bit better. I'm surprised nobody else. I mean, we've not mentioned the favourite yet, but there's been a lot of love for Mukadama in this, and she's the one I'm putting up in the race. 3 runs in it into the another 3 runs in it in Royal Ascot. Look, there's 50 of these horses running this week. This is another one, Variant again, who we know to be a trainer that specialises in doing that with horses. Her bit of form behind Nashwa is really interesting. That was a listed race at Newbury, and Nashwa, who was third in the Oaks, she won it. At the time, Nashwa got a bit of jip for what she beat, but Stay Alert was bred to really thrive at that sort of trip, and she won a listed race back at Newbury, either at the weekend there or the weekend before, one of the two. Or last week, it was last Thursday, I think. So, that form's come out. Mukadama was very green and coming on to finish third, and then there was, 11 lengths back to the fourth?
Yeah.
So obviously 3 pretty good fillies. She's going to absolutely thrive going up further in trip. I think the Dam Craig Hall stayed a mile 6, possibly. So there's a lot of stamina in that pedigree. New approach, obviously, gets a lot of middle distance horses. That's mostly his stock in trade. She's going to benefit from the experience. She's going to benefit from the longer trip in a very, very open race. She was outsider of the sort of main contenders and shouldn't be for my money, so that's why I put her up.
Yeah, she's a half-sister to a mile 6 winner, just looking at Keithy as well.
Right.
So Atlanta Breeze, who's a proper stout stayer.
It's a Melrose pedigree, not in terms of me, in terms of the race, in terms of the race at York. It's a Melrose sort of pedigree, and she's obviously running in the Ribblesdale on the way up. So
very likeable, Mukadama.
Well, I backed her when I went on Cigaro Day, and I backed her, and I was a bit disappointed with her. I thought she had every just thought she had every chance. You might be right about the step up driven. I'd take the Nashwa line.
Yeah, it was a mile race. She'd had a break after winning her maiden.
Grand Dam that beat her in the end probably is pretty good filly. She just touched off in this.
Yeah, look, this filly is, you've just talked about his pedigree. This is her running over a mile as a 3-year-old. That wasn't going to be her day, was it?
No.
It was a primer to run in that Newbury race and see where she was.
If only I'd have told myself that on the day, of course.
I mean, the fact that she ran 2 weeks later, I think, tells you a lot about what that Ascot race was doing. It was getting her fit.
In pictures, Seasook Road does look...
Right.
She's not, but she looks really
You've
smart.
just named the winner, and I know it's fab. I've no problems with the 2-1 about her, I don't think. She's crying out for this trip. She could have been much more stoutly bred, actually. She buys Cedar Stars out of a Doyen mare who's produced loads of staying winners. Dam's a German listed winner, half-sister to mile 6 Brute 3 winner. 2 mile 5 winner. Oriental Fox, do you remember him winning? Yeah.
Yeah, I don't. When I looked at his horse yesterday.
Stays.
Didn't he win the Queen Alexandra, actually?
He did, under Joe Fanning, yeah. He spoilt a party that day when he won. I can't remember who.
Yeah, there's an absolute plunge job, wasn't there?
Leave it with me.
I think the thing with Seasook Road is she looks to be changing quite quickly physically, so she's kind of come into herself in quite a short space of time, which is also pleasing. But then, even now, you still might not have seen the best of her because she physically is just sort of on that change a bit. I don't know whether probably the only negative you could ever think is just come a little bit too quick for her because, when they do change, you've got to take that into account.
Yeah, Haggis doesn't mind running his horses quickly. As we saw with Bashkar it totally bombed out.
Yeah.
And Ross Briley was livid about that, by the way. Apparently there was something in the stalls, wasn't there? Something, the one that was
I heard, yeah.
Sevilla, Spain, apparently, I mean, she ran so badly. I couldn't,
I've not seen
Ross thought she lost it in the stalls. She got a bit heads up, Bashkar.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah, so maybe give her another chance. That
It
definitely
was also quite a quick after the Epsom race, and it was a danger you would take on board if you were backing her, and maybe it just had an effect. I don't know.
Oriental Fox, the Queen Alexandra winner. Do you know? Can you?
It was a Mullins horse.
It was always a Mullins horse, wasn't it? It was a gamble in that, but yeah.
Wicklow Brave.
Thomas Hobson.
Oh my God.
Do you remember that?
Oh, really?
Came there to beat him. Joe found a bit more and went on. Oh, I remember we were on.
Did Wicklow Brave not?
Things
Running
are-
that?
Thomas Hobson was Rich Ritchie, wasn't he?
Rich Ritchie, yeah.
Yeah, it was. Yeah.
Yeah, I can't remember who he was initially, but they bought him for one of those. In fact,
Yeah, I
did he
think
go
it
to
was.
Melbourne?
He was
He
was
finished
a
one in the
Gosling
Melbourne Cup,
horse,
didn't
wasn't he? They bought him from Gosling or
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah, it was in the Rachel Hood colours, wasn't it?
That's
Initially,
right. Blue.
In
It was a blue colours.
what was the best horse she had recently? What was the good, very, very
Oh,
good
yeah.
mile horse? What's his name?
Oh, God.
Rachel John's
Won in
wife,
Ireland,
of course.
didn't
She does
Thomas
look-
Hobson. No.
No, who was it? It was
Something like that, wasn't it?
Sandown, and went on to. It was running the Derby. It began with B, didn't it? Rachel Hood's best horse.
Did anybody buy it?
The Derby.
Come on, help us out there. Someone out there
Finish
will be
up with
very
the
quick
Dolphin.
on this.
Oh, is it Jack Hobbs then?
Jack Hobbs, that's
Jack
Yeah.
Hobbs. Quizmaster strikes again, they're saying.
That's why I was
absolutely chalking
That's
up.
why I was angling for
You're
it.
looking a lot cooler than when you come into the studio, man. That's for sure. You got Boris bike in, didn't you, today?
Yeah, I got rid of those Santander cycles.
I mean, you were late.
Well, but it was the levelling up agenda failed me because those trains across the M62 corridor are terrible and they did me. But I broke land speed records on the bike to get here in time.
Yeah, you did very well, absolutely. Everyone loves a Boris bike.
Mystic Wells is finding Ascot very exciting.
Is she?
Yes, she is. She's
Ragged field.
Yeah,
she's finding it all quite overwhelming, I think.
I mean, George Barry, she won the Lingford Oaks trial, didn't she? She was second last time.
We got matched at 7-2.
I was going to ask about that.
Yeah, we're matched at 4.5, so we've our 50 quid on a 4.5, and it's into 4.1 now.
Love it.
Silstick Road is strong at the head of the market at 9-4. Life of Dreams 5.5, 8.8. Muckadam 8.6. History and 21 for Mystic Wells.
She took a long time to get going at Goodwood at Sea Hill Road, didn't she? That was just my wee concern with her because it's not a long run in at Ascot, and Goodwood's not as downhill as you think actually. So I just, she needs to get unfurling. That's my. And
but she's got the extra 2 furlongs here.
She has. So. Who's gonna make it a test though?
She didn't look like she loved the ground at Goodwood. I didn't think so. She didn't look like it was her.
Yeah, she was expected there, wasn't she? And the golf in Philly she beat it actually gives you a line on Muckadama, I think, as well, because she was in that race.
History will go forward, will she? She can.
She can, yeah. I mean, when she's the only one in the race, would they want to do that? I don't know.
Magical Lagoon can go forward.
Magical Lagoon.
If I had to bet, I would say I'd say Magical Lagoon's a likely bet. Foley's not going to be in a.
Could we see a Shane Cross special coming up here?
It's her first time at 1.5 miles Magical Lagoon, and I'd love to see them be positive and say, right, come on.
Yeah,
I would love to see. Yeah, because it would break one of my massive bugbears, which is holding horses up to get the trip. It's the worst thing you can do. I'm going to run less efficiently. Yeah. Because generally speaking in races, being from the back's less efficient. So what I'm going to do to make sure this horse's stamina is good, I'm going to ride it less efficiently.
He's genuinely angry.
No, but he's got such a good point. You're also wasting so much energy. Exactly, you're not getting the best out of the horse. It's a very valid point.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Fine. How many days for Paul Hannigan in the first?
7.
I tell you, it
10.
was very, very dangerous what he did. So
10. I'd say 10.
It's Royal Ascot.
Yeah.
It's an advert.
It's an advert. You can't let it happen. People.
Did
he get done for dangerous riding?
Careless, possibly.
I'll go to this. Hang on.
They never do anyone for careless.
I'll get the H14.
They never do
Would have been careless, wouldn't it?
I think it's like a bad.
It was dangerous, wasn't it?
Yeah, but it's always careless.
It's something that you rarely ever see. It is 10 days, Paul Hannigan.
Because Nora got 8 days, didn't he, for an incident up in in York?
That's why he's probably sitting out now, isn't it? He got mullered as well, didn't he?
Yeah.
William Buick got 11 days, didn't he, for the whip on Rashun? A lot of people talking about that, obviously, towards the end of the year. Yeah.
Well.
Yeah.
If you're gonna, we
head of the stewards now.
Oh, it'd be interesting to hear him. But what we talk about how jockeys happily take these bans because they get a big winner or whatever. But you reap what you sow a little bit because what he really wanted last year was the jockey's title.
Yeah.
And he didn't get it.
He's going to get it this year, isn't he?
Yeah, he is.
That's done. No bet.
Is it just no betting now? Is there?
No. Okay, so I've got the forecast potential here. I think in Sea Silk Road to beat Life of Dreams. I do respect the Magical Lagoon. I'm going down yours. I think History could be. You could put another 0 on that price because it's just not fancied at all, and they're just running in because it's cost about 3 million, and they have to. Q a 5 lengths win for Aidan O'Brien and Ryan Moore, looking for their second win of the week after the hugely gambled on Little Big Bear.
Plenty of money for Life of Dreams.
Yeah, it looks a picture.
Like I said, they have got a line on Muckadama. Let me just, and they've also got a line on the favourite as well. Remind me of the horse who ran in that Ascot race where Muckadama was there.
Not surprisingly, Dave, the blindfolds on Mystic Wells. As I said, she was pretty upset in the preliminaries, so she's lively, just trying to keep a lid on her. She goes in okay, and Magical Lagoon is the last. No, Magical Lagoon's just backing up a little bit. It's just the stall handlers now. They use a sort of like an elastic thing behind their bottom just to say, come on, just to persuade them to go in. So she is the last. Hopefully she goes in quite quickly. All in. Over to Dave Orton for the commentary.
It's like you were at Donny then, wasn't it, Natty, with your mic in your hand? Oh, and a couple of absolute falling out, including the favourite. Not the best away at all. Muckadama wasn't great either.
It's probably not a race where it's going to hurt you that much.
We're looking for where the pace is. Barry hoped that Magical Lagoon would be up there, sitting very nicely.
The rag's been sent on.
Ben Curtis leads on Mystic Wells in the Hood. She did this when
I mean, yeah, he is outsider, but I would not be terribly happy about giving Ben Curtis a free ride because he's an excellent jockey. In fact, if anybody was going to be a challenger for the championship from the North this year, I thought it might be Ben, actually.
And when she won at Brighton, of course, polls apart from what she's doing here, she got a freebie up front, and they're letting her go a bit, Barry, aren't they?
They certainly are, yeah. She's 14.5. She's a Betfair SP of 18, so she's come in a little bit. Your favourite still Sea Silk Road at 3.2, 4.3 Magical Lagoon, 5.1 Life of Dreams. Muqaddama is 9.6.
There's a move from William Buick there to get a bit closer.
Yeah, no, Muqaddama, for me now in running, doesn't look completely happy. He was quite keen, took a bit of report. I mean, is settling better now. I can see the love for Sea Silk Road in a lovely sort of posy and a really nice rhythm, not really doing a lot wrong there. Yeah, you don't want to let Ben get too far away. But Life of Dreams looks nice as well there.
Curtis is extended coming out of Swinley Bottom. He thinks he can win this.
Your horse is doing what you hate.
Being held up to get the trip. He might just be getting held up for reasons. They know she'll stay.
Yeah.
Fickle quizmaster.
Not fickle. This is you just applying.
Fickle quizmaster.
This is you applying blanket logic.
History's going well. I said put another 0 on. Unlike Magical Lagoon, who's been chivied a bit. I don't know, first run for a while, isn't it?
Yeah,
Looks
giving the
it's
hurry
all
up
right.
there for a couple of strides. She was
Probably still a bit green. So look, this is the mile 4. It's a right old test here, and thankfully being made one by Ben Curtis.
Yeah, half a
who's
mile to
now
go, and he's
winding
got 6 lengths still.
Yeah.
You've got to coax these fillies, Dave. You don't tell a filly.
They do
on
tend to
there.
come back, though, of
8.6, you can
course, in
still
this
back it
meeting.
as the bell goes, 8.6.
Here we go then, 8.6 then turning in. He's not going for everything at all, but look, who's this? Life of Dreams
Life
is in
of
pole
Dreams.
position. Here comes Magical Lagoon.
Come on,
Magical.
Tom Marquand has the target on her back, though. I'd be quite happy with the favourite now. Muqaddama might be the danger. History, it looks to have gone very one-paced indeed. Mystical Well's now backing
Come
out
on,
of
Magical.
it. Magical Lagoon's got there. It's going to be one of us who's getting the winner, that's for sure, because the three of us in front. Go on, Tom. Get this out. This is bred to stay all day.
Go on,
this thing.
Dusty.
Oh, here we go. Foley and Marquand going for it. Very green on the inside, Magical Lagoon.
Go on, Dusty.
I'll tell you what,
he's
she's
hanging.
riding
Come on,
around a little bit of
Magical.
favour.
Go on, Dusty.
I think you might, you
Come on, Magical,
annoying,
stay on.
you annoying individual, Barry Orr.
Aye, aye.
You've seen me off. Barry's
Get
off the
in
mark
there.
for the day. Then the trade for Wellchild, the charity of the day, is over. And that is what I love to see. A jockey wearing his heart on his sleeve. Fair play, Shane Foley. He showed a bit of strength there, Bazza.
He really did, yeah. When Sea Silk Road came to challenge Magical Lagoon, it looked all over. She traded at 105, so 20 to 1 on for 700 quid, all the way down to his bigger sums done at 106, 107, 108. But the winner stayed on. Galileo filly, we said she was crying out for the step up and trip. She got it there. Got a good strong ride from Dusty Foley. It was a true run race as well with Mystic Wales setting decent fractions, and the two best fillies have pulled away clear of the third.
Yeah, they have. They're well clear. That's a really pleasing performance from both of them. But yes, we've got one on Magical Lagoon.
If you're taking Emily up, John, as the benchmark there, you could suggest that's all right form.
What do you mean?
Well, like, you know, the horse that was second to in the Musidora has been had its chance and
touched
fairly well
off.
beaten. Two good fillies then. Sea Silk Road might be right about the ground there, I think, Natty, because she came to win the race. I'm not suggesting that she hasn't been beaten by a better filly, but she has taken.
She hangs.
Yeah,
Yeah,
she hasn't quite let herself down, I don't think.
The winner's tough, isn't she?
Oh yeah, yeah. And
Like
fair
she's
play.
headed and she's fought back.
She's still
I
got
know obviously the runner-up is just hanging away from the whip. He had to pull his whip through. It took him a while to pull his whip through as well, but he straightens her up. The Magical Lagoon had gone on at that stage.
Yeah, nice attitude there.
It took him a while to pull his whip through, didn't it? When she started hanging away from it.
The beers are on Wilsh tonight.
Yeah.
Welsh.
Yeah.
Him and Robbie pulled up again, have they?
Yeah, they've had it off, I think, there. Andrew Wilshire, who a lot of you will know at the Racing
And
Post, had
also-
10 to 1 about that. What a girl, he's just said to me.
Look, she's
there's
showing
a
away
soft
from
lot
it there.
She is, and Tom has given that
Look, I'm a
everything,
little-
hasn't he?
Ian
Oh, he's given it
Castle,
He is
Robbie
absolute-
Wilders delivers again. The postman put that up, did he? Yeah, they sit next to each other, don't they? Albeit across the...
They're good pals.
They are, yeah.
They have a sarcasm off sometimes. It's quite something to watch.
We'll get it out of them one day, won't we? We will get the
One day.
We'll get the juice out of them one day. Well, they are very funny chaps indeed. You worked with Jonathan Harding, who sits next to them yesterday. He's at the track today, Jono.
Yeah.
Clark Kent.
I know, but now you've told I can't stop calling him Clark Kent.
You know I've got a name for everyone, right? And I said
No,
to
I can't call him John. I just don't know his name is Jonathan.
And I said to you yesterday, I said, just call him Clark Kent, that'll get him going. And I came to you, he's got a very dry sense of humour, isn't he, Harder?
Yeah.
And he went,
It's great.
thanks for the Clark Kent line. He just said to me,
Who was that?
This is Jonathan Harding that we work with.
Oh, yeah.
He literally
Good
takes his
lad,
glasses
Jonathan.
off and
Very
Superman
good lad.
comes
Yeah.
out. He is doing something really interesting, actually. Hardo is get this out of him tomorrow on the show. If you're doing the morning show, he's going to He's going with Gay Calloway. This is a gig, isn't it? He's going with Gay Calloway to get the horses back from Poland. You know
Really? Yeah.
Going with her.
He's going with her. Tom,
You know, his father led up Paul Nicholls on play skill
Yes.
Yeah, I'd heard that, actually.
to win Hennessy.
Yeah. And John's going with it. It was hilarious. We shouldn't laugh because it's a great cause. But
It's not,
and
it's-
she's been already.
Yeah, I know she'd been, yeah.
Ask him about it. It's quite fun. So John's going to cover that in the paper in about a week's time. And on the rotor, it just said Poland for a couple of days. And he asked her about, because she's tough as nails go, isn't she? Absolute, rock hard, formidable individual. And I said, that'd be a trip.
I like it. She's very opinionated. I like it. She
gets obviously
sticks by what she
the
says.
horses that are in trouble. She's bringing back. It was an amazing cause. And John said, I was asking about her first trip over there, what to expect. She said, I gave a couple a lift at one point. He goes, isn't that people smuggling?
But no big event riders, Olympian show jumpers, they've been sending their really smart lorries out, bringing
You're going to ask him about that tomorrow morning,
horses back. It's incredible cause. William Fox, but they've all been involved.
The winner had a Betfair SP of 5.59, was trading at 4.1 before the off. There must have been a lump come into.
Oh, here we go. Here we go, guys. What's the panel's best bet on the remainder of Royal Ascot? Now, you're in tomorrow, so don't give anything on Friday. So is Barry as well. Natty, you're in on Saturday, so it'll be a Friday tip for you. We don't want to give away your... All right? You've done your notes?
Morge.
In the Albany. Doesn't win.
Love it. Love it. Absolutely love it. Watch the replay. Love how she quickens.
There's a lot of love for that on the morning show.
Yeah, I like
tomorrow.
her.
I
think she's a nice
absolutely
horse.
love her attitude.
Kills and Oshin were in this studio.
What's this, a tip for win?
A tip for the rest of the meeting.
Wordsworth.
You're in the next 2 days. Wordsworth in the last when we're off air. Of course, we come up to the 5:35 each day,
Queen
6:10. Some people moaning about the fact that Ascot's.
I fancy a load of horses over the next couple of days.
Do you?
really, really strongly, yeah.
Oh, happy days.
The price will hold up for all. Like I really, really
Well, that's the
strongly
beauty
fancy
of this
Go Bears
meeting,
Go
isn't
in the Commonwealth.
Grand.
Values. You
Grand.
get great
Key
prices
Key.
about
Firm
horses.
grand, yeah.
Key. Absolutely key. That's why it went wrong last time.
What?
Go Bears Go, grand.
You
I
love
think
that in the Commonwealth,
grand's
don't you?
key to him, yeah.
And I said, you mentioned that just before we came on air, and I said, Cheltenham references, we've had loads of them. Of course, what's your favourite meeting? Because Royal Ascot would be the Cheltenham, I suppose, of the flat. And a lot of people say, you said actually last Saturday, didn't you? This is the one.
Way ahead of Cheltenham for
I
me.
prefer
And
going to Royal
I'm
Ascot,
not one of those
actually.
people, I like national hunt racing more than flat racing.
same.
I just like horse racing.
Yeah.
I like betting on horse racing. And for me, this is the best meeting. And I've been to both Cheltenham and Ascot many, many occasions. I'm racing all over the world, but for me, it's just they do things proper in Ascot.
It's really lovely.
Competition
isn't
is good. It's great to have the Australians back. Wesley Ward adds another dimension to it as well. Bringing
it?
horses.
Amazing.
Raiders.
As a member of the press, it is a great meeting to go to, guys, isn't it? It's the one, I mean, DJ does the mornings with you, then goes there, doesn't he? That's where I really got to know
Yeah,
DJ.
he's been really enjoying it. Yeah, I mean,
It is lovely.
it's great
meetings
as
to
the
be
public
into.
as well. Like I've been, and it's just
You don't get
just
the
for
wonderful
fun.
press room, unfortunately, anymore on level 2. We used to go in and get a glass of champagne, you used to stand with Al Down and all those guys, They were the days. All right, good stuff. We digress slightly, but Graham Rodway's come up in our live racing chat, actually, that we have at the Post.
What's
There's a
happening
news
now?
desk, pretty much, and anyone, in editorial. Loving Jason Weaver referring to the whip as the Pro Cush. Excellent. I have to say I'm with him on that. I don't know why we just don't call it the Pro Cush.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's semantics, isn't it?
And everyone's moaning, what do we call it? And, are we, by changing the name, are we even highlighting the whip and all that sort of stuff potentially? Just leave it. I think the Pro Cush is, that's the answer, isn't it? I don't know. So I'm with Weaves there.
I couldn't care less.
You just generally don't care. No. Let's expand on that a little bit. I mean, for the wider world, the world we live in, it's probably a good move, I think, isn't it?
Pro Cush, I mean, well, but the flip side that you mentioned there was also sort of true. I think we shouldn't
shining a light on it.
We shouldn't concern ourselves with what we call it. We should concern ourselves about what we do with it.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Fine.
Or just
That's too deep for this room.
Well, I was
Way
about
too
to
deep
say,
for this
Barry,
one.
moving on.
Or just a bit
Keith.
more education. So have the whips on hand. Let the public come and feel the whip. Let them see the whip. I mean, when you actually do, I've hit myself with the whip millions of times. Like,
I bet you have.
yeah, sometimes Friday night. But educate people.
Yeah.
Educate people. Education.
Education is everything. I totally agree, and we can do we do so much right in racing. Absolutely, we batter ourselves, don't we, because of it. This is a week to feel good, and we should, we should acknowledge perhaps that we might do a bit more educating on that a little bit. Anyway, there you go. Let's move on, shall we? Because we are half an hour away, guys, from what people consider to be the sterling race of the week. It's the Gold Cup. Bob John. I wanted to say John Bond there. Bob John. Strad is finished. Kyprios, fill your pockets. It's that simple, Bob John, is it? Where are you watching, Bob John? Let us know. I like that shout because we're going to now hone in on the blue riband that is the Gold Cup market. And Kyprios, Barry, Trueshan we knew was going to come out. I've had a little moan about it earlier in the week. Is it a match? That's the first question, I suppose. Princess Zoe, Mojo Star, who's done a bit of love for that on this panel, which you will find out after Barry tells us the trade.
Yeah, I'm a big Kyprios fan. I just think this horse is trending in the right direction. He won last day. The race that he won in Leopardstown is a race that Aidan O'Brien historically likes to win before going on to land the Ascot Gold Cup. He's done it with Order of St. George. He's done it with Yates. He's done it with a whole host of other horses. Fame and Glory. Fame and Glory, another one that won the Gold Cup after winning that Seville bag. Now, he absolutely danced in. He beat nothing in the race, right? But it's just the manner in which I think the improvement is going to come with the step up to this trip. His sister has won 2 St. Ledgers, Search for a Song, 2 Irish St. Ledgers.
Yeah.
He's going to improve for this trip, and I think it's going to be very, very difficult to beat him. Again, we're going to set our own odds. Like, I remember as a 2-year-old when he won his maiden in Galway, he flew at the finish. Now, he probably no business running even as a 2-year-old. In his 3-year-old year then, it all went a bit wrong for him. I don't think mentally he had it between the ears to really deal with.
They put the pieces on him.
They put the pieces on him in Lingfield, and he seemed to reject them that day. He hasn't raced in them since, has he?
No.
So
we didn't see him after that either, did we? Which suggested something wasn't quite right with him, obviously.
Yeah, he's very short now because obviously Trueshan is a non-runner, but he's 2.64, 3.25 Stradivarius, Princess Zoe, not without a chance, 8.2, 13.5 Mojo Star, and it's 22 bar. We're going to set our own odds here because I think he will drift out a bit. We're going to look to back him at 2.7, at 2.70. Yeah, we're going to look to have 50 quid on him. Now, you know, this is not my MO, backing short price favourites, but I just think there's a lot in favour of this horse. You know, he's getting a home game in terms of ground as well. He'd really relish this bit of good ground. Yeah, and the step up and trip is really going to play to his strengths.
He beat his sister, of course, didn't he?
He did. Navan. First time up, this year.
How do we pronounce Navan?
Navan.
Yeah.
Tricky one, that out there. Navan, you hear people calling it things like that, but it's
No, you
Navan.
don't. I've never heard anyone call it Navan.
Well, I heard one person,
Speak to
probably was
DJ
you.
about it. No, it was not me. But I've had this before with DJ.
Isn't DJ's from there, though, isn't he?
Yeah, he is, yeah.
That's the thing.
He's not far from there. Right?
Yeah.
It's
Anyway.
like Berkshire and Berkshire.
That was when he
Shrewsbury
really came into prominence for me. And you're right, Barry. It's that Moyglare family, isn't it? Of course, Free Eagle, of course, who won on Champions Day here. Falcon 8, who goes in the Queen Alexandra. It's all stamina. And you forget he's 4 from 6 in his career. He's that lightly raced. He did look a bit... You put him up, didn't you, at Lingfield? Do you remember?
Yeah.
And we sort of didn't forgive him that, did we?
Like, he's traded... Like, the day he won his maiden, I think he traded at 46. He was coming from the next parish. The day he won in Cork, he traded at 840. He looked like he didn't want to take hand nor part in the race. So, you know, he was a little bit quirky, but I just think it looks like they've ironed out those quirks in him now.
Yeah, I mean, it was heavy ground when he won that maiden. I remember it. It was at the September meeting. And he's been turned over twice on soft since, actually. I think it's just the fact he won his maiden, he was just the best horse in the race.
He just outstayed him that day.
He just outstayed him. And I think he does want the ground. And having spoken to Aidan, lucky enough to do that, got the sense that this was going to be, with Little Big Bear, the one that they're having a pop at. Keith?
Yeah, it's going to be a full... Am I the last to go?
No,
well, anyway, I've given the game away anyway because we're all gone for Kyprios. He is looking like the best horse in this Gold Cup. He maybe takes a wee bit of getting going, but I think he does. It's a race that you don't tend to get that many good horses, actually. You know, if you can run to 120 plus, you're right there.
That's interesting.
On RPRs. So that's why I've gone with Kyprios, because he can run to that level, and we know that now. The each way bet alternative, I wanted to go with this one just to be different, but you said, no, stick with it, we'll all go for the same horse. I think Mojo Star each way is the right option. He's the other 120 plus horse in the race, and Dave, you're going to hate this. This is an instance where I would look at the quotes. Because he's not run this year.
What does
Mojo
Richard Hannon say?
Well, I remember last year, after maybe he was second in the St. Ledger, because this horse was second in the Derby and the Ledger last year. Soon after the Leger, Hannon came out and said, we're going to train him to be a cup horse next year. And he's come out before today's quotes, and I thought, is it deliberate to get him straight to Ascot? And Hannon said they've taken him and kept him 3 times. See, that's the info you get in quotes sometimes, it's useful. How many times you get something like that? Not often, but Hannon said it. He said, I've taken him to Kempton 3 times, he needs to be mad fit. And the thing is, we're taking a chance on him staying. We're taking a chance a little bit on Kyprios staying. He's never ran beyond a mile 6, and nor has Mojo Star.
Everything on paper says he's going to get it, but you're right, he hasn't been up to 2 miles yet.
Exactly, and nor is Kyprios, but it's just what is the difference here? This horse has been second in the Derby, and there were good Derbies and good there was a good horse in the Leger last year. You know, that his credentials are really good.
Would you not prefer to have just seen him have a run, though?
I would, yeah, but I've got one that I can back at 6-4 and one I can back at 12s, Barry. You know, and I think the difference isn't reflected in, you're right, I would have rather seen him have a run. But that doesn't reflect in the difference in prices for me. And I think he's the each way bet in the race. But yeah, well, let's go Kyprios because he's a likeliest winner, definitely. And it's partly because of that, having a run. It's partly because that O'Brien knows what you need to win a Gold Cup in a way that Hannon maybe wouldn't. So yeah, there's a few little things just in Kyprios' favour that make him the tip. But anybody that wants to have an each way bet in this race, I think it makes up for a very good each way race actually, because you've got Stradivarius still taking up 9 runners. Stradivarius still taking up a lot of the book.
Yes.
And I thought it shapes quite well for an each way bet, and Mojo Star was that one.
There's some very interesting horses in this race, and we will quite rightly, with around about 25 minutes to go, we will talk about all of them.
A triumphal winner in this race.
Yes.
Is it? She was, yes. She was.
We just can't get away from Cheltenham, can we?
Absolutely not. No, we really can't.
And some people call this a bumper, a glorified bumper. So Willie's in the bumper is the cry.
Willie's in the bumper.
Yeah, absolutely. And Burning Victory, of course, is horse at the barrier.
Twister's got one, of course, as well.
Yeah.
He's
as tough as old boots, isn't he?
Oh, yeah.
I couldn't put people off Burning Victory, though, to have a bit of fun. I just couldn't. It's Mullins. I couldn't. It's
Willie,
Mullins,
Buick,
Zorwich, Nathaniel. God, Nathaniel's doing brilliantly, isn't he?
He really is. Yeah, he's the star of the moment, isn't he?
Absolutely awesome. But Kyprios, yeah, for me again, it's pretty boring pick. But he's like the young buck, isn't he? Taking on the older guns. I think he was like a month or 6 weeks old when Stradivarius was winning his first Gold Cup.
Yeah.
Which is kind of crazy, isn't it? But exciting as well. And if not nice. I think it's just not nice to go against Stradivarius. I went against him at York. How wrong was I?
It's not nice to go against. This is probably one of the first times I've ever done it.
I only did it ever at York. How wrong was I? Yeah. I do think Stradivarius will win at Goodwood, by the way. Genuinely.
Do you? Yeah.
Honestly.
It will be another Goodwood Cup for him. Honestly. Not today, though. Hard to go against him, obviously, because he's won it so many times.
Always hard to. I'd love it if Stradivarius won.
One trainer that's got beef with this race, because he used to have a horse that came up against Yates a lot, okay, possibly the best stayer I've ever seen, was, what was he called? Jamie Osborne's horse. Geordieland. And Jamie Osborne trains Alanak. And Paul Bakewell, one of our Strudies out there, says Alanak will run far better than his odds, his advertised odds. Maybe, just maybe, first Group 1 for Miss Safi Osborne. That would be a big story. She's very good, Safi Osborne.
Yeah, she is. She's a professional now as well, so yeah, don't need to miss. But she's a very good rider.
Rotten injury, didn't she?
Maddie Playle has put Alanak up at a huge price. It's not. It's you know, Maddie's like, oh my crazy, it's massive. But no, you can.
So a lot of people looking away from the big two in the market. Yeah, he was stouty, this chap, wasn't he?
I remember. I had it in my head he had a lot of soft ground for Stouty, but I don't think that's right. I had him as a soft ground horse as well. Let's have a look down. He's a good last time he won, of course, on his third last run for Stouty. He beat Mirando at Chester. So he's got form with Hookham. Trushan, he was beaten by a short head. That's probably what Maddie is looking at. Sorry. Yeah. And we last saw him at Maidan. I mean, Jamie's owners, his trainer, they like to go at some international. He's a good international trainer, isn't he? He takes you out there. Exactly. He's got that experience. That he likes to live life, and he does the same with his owners.
Yeah, absolutely.
Talking of living life, it'd be pretty good if Princess Zoe won, wouldn't it? I mean, we all thought soft ground until like last year in the Cigaro, and it's
soft ground because they told us soft ground.
But it wasn't.
They're not napped in this though. The Spotlight team.
No, they normally do nap in the big race.
Yeah, he's gone against his MO, hasn't he? There, Rich
they've done great, very progressive mare. I mean, she's been a revelation. I just think it'd be a massive after party if Princess Zoe won the Gold Cup.
20 minutes then to the Gold Cup 2022. Stradivarius, let's talk about this chap. We're all going for Kyprios, basically. Keith gives a good mention to Mojo Star. I see the figures are definitely on that, because he wasn't disgraced in the Arc at all, was he? turning out after the St Leger second. He probably
he wasn't.
He ran £3 below form according to our race.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, if you've got a horse there that can finish within 7 lengths and an arc. You've got a horse that can finish within 3 lengths of Hurricane Lane.
Can see it.
You've got a horse that can finish within 5 lengths of Adiyar. That is a good horse. That is a horse that has definitely got the class to win a Gold Cup at Ascot.
He would have been half fancied to beat Hurricane Lane, wouldn't he, if he'd gone for the Hardwick?
Yeah, because because Hurricane Lane definitely won't be fit, and Mojo Star probably will be about fit.
Talking to Maddie, apparently she's been on Twitter saying, "Is it me or is nothing coming from behind this week?"
It's hard.
It tends to be hard at this meeting. We mentioned cross counter in the race we had earlier.
Obviously,
that's my benchmark. Bad memory of it.
Go fast ground as well.
Well, exactly. Would you want to judge it off that King George V though?
That was the year that built me up. Buttercup, who we mentioned, ran in the Ascot Stakes on the first day, and Ryan Moore came in for all sorts of abuse on his ride there. She was the only horse on the week, that week I remember, to come anywhere near from off the pace and get a place. So I've always had deep down.
We saw it in the King George V actually, with that horse that went up the rail and the horse that came round the field. How difficult it can be actually, and it's a short. Ascot's got the shortest home straight of any of the big tracks, 2.5 furlongs. So it makes sense. I mean, as I've said umpteen times, they're all front runners tracks. Every last one in this country, apart from the Ascot Straight Course. They're all front runner tracks.
Yeah, fair enough. Which is the one that the jocks just think you cannot, and of course the numbers back that up as well, don't they?
Unless you're over 5.
Someone put Princess Zoe up to me in the week. I can't remember who it was. Some judge suggesting
Especially
that
Chester.
the Cigaro is probably still the best Ascot. In Britain anyway, it's the best Ascot Gold Cup trial, isn't it?
Yeah.
Quickthorn's given it some love, and the unlucky horse in it, who I can't remember the name.
Yeah, she possibly is getting. She's run so many of these big races, and she's getting what she's getting.
It was Oisin that put it
She's
up.
only getting a few pounds,
Yeah.
She's only getting £3, which you'd be disappointed if both Kyprios and Mojo Star stayed and couldn't give her £3.
Yeah,
They're better horses than that.
Just 2 from Kyprios, yeah.
Just two. Well, it's 2 from both because that's weight for age.
Yeah, she's a right old horse, Princess Zoe. I think everyone was a little bit disappointed they never jumped the timber with her, because that would have been great to see, wouldn't it? From the connection.
I suppose it was after that win in France, wasn't it? That was kind of shelved.
The Cadran. Yeah.
That was a war of attrition, that race. It was like in slow motion.
That was unbelievable.
It was virtually unraceable.
Terrific,
and then she's come out and she's won well on a lot better ground. So
Unreal.
she's a versatile mare. I don't think she's the class to win this, if I'm being brutally honest.
This will be the halfway line on the week. The
Yes,
4:20.
that's right.
We're coming up to orange time. So how are you getting on? Keep letting us know out there. What are the best tips for later on? You gave us Morge. Morge. It's not Morge, is it?
Yeah, it's Morge.
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 Is it Morge?
M-A-W-J. Morge.
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 Yeah.
I'm not going to pronounce that one.
Morge.
A million years. Forsyth Bin Sarut.
Morge.
Who's off the mark this week?
Morge wins the Albany.
What was his winner on Tuesday?
Seems
Seems like a long time ago now, doesn't it?
A lifetime ago.
Wasn't it? I know, it's weird this week.
I think DJ was on. That was a good shout, that was.
Was he?
Yeah, he was.
The Bay Bridge line.
Yeah, no, he was. He was on Dubai, I know, because I wasn't on that, but I thought it was a good shout, actually.
I feel like saying Bay Bridge in this studio after yes is a bit like saying Macbeth.
Luckily, on the morning
Sky's
show,
gonna-
like between us
ceiling's
all,
gonna
we've been bang on, but not just one person, but between us, we've had really quite a good couple of days so far, which is
Happy
good.
days, Nat.
Between DJ Keels.
No surprise. Yeah, Keel said he was out the traps on day one like Golden Pal, but he did have a bit more luck yesterday, I think, didn't he?
He did.
Mum's tipple still to embarrass him?
Yeah, if you to still be backing that horse. I mean, I love that York Farm. I backed him more than most afterwards, but I've given up now. That's usually a sign their turn's coming at
Well, yeah, the cliff horse,
I think
absolutely.
Keel's got like dark shift, like 18-1. That's what he's really good at, though.
Yeah.
Getting the bigger prices.
Hearing there's an inquiry into the Lord North accident yesterday.
Lord North accident.
Yeah, it was.
What, with the
Frankie said it was an
blindfold?
absolute shocker, didn't he?
Couldn't
They
get the
do
blind.
that sometimes. They just tuck them under the bridle, don't
Under
they?
the bridle, yeah.
That's so annoying, isn't it?
So who's that down to? The stall handlers?
So what happened?
Will be, yeah.
Craig Thake's got involved. He was like the doyen of everything statistical at the Racing Post, and he said our story carried no info on return stakes. Imagine it was a bookmaker decision. So I don't know what's going on there, but there's a story brewing about that. Seemingly the connections weren't at all happy with that. Big race of the day, yeah, and previous winner of the race, and he was done over. So anyway, that's something interesting away from this. A bet for later on Saturday. Have you got anything?
All my bets are tomorrow, but I fancy quite a few tomorrow.
Strong day tomorrow.
Strong day tomorrow. You're not letting me put those up, but
I'm not going to let you do that because
strong day tomorrow. I tell you what, I thought I found about 7 in the Sandringham, but there's one in particular.
I usually like to have a go at the Sandringham. If Gosling ever runs
I've done 4 each way doubles on the Sandringham and the Hollywood House, because they're both offering ridiculous places.
Wow.
Because they'll be massively overbooked place books. I'll probably get an account closed because of it, to be honest. There's lots. It's a very good time to do each way doubles when they're offering lots of extra places.
Well, here's some.
My Napa meeting runs on Saturday.
Is this Wordsworth again?
No.
Oh, okay.
Ottoman Empire. Ottoman Fleet.
Ottoman Fleet, who we called at
tomorrow.
Newmarket.
That's running tomorrow.
Yeah, tomorrow. Tomorrow. Yeah, Friday.
For the boys in blue, and could have gone up against Reach for the Moon. It would have been the second favourite had it run today. They've, Sheikh Mo swerved it for her.
He's in against changing of the guard.
Yeah, he's beatable, isn't he? He's definitely beatable.
He's a hard race.
Yeah, that's a bad race.
They're backing him up very quick.
Yeah, it's a bad race. And Carl Brooks, here you go, Keith. I reckon if Mojo's delivered late, and I think Strad is in trouble. What you think he's going to outspeed him? Which is a lovely line.
I don't think you'd outspeed Strad.
That's the thing. I mean, when Strad won the Cigaro last year, it was an advert of exactly what sort of section he
I was all over him for the Gold Cup last year, Stradivarius, because of what he'd done in the Cigaro Stakes. Yep. He had finished like an absolute train. So that told you that his main weapon was still there, and he never really came up to it. Partly because I like Joe Fanning nick it a little bit on Subjectivist, but
he was ever so good at York again, wasn't he? Brilliant.
He was. I didn't do the
Almost
sectionals for that one, unfortunately.
His best, it was incredible.
But yeah, he finished because Ascot's final 3 furlongs in the round course are uphill quite notably, and Stradivarius was running like a second per furlong faster than the rest of the race for that time. It was dead quick.
But no matter what, like today, every single person, not every single person because different owners, but the public want to see the It's everything about Stradivarius. I know he gets a bit excited because he's a boy, and he really struts some stuff when he comes into the parade ring. And it's the affinity that we used to moan about that we didn't get in flat racing. We had it more in jump racing. 8 years later, you've seen the same horses go on the same races. So it's been a wonderful narrative for the flat, and people have been able to get an attachment to a horse like Stradivarius, which is only a positive, trying to get more people into the game. So
they tried to they beefed up the sprint programme about 5-6 years ago, and they did the same with the stayers the following year. The sprint programme's been really successful. The stay-in one has had one success and one success only, and that's Stradivarius. And
marvellous.
But he's saved the division. See, if he hadn't run in the Queen's Vase, if he hadn't run to try and win that million, I think the staying division would be in a sorry state. And it's all down to Strad being attracted by that big bonus and those beefed up races. Would he have run in the Queen's Vase if that was still a listed race? I'm not sure he would have.
Bidding to do a Colto Star on the Gold Cup, another child reference, and retain the Gold Cup. Hugh Masson comes back on. One of our regulars is Hugh, and he says, these have all had negatives, basically. Forget Kyprios, looking like an absolute boat at Lingfield and Newmarket. An absolute boat. Well, I suggest you might want to tug along to win this race, potentially, Hugh.
A wee bit. I mean, some years you do need to quicken up really well, but other years you don't. Subjectivist got out last year on the front and could just wind it up from Swinley Bottom, and that was good enough.
Yeah.
So it can depend on the race, really. The Gold Cup's different to most of them, actually. The Yorkshire Cup, for instance, or the mile 6 ones, that is literally, can you settle for a mile 2? Tick. Can you do 3 11-second furlongs? Tick. Congratulations, you're champion stayer.
Yeah.
But the Gold Cup does put in a slightly different test because you do have that longer time for tactical elements to come into it. So it makes it far more interesting and more difficult, unfortunately.
Right, well, there you are. What's the liquidity on this, Barry? On the exchange?
1.4 million at the moment matched.
Yeah.
amazing, isn't it?
Yeah. Again, it's not. Would it be one of those races that people go, I'm definitely going to have a bet of the Gold Cup?
Favourites quite well.
Yeah.
I'm not going to say the favourite's weak, but it's out to 284.
Well, that's
Stradivarius is a real public horse, and he's into he's into 3.2.
Yeah.
7.6 Princess Zoe and 12 Bar.
Yeah, we were saying that last night actually after yesterday's show. I said I wonder whether Kyprios might go odds on, and people were quite rightly saying no. Actually, Straddy's going to ensure the public.
And when you see, like I said, he's just got it all going on. It's when you see him, then everyone, yeah,
Mighty Mouse,
Sox.
yeah,
tiny little horse, isn't he?
Everyone goes for him.
Yeah, and of course it all went wrong in last year's race behind Subjectivist. He wouldn't have beaten Subjectivist, I don't think.
It's gas, like he's an 8-year-old and tire.
Mm-hmm. They're already advertising him. Have you seen a horse advertised at stud before it runs in a Gold Cup before? Don't think I have. Maybe Yates. Was Yates maybe actually?
Charlie Post, who comes on this show, our Bloodstock Supreme, who's saying we're not sure about him as a jump cyclist. He's small, isn't he?
Yeah,
But it will be jump sources, of course.
He'd sort of be like an Alderbrook type side. Doesn't get like massively big.
It's going to be interesting to
I
watch.
don't mind that, a pocket rocket. I don't mind a small jumper.
I do
They
chasers.
don't have to be massive.
As soon as I see a small
go
one.
wrong.
As soon as I see a small, well, that's true. Better to
More
own
stuff
them.
to go wrong. Like these small
definitely,
pocket rockets are better, hardier.
It's like watching a lock forward in rugby union. They get injured more.
Yeah,
And big chasing types, big presentings, they're like that. They get injured.
Yeah,
more
no, it's
towards
a
their
very
big.
good point. God,
So-
that looks good, the Earl of Cotswolds, doesn't it? Crikey.
Yes, your horse. Should we call him your horse? Because you,
My
of course,
horse.
you had your sort of moment in the Newcastle Sun, didn't
Oh
you?
no, it was great. Look, and I'm pleased we said that day, God, the world's your oyster, and look, they're coming here. Good on them.
Tears for
Jed
Willie.
Mason's going to have an absolute brilliant
One of
day.
my
It's just a
best
massive
ever
step up, isn't it?
Return
Humongous.
heckler comments. I'm really happy
was
with
that?
myself. I was doing a Cheltenham preview with Willie Twiston Davis.
What's the snarl
He
about?
heckles a lot.
Does he?
Oh yeah.
Was he on the panel?
I was hosting Tom Siegel, Hendo, and maybe a couple of bookmakers. Oh, and Sam was on it, and it was in Marlborough. It was a pub in Marlborough. I can't remember the name of the pub. And he kept heckling, and I went, ladies and gentlemen, Warwick Twiston Davis, and he absolutely loved it. And he gave me we bantered throughout. He's a proper character,
No, he's
isn't
a
he?
good lad. He's a
And
good
of course,
lad.
he's managing Jed and the others in this. Jed's a good character. You come across him, Barry?
Yeah, I have. Yeah,
Really
he's a nice man.
Really
Very
nice.
nice man.
We got him in this studio, beamed in, and he smiled throughout. It was really, really nice.
Yeah.
Because he's been responsible for putting together some serious owners.
What about the French filly here? Bubble Smart.
Bubble smart.
Don't know much about her. Someone help me out with this. Gerard Mosse, who won a
Oh,
very,
she's unraced firm than good, but that's usual, isn't it?
Gerard?
For French
Well,
horses.
yeah, so don't call anything firm.
Where do you find good firm on for French?
They could run it on one of the end roads in France. They wouldn't call it good to firm.
What did Gerard win this? Was it the Diana? Or was it what did
What's
he win
that?
recently? Gerard Mosse.
Did he win the Diana?
He won a very big race in France. It was one of the feature races. It was either the Diana or the. It was certainly.
But this horse, I mean, I remember this horse from when she was third in the Cadran last year. We got the true Shan Stradivarius race we'd always wanted, and she was the one that sort of shaped all right in finishing third behind them. There was nothing in that though that said she's going to win a Gold Cup but she's earned that run, which stands out in her career profile actually, would be enough to give her a shot at any staying race.
The French have always had a go at this race as well, historically, haven't they? As someone is in the past. And Caroline, 1971, comes back on. Welcome back, Carol. When do you retire a horse like Strike? Good question, this. Would love to see him go out with a win and a sound retirement. Bjorn Nielsen, after his owner was interviewed, lengthy interview, probably on RTV, something like that, where I saw it, and he said, well, just one race at a time. And I'm much more nervous now, of course,
Well, because
than I used to be.
Probably after Goodwood.
What's he going to start? Yeah.
When he wins.
You know what's going to happen. He's not going to get to cover any mares until February. He's got the whole... Why would you retire?
Very
before
sporting owner with this.
Oh, he's been very
He's
good.
earned him 3.3 million.
Well, he got the bonus, didn't he?
He was doing it out of sport.
He's not doing it for just pure passion.
For a while there, nothing could beat him. Like, he was just picking up that bonus. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, it was
£1 million
shelling
bonus.
peas, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was easy money.
Okay, so looking at in the
Do we know what he's standing for yet? Has it been announced what he's going to stand for?
No, don't know. Wouldn't know. I haven't looked. I haven't gone that far into it.
Well,
I'm
would it be
still
4 or
racing.
5 grand? Would it even be that much?
So, yeah.
How much?
4 or 5 grand maybe?
I'd have thought
Would it be
so.
even that much?
Blimey.
First
I
season-
might even send one to him if it's that low.
I was going to say, but I was going to say a bit more of it.
They might go
8.5.
first. They might
Like
chance.
they always put it in, like to get the mares, to get a stallions going. They always put it in low, don't they?
Sure,
Just
let's
to
go
kick
to
off.
the top end. What Frank will be?
Quarter mil.
What is it?
Undisclosed.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
It's one of those.
Yeah.
Derby
Well,
club.
he gets to pick a. He gets to
Jumps
pick.
wise, like your Martelanes, they're good, aren't they? It's quite relatively
Well,
expensive.
there's one that had a first season star, Tazlet. Didn't he have a winner yesterday? And I think he's
Yes.
5 grand. I think he.
Yes, he did. Oh, what's the winner? Tasley. Was it? It wasn't Bradsell, was it? Tasley.
I mean,
I'll tell you who it was.
The commentary winner, potentially.
yeah, I think it was.
It was
Yeah.
Yeah.
very important for Shadwell, wasn't it? Yeah, absolutely. All right, so we're talking about some of them. Keep your tips coming in then. Come
He
on,
looks
we're
like he's
revving
taking
up
the
now.
Yeah,
Three
it was
limbs
Brad Sell.
It was Bradsell.
Good
great
memory,
matter
yeah, it
working
was.
despite what happened last
Favoured
night.
into 274 now. Was out to 286.
Right.
When he's coming from
Yeah, and you want to see that, I think, if you're
Strad
on.
out to 3.35, was 3.2. Princess Zoe, very strong, very steady at 7.6. A few quid for Mojo Star, 11.5.
Well, with Strad getting a wee bit easier in the betting, is this the point where the proper big boys start playing?
No, this
they leave the parade ring. That's
what
generally
we were
when the
talking to
money
Matt Williams
starts.
about yesterday. I said, when do you start thinking when you're on one? When do you start getting excited? Because late money, isn't it, on the exchange is the telling one, and they are now coming out in Strad. Yeah. Absolutely not turning a hair.
That's something the late money is the one that tells on the exchange. That's what it doesn't get made. It's a point I don't think gets made quite as often as it should because it absolutely is right. Lately, Spencer last minute can sometimes be the most telling on the.
You see it one way or the other. Shariar just as though going in. We would look. What price is the Japanese horse yesterday?
Did they really go for him at the end?
No, went the other way. Totally the other way. It's almost like lost a leg or something. He didn't quite see it out, did he? The Cotswolds there. Massive rifle in Canary.
Yeah, it's just gleaming, isn't it? It's just the dark coat. But Princess Zoe does look really good. Alignat wouldn't be my paddock pick there. Just looked,
What was the crowds like, Barry? First 2 days.
Good, but easy to get around.
Yeah.
It's such a big track.
Like.
Yeah.
That's the whole thing about what Ascot used to be back in the day, wasn't it? It used to, have the pace and all that, and just nice and chilled. And Richard Plowski says, burning victory each way with 2 extra furlongs. She has to travel today. Looks sure to suit. You can sort of see it.
25 on the exchange.
To Buzz.
Yeah.
Marie's Rock was the last time we saw her at Punchestown. Of course, she had a decent year over hurdles, but not quite the biggie there.
She got handed that race in Cheltenham, didn't she? Really, that was.
She was possibly the 3rd or 4th best horse in that or something.
Yeah, well, that was the Goshen race, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Which every time Bruce comes on to get referenced, actually, that's just you can watch that.
It was great telly.
He felt like he was thrown under the bus a bit because there is a clip out there on the highlights which Dan Walsh did. He's the best in the business doing these highlights of these shows. And he put a monkey emoji on it, but there is one. I think the original one is uncut.
Oh, the original one is uncut. I've watched that a fair few times now.
Yeah, well, absolutely, yeah, quite. It's well worth a watch. That probably our most famous one. Seeing Aidan being interviewed at the moment. Son Joseph took the Prince of Wales Stakes, of course, yesterday. Aidan being for his 2nd winner of the week. Along with Charlie Appleby. So that was quite remarkable, wasn't it? All the 15 races, different trainers.
Yeah, it was brilliant.
Amazing.
Breath of fresh air.
Yeah, really.
Yeah.
Really
was.
I'd love to see that at Cheltenham.
Yeah, that'd be great.
He looks fit as a
That's why
flea,
it's in such a healthy state, flat racing. We haven't got that in National, unfortunately.
Yes, the problem with the festival.
And Cheltenham highlights that more than anything, doesn't it?
Yeah, absolutely. It's almost to the point where we're just almost in a bit of shock when it doesn't go to one of the top 3 stables, aren't you, a little bit now? So, I don't know, whatever you make of that, this is great this week. Justified 5 days, we were all agreeing that on the show. Absolutely right. Of course, it was the Heath Day on the Saturday. Anyone who used to go to the Heath Day, you would have done, Barry, wouldn't you?
What was the difference? I don't really remember.
No top hat or tails in the Heath
It was just a normal racing day.
Right. I knew that was roughly the thing, but was that all it was? They just went, no, you're not in the club. And
Have you ever been on the Heath before?
No, I've
never been on the Heath.
I've been asked it once.
Locals go for free.
They do, and I was going to reference this. I've done that with some locals one. They because of what happens in Ascot in the town during the week, they get a card and they can put it in, and it's only residents can do it, and they go in the middle for free.
I only found that out on Tuesday.
It's like a hotel card, isn't it, for the door?
Yeah.
Yeah. So all these little crazy things, and we're the envy of the world, aren't we, this year?
This week.
Well, in particular this year, though, because, crowds back. This is, do you know what I mean? Full crowds back. Yes, of course, this week, always. You've got everyone watching, haven't you? And the pageantry and the pomp is what everyone quite rightly wants. And
9-8 Mojo Star now.
9-8. So he's the one for money, is he?
Mojo.
Stradivarius as well. Stradivarius 3.1. So that's pushing the favourite out to 2.8 now.
Did you call him Stradivarius there? Did a Dave Orton. I was getting some stick for that yesterday from Bruce. About pronunciations, funnily enough.
Stradivarius, right.
Yes.
Because I
used to call him Stradivarius, and Bruce was like, oh, here he goes. And I said about the Blueprint Bond yesterday. He was like, what? Where did you get this
He said
from,
something
Orton?
else before as well, but I let it go, but it was funny.
What, me?
Yeah.
Little hideaway in French.
Pomme de terre.
Oh, he said something else.
Pomme de terre.
Stick about that. Don't you worry about it out there, people. It's all coming my way this week.
I called Cyprios this morning because I just was in a different.
Embarrassing. A soft kicking K.
Yes.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Exactly.
Cyprios.
I called it Cyprios twice, actually.
I don't know. I could see how you might do that, actually. The one we haven't mentioned is Tashcan.
We need to be. Ben Robinson really likes this horse, and he gets a little
Well, it's
bit
be Ben's best horse.
annoyed if we sort of this just isn't really going to happen for
Never
Tashkent
met Ben
today,
Robinson.
is it? Yeah, no, he's a good lad, but he loves this horse. He thought this was going to be.
It's definitely his best horse, isn't it?
The best sort
Oh
of.
yeah, kept improving.
Is Ground a concern for him?
Yeah, massively.
He's
massively.
really. I mean, look, it goes without saying he's turned himself
Why has Frankie
inside
got
out
off?
as jockey has been.
Does he normally do that?
Second to Trushan, of course.
Does Frankie
on-
normally get
on
off
Champions
Trushan?
I'd say he's just taking his time
just
going
chilling.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, Frankie's
Doesn't wanna
walking
get him wound
Stradivarius
up.
down.
They're
I mean,
not
he
going to go
knows
off on
his
time
horse.
anyway.
Well, no, it's but they do what they can. I mean, he'll face no
look.
issues for doing this, and then he just takes his time with the horse and does it what he thinks is best for the
Frankie
horse.
yet to ride a winner?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, like it was a bit of a kick for him, Wesley Ward bringing over Arad Ortez, and
Could've
then
worked
what
out
happened
slightly
in the
better.
stalls yesterday, it just went from bad to worse for him, hasn't it?
Love Reigns.
Not going to go through the
5-day
card.
ban on Love
Oh, yeah.
Reigns.
This was often his day, wasn't it?
Yeah, he's not going to go through the card.
Yeah,
Yeah.
okay.
I do like to see like Stradivarius though. Like I know you, but simple bits.
He just
No
never
fancy-
resonated with me,
no
Stradivarius.
I was a wee bit the same.
I was always against him with 2s on, 3s on. I said, okay, we'll get him beat today. Never got him beat. So
Yeah.
he's a horse that he's been fantastic stayer, but he didn't resonate with me the way Yates did.
Yeah, it's funny, isn't it, how that can happen though. But I do like the simplicity. No fancy bits, no hood, no head gear, no nothing. He's just got a snaffle in, and it's just, it is
Hugh
nice.
Masson in the comments is referencing. I'll talk about Frankie walking down there. He says Frankie alphaing the other jockeys, alpha mailing.
Peacocking.
Well, we spoke about this on Tuesday, didn't we? When I said that I bumped into Frankie when he hadn't had a winner the next day in the makeup room for ITV and Sky and all that sort of thing, and he was not his bubbly self. And you know, he's
Was
not,
there a camera in his face?
There was not a camera in
I
his face.
have
Keith,
to-
you mischievous individual.
No, he's always been so nice to me, Frankie.
good
no,
for you.
no, unbelievable. I'm grateful for some days when things could have gone wrong. He's been really good, really, really good. Because he likes people trying to get into the job, and you know, a few times when I could have made mistakes, Frankie's always helped me out. So I don't know. He's passionate. He's Italian. He's emotional.
Never been nice to me. I'm kidding, of course. Yeah, but that was the day that he then nearly went through the card on this day in 2019 when Stradivarius won his first
Oh, I'm
Gold
excited.
Cup. Can he win 4? They're going into the gates then. If you can't get excited for this, you are in the wrong game. And in goes the Fav, Cyprios, as Nat called him. Good luck, whatever you're playing then. 420. What price did he go off in the end, Bazza?
2.93 Betfair
Oh.
SP.
So it was a little bit of late
What was
opposition.
Strad?
3.2.
Dearie me, nearly joint fams.
And he's settling Strad, the 3-time winner, bidding to...
He's
emulate
wanting something to
great
come
Yates.
across. The Tory looks to his left and wants something to come across and lead him.
Yeah, he does. Yeah, he absolutely does. Well, this is not one of the Tories' lead horses, is it? He
No,
very
no.
rarely does this on Strad.
Well, he's not that sort of horse
There
he
you
has
go.
been.
Yeah, and
That's
this is 2
better.
mile 4, of course, and the Earl of Cotswolds, Tristan Davis and Jed and all those guys will be getting love, and it's a great thrill for them really to see this horse, you know, horse that didn't quite cut the mustard over hurdles, but has got Melbourne Cup maybe as his target later on, leading the Gold Cup field. What a thrill. From Tashkent.
The Melbourne Cup.
Yeah, honestly,
Yes.
honestly.
I've watched this horse run at Stratford.
Yeah.
Honestly, that's what their target. Honestly, that's their
they've
target.
got grand plans. I mean, it's
on
Warwick,
them.
Tristan Davis. He's going to have grand
Look
plans.
at the ears. Pretty so happy to be there, the Earl of
How do you think
Princess,
Cyprios is travelling?
Oh, come on, Barry. Don't call it this early. I mean, we could go and have a cup of tea and come back and they'd still be on the home straight first time up, wouldn't they? Look at that crowd on the inside. Absolutely marvellous scenes.
That's the silver ring inside, isn't it? Is it?
No, it's not. No. Oh, is it? Have they moved the silver ring? They might have
No,
done.
Silver Ring's on racecourse side.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. No, this is kind of
Why?
like
What do you
the
think? What, he
inset
just
of the
looks a
field
bit
is.
stuffy, Cyprios?
Yeah,
You
he
just think
just-
he looks a bit... Because he does look a bit sort of... not into his sort of nice...
No, you got slapped down. You got slapped down the shoulder there.
Ryan just gave him a
He's
little...
not really bowling away, is he? He's kind of a
You
bit...
can get some royal enclosure on the inside, actually. There, we're just about to see him look as they come past now.
No, that could be very-
That's where they
I
are
don't
in the
think
race, if
Moore's
you're wondering.
happy on
Gone
him
past
at
the
all.
winning
That could be
post.
very poignant what Barry's saying
Right.
here about
Yeah.
Cyprios.
I think you're right. I haven't seen that. You know, I didn't see it in
Look
the
at
first couple of
heat wave there.
furlongs, but I can see it now.
I can.
What, chivying away, is he?
No,
so
I
come on then.
just don't think he's
slap down his
he's happy
shoulder.
on him.
Strad's
more.
into
He looks a bit
favouritism,
off
is
the
he?
bridle. He's coming up a bit. That's what we call it.
Brad and him, 3.1 each.
They're right up sides each
7-6
other.
Princess Zoe 9.
How's your
Mojo Star.
mojo
Not
going?
just started. I thought he was free the first couple of furlongs with nothing led. Now the race is in a rhythm. He's okay.
Like, they're not going any real pace, are they?
No.
Oh, well, what do you... I don't,
They're
I
going
don't know.
downhill here and doing 14 seconds furlongs.
When do they rev it up, Natty?
Not now.
Swindley bottom.
Swindley bottom
Start
normally.
winding it up.
Not yet.
Yeah. Swindley bottom.
batted
You
straight
wouldn't
back
though,
to me.
but you wouldn't though, would you?
French mare wants to go a bit quicker, doesn't
They're all
she?
nicely grouped. They've got to just.
Yeah.
Who that looks like a little bit
Anna
animated.
Knack
Bubble smart.
pulling.
She look a bit.
Oh, yeah.
She's a bit
Burning
free,
Victory,
yeah.
she'll
Bit
probably be
free.
pulling, won't she? Yeah, she is a bit
Grey
out
at the back there, yeah.
Yeah, she's a horse that they let rip sometimes over hurdles, isn't
Oh,
they?
no, she's not the grey. Alan next to the grey. She's
Alan
not the
is the
rider
grey,
of it, yeah.
She's also keen, so the back marks are pretty keen. Mojo's going all right, and again, he's right. He's keeping wherever
Princess
Frankie
Zoe's
goes,
going
Mojo
well.
goes.
Princess Zoe's going well.
She's in a
She's
good
in a lovely
spot.
rhythm.
She's in a really good spot.
Yeah.
She's in a lovely rhythm. She's got really, she looks
They
good
thought
there.
she wanted soft ground, but again, in the Sagara, which was won by Estimate, of course, before coming here, loads of horses have done it. Strad's done it, of course. It's the trial. She bounced off that.
I mean, the
ground.
reins are
They're
almost
not
looking
going any
flat on
gap,
Kit Prios.
any big gallop, but I have a dreadful feeling that as soon as push comes to shove on Kit Prios, he's not going to find an ounce.
I think you might be right.
Where's he been-
His
yeah.
reins are loose. Like it's kind
No,
of.
come
just-
on.
he's
Keep
just
the
not
faith.
happy
I think
here.
he's going better now. The faster they go, the better he's going. He's pulling him out. Look, this is interesting. Ryan Moore not happy. Very
Getting
interesting
faster-
move.
they're
And
getting
Frankie's
faster
shadowing him now.
Plainly getting faster now.
Yeah, they are. Liam Canary is getting the hurry up all of a sudden. Ben Robinson had the ride of his life on Tashkent. The Bubble Smart, the Frenchman, Gerard Mosse, very alive to the paces. Gerard. How's Straddy going all of a sudden?
He's
Favourite.
angling out, Dettori.
Yeah.
He's trying to get out.
Well, Ryan Moore, he's got to follow Ryan, isn't he? And do him for a turn of foot. That's if you're going to beat Kit Prios.
I don't
that's how
think
he's gonna
Ryan
do
Moore
it.
is the one that he needs to be
what's he
watching out
five
for
wide?
here.
What's he watching for Sheridan, doesn't
Yeah,
he?
this is not good. Strad,
Princess
look at him on the
Zoe.
exchange.
Yeah, Princess Zoe's the one
This
that's
is-
travelling.
This is all,
Yeah,
all
I like
trouble for
Princess
Strad,
Zoe.
but I don't know. Strad's absolutely cruising at this point. He's got a wall of horses in front of him.
Burning
But
Victory
Vittoria's
is
got
not
people.
running
Mojo
very
Star
well.
now being launched. Returning in then, guys. Kit Prios is now
Watch
launching.
it for Burning
Princess
Victory getting
Zoe.
Look
trouble.
at Mojo Star on the outside.
Oh, he's
Frankie's in
going.
a bit of
Victory on
trouble.
the inside.
Yeah.
there.
She's got the run.
So
Burning
Burning
Victory's
Victory.
cruising. Look at Mojo Star. Keith Melrose
wasn't
said this is
going
wrong.
well.
Strad
Now-
now comes. What a
Oh,
race,
Kit Prios
ladies
goes.
and
Kit
gents.
Prios goes.
Go on, Ryan.
Absolutely superb. Kit Prios is going to try and see them off, but Mojo
Good
Star
Strad.
is
Gonna
going
come
to
back.
do him. Kit Prios
Come
is
on,
going to
Ryan.
come up start. This could be a
Come on,
turning
Kit
performance of
Prios.
the season.
Someone on the
Kit
inside.
Prios is coming back.
Go on,
He's coming
Ryan.
back.
Come on,
Good
Kit
going.
Prios.
Go on, Ryan.
Definitely
Let's
going to
go.
do it.
One there.
Come
Oh, you
on,
little
the quick
daisy.
sellouts.
Come on, Kit Prios,
Ryan,
go.
great ride.
Whoa, what a
Great
race that
ride.
was.
Stuff. What a brave horse. Kit Prios lands the odds then in the 2022. What a race.
Phew-wee.
A Mojo Star, good shout, Keith Melrose. He's got the forecast up there, man. Strad, that's Strad now, isn't it?
That's him. That's as good as he is now.
Yeah, and Burning Victory's on a sledger, hasn't she, Barry, on the
She's
inside?
run an absolute screamer. She travelled so well. She hit a
She
low
got
of
the-
3.95. She got a solo at the inside.
I think what happened, did Buick notice? Because I noticed as they were coming halfway up from Swinley Bottom to the last bend, everything started going out. Getting ready for that last turn. Nothing wanted to be up the inside. And he went, well, if you're all going out there, lads, I've still got the rail here.
Yeah.
Went right up the rail. Last off the bridle, possibly Burning Victory, would you say?
Yeah, Evans
And-
Mojo Star hit in.
I thought he'd won at one point.
1.95 Stradivarius, but I don't think Moore was ever happy on the favourite, truly happy, and he made his move at the right time as well because he knows all this horse does is stay.
Well,
And
watching it
that's
4
what's-
furlongs out, Barry, and he could have quite conceivably gone into double figures.
Did you see what
couldn't
price he went?
He hit a high of
10ish? Nah, I wouldn't do
13.
that. 13.
Third, so he did. Wow, did he really? 12 to
Wow.
1 he went out to. Wow, because he looked in trouble. It looked like Mojo was going to come and get him here, Keith.
So this is about a furlong out, isn't it?
11 to 1, 12.
Mojo wins here. This is a furlong out, isn't it? Mojo's won.
Did Frankie go a
Yeah.
bit wide?
Hit
We're hearing
evens
people
there.
Not happy with that.
He's never headed him though.
No, he did head him.
Whereas
Yeah.
Frankie thinks he's
Two
got him, doesn't he?
seconds
He just
before you
doesn't
looked, he
pick up
had him.
Strad.
Frankie, yeah, just doesn't pick up.
He definitely thought he had him at one point.
And
but
William
you can tell the
Buick's
body
given the
language.
fort an absolute peach of a ride.
Yeah. All right. So listen, there's been a lot said about us shouting at the TV a bit this week, but if you can't get excited for that, when can you? Well done, panel. Everyone was on that. Happy days. More money for Well Child to charity. And listen, he's a tough animal, this, isn't he? He's very lightly raced. He's from that Free Eagle, all stay, search for us on Moyglare. They're just tough. And they really find
I wonder what will be said.
lovely attitude.
I wonder what will be said about how he travelled
I was
afterwards.
just about to say, maybe he's just.
Because they'll say he can improve again on that, and maybe they're right. But I think he might get priced in next time.
He just didn't. They probably didn't go fast enough for him. It was a steady enough gallop.
He just looked switched off, didn't he?
Is
He
Mojo
just
going
never looked happy.
to get a run at him at 2 miles?
Well,
'Cause that'd be interesting.
You would imagine he's the horse to take out of it. They've got Goodwood next with him. The cup horse is he's run a blinder.
He's going to win. He might win a Group 1. He might get his Group 1 in the Goodwood Cup.
Of course, Strad will go there, and you think on that form. I mean, Strad loves Goodwood. We don't know that about Mojo, do we?
I think Mojo Star's going to beat Stradivarius every time he runs against him now. 1's 4. That was his first run of the season. Stradivarius is 8. The turn of foot's not what it was.
Yeah, granted that normal improvement. Look at Burning Victory here, guys, on the rail. I mean, she laughed off the bridle.
She got
honestly,
an absolute solo up the inside. I thought to myself,
it's when Elder Cotswolds comes off the rail, you think she's getting a run
William
here.
Buick thinking, hang on a minute, I'm on a Caribus gap here. They come a little bit towards Princess Zoe.
She flattens out to very little, Princess Zoe.
Yeah,
disappointing
she
that.
you could mark up Pakshan as well on the ground.
Yeah, he'll be Champions Day again for him.
He just needs a mile. He needs a straight mile. He just gets
rolling.
rolling.
I hate to say, oh man, you can imagine him jumping. He'd be a world.
Possibly would, yeah.
It's Brian Ellison.
The race he'll run well in Tashkent's the Doncaster Cup.
Doncaster Cup. They might even look at Melbourne, of course. Brian,
he's not got the gears for Melbourne.
But it's whether we win it or not. It's not the point. It's the sort of race he might be pointed to. Cart Diamond, of course, the great story. I mean, Brian Ellison is a celebrity down there because of what happened down there.
Is that right?
So yeah, a massive story because he stayed with the horse when he got injured.
Burning Victory finished so on the bend. I even said, oh my God, doesn't look like she's enjoying it at all. She could head up and then to come out like that, it was quite impressive actually.
I tell you what, Ellison's
Barry, we're going to get quotes for next year's Gold Cup. Five.
I think he'll win Gold Cups as long as he wants one.
Well, this is the thing. They just keep them. It's all about that now. Where did
I want to know why he was.
I don't know where Yates went after winning the Gold Cup.
He could go Irish St Ledger, couldn't he?
Irish St Ledger.
Yeah, I thought he'd go for that. Yeah.
Would they maybe aim a bit?
He's.
We're watching.
I want to know
Frankie
why he was off the bet. I
dismount.
want to know what he hated. He hated something.
Yeah, well, I
was.
don't know. I mean, he wore the pieces, didn't he? As we said.
Maybe he's just lazy.
And you're thinking. That's what I was thinking during the race. I was like, oh, is he having?
I think he was just switched
He might
off.
just be a swine of a thing.
Yeah, he could be a bit of a monkey. I thought he had sorted that out this year.
A swine.
He disappointed every time he came to England previously. I remember backing him one year in Newmarket, and as a 2-year-old, I think it was, and he ran no race, and then he ran dreadfully in the Derby trial in Lingfield. I thought maybe he might be a worry or a bad traveller, but
That's exactly what Keels was saying this morning.
Oh, really?
That was his biggest point. He worried about his attitude, his travelling. He doesn't
Well,
travel.
he's shown a good attitude there.
Yeah.
Oh,
you know, he's knuckled down and he's ran out all the way to the
Seriously,
line.
but
It
Keels'
might be a
point.
3-mile chase to a certain extent. Where they get a look beat to keep going, up the hill or whatever.
I'm glad they've settled it that he's a pig. He has really put his head down, and that's what matters really.
Yeah.
But he clearly is a funny horse.
Oh, look at them coming in there. The relief on their faces. Actually, another Gold Cup. It means so much to, of course, the history of Ballydoyle and this race.
What's that guy called again? The groom that always leads him up. He's there.
Barry will know.
This guy on the left?
Yeah. He's a famous one.
I can't remember his surname, but he's been
He's
with them
always
all,
there.
isn't he?
Every time you see him more than you see O'Brien.
You do, yeah. He had a great big grin on his face. Such an operation, isn't it, when you see him come in? And they'll be making their way down from the Royal Enclosure now. The connection's very, very happy.
There's a lot of
Good to see
jip.
the Moyclair colours being carried by them.
There's a lot of jip in the chat.
Good to see the Moyclair colours in the Brian.
There's a lot of jip in the chat for Frankie actually.
Yes, there is. And Dan Walsh wanted me to reference this about going too wide. Should he have stayed on the rail? Is what we're hearing. Well,
everything angled out at the same point.
When you look at Burning Victory,
The only person, it's a bit like, if you're playing football, my dad used to say, if you're the goalkeeper, you can see everything. The only person that could see everything in that race was William Buick on Burning Victory.
Yes.
He was the only one that kept at the inside. The Tory wasn't in a position to change at that point. If Buick had gone wide, you could have said, what are you doing? You could see you had everything going wide in front of you. But the Tory didn't have that luxury. He was racing for a place against the big boys.
And he got called some proper names, Frankie, after riding the race last year, didn't he? That would have been on his mind.
He got massively outridden last year. I'm not sure his ride was especially bad. Joe Fanning massively outrode him.
Well, and he found all sorts of trouble, didn't he, as well?
He did find a bit, but he'd have been second.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree. Yeah, he wouldn't have been subjectivist, unfortunately. Is that it now for subjectivist? Johnson, so you never know.
You never know, but...
He is a vet.
Yeah.
If anyone's going to... That's why they bring him back, I suppose.
So is Charlie. They're both vets, but it's difficult.
The Gold Cup is done then for 2022. The race of the week. Who was with him? Who got some spikes in the money? Did any of you get the 12-1 that he hit in the run out there? Let us know.
The scowl on Moore's face there when he crossed the line and a puff of the cheeks. And
Was he just like...
Well, it was hard work.
He was made earn his corn there.
No, absolutely.
He'd have been laying the 12s if he could.
I mean, well, let's concentrate on Ryan a little bit because he's the one man you want in your side in that situation, isn't he?
Yeah, he really is world class. Like he's a fantastic jockey. He's so strong. He's always last to go for the pro cush.
Where was his first winner on the race course, Ryan Moore?
I'm going to assume Brighton. Lingfield.
Nope.
Ascot?
Nope.
Oh, the jumps track.
Oh, yeah. He rode a jumps winner, didn't
Yeah.
he? Yeah.
I was ready to guess. Now I knew it was jumps.
Market Raisin was
isn't it?
close.
Yeah.
Also, he's totally misjudged. Like, he's actually got a cracking personality. He just doesn't really want to talk to the media. But he's actually really funny.
He's actually the opposite.
Inside Out with us this year in
well,
terms of his
isn't he?
blog.
Who does the blog with him?
Tony Calvin
Is it
does it
TC?
with him.
Does
He
it?
gets a good tune out of him.
Yeah.
But he's just so much more forthcoming.
Yeah.
You know, and anyone can go on and read them. He's really
got
opened
a
up
good
a
sense
bit.
of humour, though, hasn't he?
Obviously, his brother Josh I still think is quite ill in hospital.
Has
So
he?
It's
it's a
gone
very
quiet,
difficult
isn't it, on
time
that
for the
one?
family.
Yeah.
I think he's been moved closer to
they've been through
home.
such
He's
a
not
lot.
in Liverpool in hospital anymore. He's
Yeah,
been
I
moved
once spoke
closer
to
home.
Haley about Ryan and his tendency to swerve the media, and I think it comes from a young age. He was never a talker at school and things like that. She told me, and he used to hate it when the teacher said Ryan, something like that. Apparently, he was very very shy.
Well, I remember once I was on the Traveller's Reporter. I was at Chester during the May meeting, and he rode, was it maybe US Army Ranger, one of those horses that won the Chester Valiant Seconds. And after the race, usual Moore, exactly the sort of thing you'd expect from Ryan Moore. And I thought, oh, here we go. But then some of the national boys knew, and they went to the weighing room after he'd got all changed and everything, and he came out then, and he was great. So he does everything on his terms, basically.
Because you watch him when he's down in Australia and in America and in Japan, and he can.
If he's comfortable, he'll speak.
Because they have to sort of do it. It's in the contract to do
if
it.
he doesn't want to, he won't. But
I think he likes getting in and speaking to the owners and the trainer before
That's
speaking
fair.
to anybody.
it's fair. But they have had such a rough time. Jamie with his wife with breast cancer, and thank goodness she's okay. But it's just one thing.
They have had a tough time.
I really feel for them. It's they've had a horrible time, and just hope Josh, come on.
Yeah, please God.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Of course, we'll be keeping you very abreast of that here, the Racing Post. So I can't wait to see the RPR for that. It'll be coming up very shortly indeed.
What would you go with?
Interesting.
I reckon Strad will get his 117. So you'll probably be about 119, 120 for that. Strad, basically that race will be rated in Stradivarius.
Do we think he's going to come back and win next year, all being well, if he's sound?
Well, if he's sound and he still fancies it.
So 5-1 is,
Yeah.
The Irish St Ledger was the Yates route, wasn't it? He actually went to the Cadran as well.
Well, that's the
Yates
sort
did
of
a
race
couple
you
of
would
times.
do with him, isn't it? You'd go into Cadran.
He got turned over in the Cadran, Yates did. Oh, I can't remember that.
It's a funny old race, that. It's usual late
He won
season
the
nonsense.
pre-Royal Oak. So these are the sort of races that,
Is
Group
he a
1.
stallion prospect?
Kyprios.
Yeah.
They've got Kyprios types coming out their rear end, haven't they, for
they,
stallion
yeah.
prospects?
I wouldn't
Those
want-
kind
I
of
wouldn't-
national hunt.
It
I wouldn't
is.
want to, would you? I wouldn't want to put my mouth to him particularly.
Well, what? Because
I wouldn't pick him over. Well, no,
Wouldn't Mojo Star be a better stallion for a wee bit of speed? If you wanted a
it's
stallion out of that
interesting, isn't
race.
it, saying that he had such a good attitude because mid-race he perhaps wasn't showing.
no, but to the line, like when he picked, he showed really good attitude to
Yeah.
win.
Crucial
To
that
pull it out.
Moore made
To
his
win.
move when he did.
And that is what you
Yeah,
call
it was
the
a
race winning move.
The
Yeah.
AP McCoy making the minds up.
I think the worry with him before this was how he's behaved in the past. We thought he ironed his behaviour
sort of
out.
had the feeling though, didn't you, in the final he was going to pull it out.
Yeah, you did.
Yeah.
I think Mojo Star was just
Tell
running
by
out
Ryan's
of
body
petrol.
language sometimes that he's
You know
going
what
to do it.
the really annoying thing about Mojo Star, obviously it's his first run of the season, and he did just flatten out a tiny bit in that last furlong. Was it the fitness or was it the stamina? We just don't know yet.
Has he truly seen out the Gold Cup trip, Mojo
But
Star?
was he quite fit enough? We don't know which it
Because they
is.
crawled, haven't they?
Yeah.
It's 5 seconds slow, by the way, Dan.
5 seconds. That's not a massive crawl. 5 seconds slow over 2.5 miles. Per furlong, that's half a second a furlong.
Trying to remind
Less than half a
myself.
second a furlong. So it's not. That's actually a faster time than I would have expected.
Interesting.
Will they retire Stradivarius now?
Well,
Is that it?
What do they try and do though? What do they win? And what's their last go with him? What's there left to be done? Because he's not going to win a Goodwood Cup. Did they bring him back for
They
one
only
last?
damage his legacy now, don't they?
Well, I think they'll go to Goodwood. I was thinking about saying that as I was watching him. As you guys were chatting, I was going to say, when do they start thinking about? He's only just been beaten in a Gold Cup.
He's finished third in the Gold Cup, but he probably doesn't beat those two.
He's
ahead
won
of
at
him.
York. He's come back. He can't. He's 8, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's not. He can't.
And
I mean, if he was
career on the horizon.
Exactly. If he was any other horse, but that you knew he was at that sort of stage, and you would try and pick out one more race that he could win, have a big day out, get the win. Frankie does a thing in front of the stands. That's that, lads. And now he'll go off to the stud in
Simples.
February. Well, but where do you find that race now? I don't know. He's going to run into Mojo Star in the Goodwood Cup, who I think will beat him.
When you mentioned the time there, you said 4 seconds slower quicker than you expected. When Yates in 2008, I was just looking back to compare, beat Jordan Lamb 5 lengths when he got his hat trick. He broke standard.
Right. Maybe the standard's a wee bit out in the two. I don't know.
Well,
because it's a race. It's a distance they hardly run over.
Yeah.
So you're guessing a bit at the standard. It's hard to get a good sample together.
Well done, all you out there in chat who put up Kyprios. Lots of you absolutely toasting that, popping the corks, aren't you? Probably going and put your feet in the paddling pool and now chill out for the rest of the day. Well, we're still with you for another 2 races. 5:35, the last one on air. We've got the Britannia coming up next, 20 minutes to that. Minefield Barrier or...
Second.
The Britannia, a minefield. You're usually at home in Dublin and I go to you and you've got loads of work to go. Sorry, don't say it again, he's sitting here now. He's watching Aidan.
I'm just looking at the guy behind Aidan there with his red top.
Yeah, with his red
That's a
velvet.
beauty,
It's
isn't
like,
it?
it's
Just
just
caught my
Looks like
eye
Willy
at top.
Wonka, doesn't he?
like, yeah, W Wonka. Nice.
You've got to have some cojones to wear that hat in there.
You do, don't you? 6 King of Time on the exchange, 7.4. Who put 50 in you? Juanez is 9.4. 10th, Tranquil 9, 11.45. And so on, so on. I like Who Put 50 in You. I just like the way he picked up over the mile, stepping up to the trip that for the first time behind Mighty and beat Mighty Ulysses.
Yeah.
He didn't let the form down.
Not at all.
In
No,
St
he
James's Palace.
shaped his way.
He was getting £8 off him that day,
Yeah.
and he's got £10.
And Outgate.
And Outgate, yeah, don't forget him. And he's got £10 for that. So, you know, that's just kind of tempered my enthusiasm just a little. That like wake and stop trains, as you know, Dave. 7.6. We're going to back him 25 win. I'm splitting my stakes here. We're having 25 quid win on him at 7.6 on the exchange. Happy to be a price taker here. And the other horse I like in it is Boathold.
Yes.
Yeah, I just the handicap that he won in Newmarket, I don't think that was a bad race. The runner-up Haunted House, he's a nice sort. It was over a mile too. He's dropping back to a mile here. I think a really strong run race, which he's sure to get here, will be right up his alley. And at 30, we're going to have 25 quid win on him as well. So they were my 2 against the field in a very, very difficult race.
31 Boathold comes out of. And again, if you watch the feature shows here at the Racing Post on Monday with Oshin Orr, 3-time champion jockey. Oshin Orr?
Murphy.
Nearly. Oshin Murphy.
He might be
with
champion
us.
jockey one day.
We never know if he rides a bit straighter. And Oshin Murphy told us this was the plan for this horse after he got beaten by a horse called Zechariah. He flopped that day. Zechariah, we saw nearly winning the King's Vase. They gave him wind surgery after that. He came back behind a horse called Ren Vineyard, who's unfortunately on the sidelines now, but very well regarded by Willie Muir at Sandown. He came out and he won at Newmarket, and this has been the plan. And these connections and this jockey have won the race before. Michael Buckley.
Yeah, running in the Constitution Hill colours.
Yeah.
Constitution Hill
And
colours.
what was it?
Can we try not mention it? I mean, I'm excited as anybody to see that horse batter honeysuckle.
What was the horse that they won it with? Was it Limitless?
Put it at Royal Ascot.
The Royal Ascot, lads.
Oh no, it
Was
wasn't.
it a Jamie Osborne one?
It was called Limitless now because it's gone to Hong Kong. This would be him. This is him. Hang on. And we have to call it Limitless now, of course, because we do it. But it was called Defrocked when it won it.
Okay.
And it beat a horse called Abe Lincoln of Jeremy and the Cedars. Oh, memories. So yeah, I like him as well actually, and I've definitely had a little bit on him. He's not my top tip.
Watching that Gold Cup again, and Tashcan,
Yeah.
he's just a lovely slow horse. I tell you what, I bet Brian Ellison's raging about bursting his handicap mark last autumn because he'd have won in the Northumberland Plate. It's a race that
which
Ellison's...
comes up next Saturday, which we're covering
of
here.
course, for Brian.
Well, I was there the day that his horse Seymour got Muggley on, and he was actually in tears.
Yeah.
He
Oh,
couldn't
he's-
believe it.
Totally good.
Watched the win. He was born on Plate Day.
Yeah.
My
Yes.
worry about Who Put 50 in you, Barry, is that he's going to come off the bridle potentially.
Yes.
A little way out. And Matt Williams, who did a piece with him in the paper at the start of the week, and Matt was absolutely adamant you can't have workman-like horses on the straight track, in particular at Ascot.
Yeah, you won't be able to go through the gaps.
You want a traveller, which is why Spencer's so good.
These are all steadily run races he's won.
Yes,
And
and
you know-
it's young and we can't pigeonhole him just yet,
He's
can
beat
we?
good horses over 6.
He's got the draw.
Well, not good horses at this level, but he's
Four
beat,
of the
he's beat,
first five
he's
in the
beat
market
handy
are
enough
drawn
horses
high.
over 6. I like him too. I think he's a really interesting. The Haydock forms worked out extremely well with Mike Ulysses coming out and doing that. The two of them were clear, weren't they, that race? And what I also like about the ground is pretty quick out there, and his dam was she was an all-weather horse more than anything, Poyle Meg, but his half brother needed it rattling quick.
Poyle Meg, yeah, I remember.
Poyle. Yeah, I remember her in the all-weather, but he's got a half brother who absolutely needed it he had American turf form, and he needed it dead quick. So I think conditions are going to really suit him. The form's looking really good.
Is this on top for you?
Oh, yeah, he's on top.
Who put 50 in you?
Who put 50
And in the Silver Bowl, to be fair, like he had that little weird sort of stumble. He was niggled, like only 3 furlongs in, so it was a bit strange. And then, like the way he made headway was quite exciting. I thought the way he progressed through the race. But you can look at this. This is really fun race for me betting wise because for punters they can have great fun and have a couple of bets. Like look at Atrium, 2 from 2 here. He's got the course form. He's a big price. What he will like is to arrive late off a strong pace. So tactically, you can look at Atrium. One as I can see plenty of appeal. The hood's been removed, which is fascinating, isn't it?
Yeah, he's my top pick, one is.
Jim on board, won his last 3 races. That's really exciting. It did race a bit freely, though, mind.
Well, that heads the hood.
Yeah.
I like the fact they're taking it off, though,
So
don't
do
you?
I.
And he's won here.
I think that's a positive. It's
bit on
coming
the
off.
round track.
Who put 50 on you comes on top for me, but we could look at Tranquil Night here. He's 3 from 3 in the all-weather. Newmarket, he won comfortably. He was keen, actually, but he did pick up nicely. And then what about this Yonifis? Interesting, the only one for Haggis. Surely Haggis could have run more than one horse in this, no?
It just shows you what
he
sort
likes
of
to keep
race
them
this
apart,
is.
doesn't he?
Yeah,
He
true.
does tend to like to keep them apart.
So let me give you the case for one
Okay,
ease then. I think that you need to be basically a pattern class horse to win this race. I think we can all agree with that. There's probably loads of them in here potentially. Even the likes of Thesis for Ryan Moore going for a quick double, his third ride of the meeting on Roger Charlton's horse, Harry and Roger Charlton, of course. He could well be. He's not won yet, but I think he's thought to be that sort of grey. But one ease for me. I love the fact that the hood is coming off. He's in stall 21. He'll have lots of options. He should really settle, shouldn't he? Let's face it. And he's been kept for this after winning at Sandown. Charles Hill's, of course, off the mark in the Hunt Cup yesterday. These handicaps over the straight mile, it's just Charlie Hill's. It's absolutely superb, and his horses are going really well, as we know. I think Jim Crowley will take this out on one ease. Who else do I like? Of course, we haven't mentioned the favourite, of course, have we? King of Time, William Buick, Charlie Appleby. They're going for a third winner of the week, unbeaten at the moment.
Another 3 races into a big handicap. I'm just going to keep knocking them off here because I just want to make the point. There's so many of them at this meeting. You just don't,
I mean, yeah, okay, yeah, all right. Boltol is a bigger price than expected as well. Does anyone like any wacky ones in here? When you look at, you've got like Spin Around for Haviland, who sort of got it right last time. He's 50 to 1 for the Gosdens. It's remarkable, isn't it?
Try to look at some of these slightly lesser, like not the big owners, because this race is an absolute breeding ground for selling your horse for massive money to Hong Kong. So if you've got, if I had a horse, if I was a small-time owner and I had a horse that was good enough to run on the Britannia, I absolutely would. Finish first 5, you'll get the checks flying at you. Yeah. So I just want to know what they're going to do in terms of because it's not. I complain about the self-fulfilling nature of perceived draw biases during Royal Ascot. Oh, it's the near side that's good because the pace was there in the Coventry or something. And but now it's not happened this week, and I'm a bit now. Well, what do I do? I usually just let the self-fulfilling prophecy of the supposed pace bias do the work for me, but I can't really do it now because it's not really come through yet. Nothing's finished on that near side all week yet.
No,
I've not seen anything out on right in my picture.
Bruce
watching
put one
that
up in the
telly.
Hunt Cup. It was Percy's lad he put up. That
He
was the front
was
run.
the pace angle on the near side.
Yeah, it was always going to be tough for him.
Everything that followed him, Etonian followed
before.
him, died on its backside.
Yeah.
Loads of horses. Everything that's come up that near side has sort of fallen in a hole a little bit.
Only twice in the last 10 years has this gone to a horse in single figures. Fast or Freeland, a massive gamble for William Haggis. Stall 6 of 29 before being sold. Bless him, who we saw running in the Hunt Cup yesterday. Ran really well, didn't he, of course? Bless him. He was 3 of 29. I remember that for Dave Simcock. Middle stalls, but it's mainly high. 2019, it was probably the most watched Britannia of all time, isn't it, when Frankie was going for the... And it was a biometric
All
that
the
won
running
that.
up money.
Yeah.
Yeah, who sort of shot Bambi's mother, wasn't it? Turgenev went off 7-2 somehow, having been 33s in the morning.
Well, that was the day that the first time that cash outs and big rolling multiples came to meet each other.
There was a lot said about that on that day, wasn't there?
There was such running up money that day that like.
You didn't.
I think companies had to reassess how they manage risk around those sort of things. So you see now that they can kick in. It's at their discretion, and Betfair are the same. It's at our discretion if we pay over. I think the maximum payout could be $100,000 now.
Okay.
Like some people have a multiple bet and it pays out, say, 300 or 400 grand. That's at our discretion whether we pay that.
Right.
But I think off the back of that day, it was literally company ending sort of sums you were talking about there.
It was the only time in my... I'm too young to remember the Magnificent Seven. It's the only time in my career I can remember genuine blind panic coming from the industry.
That was right, yeah.
And that wasn't just hamming it up for PR pages or anything like that.
Yeah,
that was genuine.
You can sort of tell when it's that and when it's real, and that was real that day.
Yeah, because
I
they
was
didn't
at
want
the
to talk about
track
it.
that day, and I was
exactly,
with a lot
yeah.
of people that are having the option of doing it, and they were like, when do I do it, when don't I do it, and all that sort of stuff. Loads of it was being talked about, when they were being allowed to do it, all that sort of thing. So, yeah, that was in this race, which we do tend to see group horses in that go and get sold to Hong Kong and further their careers out there. Who will come out on top then in the 5 o'clock? You've heard some tips so far by myself and Barry. Who's on top for you? Keith Melrose?
I've already done it. It was
Which one?
50.
Oh, yeah, of course it was. Why is it called that?
I don't actually know, but there is a sort of idiom in this country of who put 50 pence in the meter, like for prepaid electricity. I'm not sure the Roonies have ever had recourse to require prepaid electricity, but that's my guess.
You're hoping that he lights up. Don't
let me get the paper again.
You thought it was something different, didn't you?
Yeah, like dancing,
Late
girls
night
like
club.
shoving some money.
It was.
I prefer that than electric meter.
There's a social coming up as we swiftly move on. Prometheus, good welcome. Says group horse in a handicap, not a faff backer, but King of Time is my biggest punt of the day.
Yes, I think is absolutely gorgeous, this horse.
Okay.
Even though Who Put 50 in was actually my nap. But I can...
Have you napped this?
Yeah. But I can 100% see why people are going to go on King of Time, can't you? I mean, for goodness sake, unbeaten, yes, twice in your weather. Last time at Newmarket, I was decent. He's by Kingman, Godolphin, Will Buick, Charlie Appleby. But I was just going to take him on with a slightly bigger price, although...
Yeah, you're right. Yeah, it could still be very well handicapped, potentially, couldn't it?
That's the thing, Dave.
He's a half-brother to Arguterra.
Handicapped.
Did that win the Sandringham? Arguterra, for Bjorn Nilsson.
Ooh.
That would be very interesting, wouldn't it?
Yeah, I did win an Ascot race that Argus.
It was the Sandringham. It was. Oh, you wouldn't.
Good shout.
It beat Ortiz, absolutely, as I'm hearing in my ear.
But
was
it is
in
the
2018.
handicap here, isn't it?
That is interesting, isn't it? Oh, it was almost like they got a plan with this horse. You never knew. Tranquil Night is the one that I like, sort of against the rest of them, with Wannies, the 4th favourite in. That form of his is working out really, really well. He was beaten on his only start last year, but the outgate form at Newmarket is proper hot.
Oh, he's on an absolute roll, but you just have to sit up when you see Buick's got on King of Time, haven't you? That's probably the reason why the market...
Yeah. It can't be an easy decision with horses like this, though, can it?
I mean, it'll be made on far less scientific grounds than people actually think. It'll just be, that one works nice, or that one gave me a better feel, which is a significant thing to note. Yeah, it's a significant thing to note, but let's not pretend it's absolutely, it's a death sentence for the other one or anything. It's a professional making their best guess. That's what it is.
Yeah.
Bolt
Hold is halved in price.
I was just about to say,
it's gone from 30 to 15.
Buckers is having a go in the ring.
Michael Buckley he's got his wallet out, has he?
Yeah, it looks that way, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Can afford it.
Crikey,
and they have won this before the connections, and again, all the money buyers, foreign money buyers, are looking at this, weren't they, thinking, you're quite right about that, Keith. All of these horses, you can see them going.
Is it they're running up money because he's by a half-brother of the Gold Cup winner?
Is he?
He's by Free Eagle.
Oh, who is?
It's Bothwell.
Well, that's remarkable, isn't it? I didn't realise that.
I don't see many Free Eagles.
You don't? No. I'm going to have a look at his progeny in a sec. Armontia for Joseph. Shane Cross.
Yeah, I don't know much about him.
One?
No, don't know much about him. He's not one for me.
Did DJ mention this morning? I've got a feeling I've heard him talk about it at some point before. The 4th time of asking, in its career, on its 3-year-old debut, basically, first time up to a mile. It's been backed, it's really, really well solid. Got really good.
Number 16, is it?
Yeah, it was quite impressive, wasn't it, on the handicap debut?
Yeah, that's JP's daughter.
Is it?
Foley, yeah, they're her colours. The horse that I referenced.
Martinstown.
Yeah, Martinstown, yeah, that's hers.
Which, of course, is
Named after
JP's
the stud.
residence. The Queen's got one in here. Frankie on. Frankie's still waiting for that winner. Saga. Not the most obvious one, that one, would it be? Saga.
Yeah.
First time blinkers.
I looked at that and
well beaten twice up.
Then I shut it again.
Has one here, of course, 3rd time up. Yonafis is big, isn't it? Never raced on turf yet. Another very interesting horse as well.
It's just interesting, isn't it, Jonafis? You know, just one that you want to look at by Golden Horn.
Beat a pretty good horse in its second start, Mr. Big Stuff, didn't it? Koi, who was expected to win at Chester, wasn't it?
Yeah, that's a chance.
Yeah.
That would be up there. And again, Outgate form, that puts it quite close to Tranquil Night. That's quite interesting. What sort of weights are they getting off each other? I mean, it's probably quite condensed.
That's interesting. That Janifis, he's by Golden Horn out of a mile 2 listed winner. Be surprised to see horses like that in a
mile.
In a Buckingham,
Britannia.
It's just a bit bigger than I was expecting from an unbeaten Haggis Marquand.
Yeah, what tends to happen, as we say, it's his first run on turf, and the all-weather form, it's not any stronger at Ascot, but it gets underrated, it gets undervalued in the betting.
Yeah,
definitely. I did. As I say, anybody that read the masterclass I did last week, I wanted it to be wrong, because Ross Briley told me about it. I says that just sounds like complete nonsense. I'm not having
flat pack.
I'm not having it. But I did the stats,
and he's right.
And it was right, but it's not in terms of absolute terms. It's just right. I think it just is snobbery.
It's always been a thing, hasn't it? I remember saying once it might be because Ascot's a sand-based turf. Everyone went mad about that.
It's just that just sounds like voodoo, doesn't it?
Yeah, well, it does absolutely. But all-weather horses on the straight track at Ascot is a thing, for whatever reason.
Not just a straight track, is it?
And probably on the
I
round
wouldn't
track
put
as
anyone
well.
off this Koi, you know, at the prices, just the more I'm looking into it, because that time at Chester, bumped the start, stumbled the start, was too keen. If that could just be a little bit more settled, and at the prices...
They're going down, guys.
Big price, isn't it?
Yeah.
Koi.
What's the weight set in this? How much is there between them? Surely it's going to be quite. You've got 9
stone,
at the top.
9 to 8 stone.
Oh,
8
yeah,
stone.
okay. Fair. That's not too bad. James McDonald has got one in this. He's going for a third winner on the week on Mr. McCann for Hugo Palmer. Interesting booking. Hugo Palmer, this. Is this Michael Owen's horse?
Mr. McCann.
Yeah,
That's the Liverpool horses.
Yeah, that's it.
Liverpool players.
Where did this? They had some
It had a derby trial at Chester.
It went to the Maljoon race. That's the horse, of course, that was our benchmark. Maljoon.
Oh, in Germany, yeah.
Of course. I don't know. If you're looking at crazy priced horses, he's a smart horse. He's got enough weight, I'd say. But James McDonald booked.
I was looking down the race and I looked through Mr. McCann and I thought, is this the sort of horse that because he's not been aimed at the race and because this is sort of what should we do now? Let's go into Britannia. He's been priced up on that basis when he is actually quite a talented animal. However, he's off 102, which, you know, to win this race off 102, you need to be Group 3, Group 2 class.
Yes.
And this horse has had a chance to show he's that class and hasn't particularly.
What was it?
I mean, he's beaten
Star of India and...
Yeah, he's beaten 8 lengths and it German Guineas that as well behind Maljoon.
Yeah.
So
Ewan Montgomery comes on and says a Monshire each way. That was a good reference there that we did beat Stone Age and Changing the Guard as a 2-year-old.
Now, Stone Age was just...
Not a 2-year-old.
He's not a 2-year-old.
And they tried him quite hard.
It's like watching Peter Crouch, that horse.
Highest rated maiden probably in Ireland at one point, wasn't he?
He would have been, yeah.
Some of them are.
He's just a big galoot. I don't think he liked Epsom.
So that might be a bit of red herring, but no, fair play. Finished ahead of them there, so it could be a group horse, I think is what Ewan's trying to say, and you will need to be to win this. Hugo Palmer's got the top 2 weights here, of course, got Power of Beauty with Shane Foley.
He's made a good start up there, has Hugo Palmer. Up at Tom Daskin's yard.
Really good start.
Yeah.
Manor House.
I mean, you would have expected it, to be honest. I would have regarded, seeing what they did with the respective ammunition.
What, Brad the Brief?
Yeah, I would have expected Hugo
Not all
Palmer
of Hugo's horses went up there, of course, did they?
No, but he got all of Daskin's.
Yeah.
And he's done well.
He's done really well, Brad the Brief, and Never Given, and
Yes,
Flaming
he has,
and
yeah.
Flaming Rib.
Got Flaming Rib in the thing
Exciting.
tomorrow. I think that horse has got a big 5 furlong race in it. For
Yeah, I'm surprised.
I like
I
Flaming
think
Rib.
he's a 5 furlong as
He's
well.
getting faster and faster, that horse.
He got done by El Caballo. Nap of the week, that was.
Sandy Lane.
It was my pick of Ascot, but not on this ground.
No?
I'd be more with Barry would go
I'm
there.
not allowed
That's
to-
the key race for the Commonwealth Cup.
So do I.
Oh, absolutely.
Sandy Lane.
Yeah.
If you watch,
Haggis horse.
if you're going to watch this tomorrow when I'm on with Giron, please make sure you watch the Sandy Lane before the Commonwealth Cup because it is the race for
It
that,
is.
the Commonwealth Cup.
I was there that day as well.
First 4 are running in it. I know you're go Bears.
Interesting.
Go on.
Where's go, yeah.
That's
Brilliant.
tomorrow, of course, one of the features. 2
back,
Group 1s for you
watch it.
tomorrow. The Coronation Stakes as well. No homeless
Oh,
songs.
one
but we've
has
got
looks
Cachet now.
amazing.
Inspiral coming back tomorrow, guys.
Yeah, she
Form
is.
advertising the
against her.
Guineas, first time out.
I am.
She's fav, isn't she, at the moment?
Yeah, I'm against her.
Too many weird weird
I think
problems,
Cachet's
weird
being
issues.
overlooked again slightly.
She's a 5-1 chance. She has
half
done nothing
as
wrong.
deep, didn't she?
Absolutely
Really?
nothing
How
wrong.
is how?
Here we go. Skid Row Joe, who's been with us this week, comes on and says
So
26.
Thesis
Oh, good.
to Tranquil Night
Yeah.
to Jimi Hendrix.
Yeah, have you discussed thesis? Ryan Moore
I
riding
did.
for the Charleston.
I did. I was saying that he has been, I suppose, a disappointment. He hasn't managed to get his head in front, has he? He keeps sort of finding one too good.
Skid Row Joe, if you get that, I'm going to resign. You're going to sit here and you're going to be
marking 90.
the new exotic king.
He's a hard brother to Boardman by Kingman. Thesis. He is just the kind of horse that you can see what they're running him here.
Yeah,
I thought he
pop
would be up to loftier stuff, actually. Okay, we've got one more race to come after this, of course. What price currently, Barry?
He was only beat a length and a half by My Prospero.
Yeah.
That thesis, like that's a pretty decent
Yeah.
one now. I know it's only a maiden race.
Went very well in the
April, but
coronation, didn't
Good
it?
luck, Skid Row
And a
Joe.
good reference towards Reach the Moon, who was beaten by My Prospero at Sandown. When they tried to find out whether he was Group 1, he runs, of course, in the Group 3 that signs us off today, the Hampton Court. What price at the moment on the exchange is the supposed good thing? And surely Frankie's winner of the
Has
week.
it gone 101 yet?
Well, that's
He
the
was
thing,
on
isn't it?
1.51.
Yeah, a bit bigger than expected.
Yeah, I thought he'd be 1.4, maybe 5.
Loads of people will be tuning in for that race and that race alone, because at the start of the week, you know, it was 11 to 8 against, and a lot of people started getting involved. Then the decks came out, it totally cut up. Barry really likes Ottoman Fleet running on Saturday. He's gone to that race. All sort of just saw.
Right.
Bolt back out to 28.
What's that about?
Weird.
Whoa!
Graph.
So from
Like a
30
roller
to
coaster.
15.
30 to 15, 15 out to 28.
Okay.
Wow.
Well, does he look funny or something? Where is he? Let's have a look.
Well, they're
Michael
starting
Buckley's
to go
colours.
in. We're going to call the race for you here. Basically, we'll do our best to pinpoint your hope. For those of you that don't have pictures, this is the race reaction
seen it
show
yet.
that is Racing Post Live. Betfair all week. Absolutely superb. Every Saturday, we're going to be with you, of course. God willing, in 2022. But we will be doing Glorious Goodwood and the likes. Don't you worry about that. Loads of people still at Ascot today. You couldn't get a Queen Anne badge for the next 2 days, I don't think. Probably Saturday you can still get one.
Okay.
I think Saturday was sold out.
Was it? Okay.
think-
The weather's done that, I
I
suppose.
think Friday there were still.
Were there a few still
Is,
from Friday?
is the Queen Anne sort of premier enclosure for everybody else?
That's it.
Right, okay.
That's it. Have you ever been to Royal Ascot?
Never.
No, it
Been to
doesn't
Ascot
surprise
once.
me,
It's
that.
amazing.
When?
When Novelist won the King George.
Blimey. No
10 years
reason
ago.
to go
that.
back.
Yeah. Well, no, I just never. It's not my end of the country. I've not been to Sandown since that summer.
It's a long way, yeah. Fair.
But it's the track, isn't it? Is it the best track in the world? Ascot.
It's good.
There's a
In what
question.
respect? Like the actual
Just
race
the
course?
well, I don't know
or
whatever
the,
best means. Is it the best track in the world?
as the track or
Just
as the
a
facilities in the grandstand?
the whole thing. To attend, to race at.
Best track in the world, Cartmel.
Another
Tell you
ding
what,
ding for
it'd be right up
Cartmel.
there.
Get your gazebo out.
It's got to be, isn't it?
Get your gazebo out at Cartmel.
And your
What's
caravan.
better than Ascot?
I like Cheltenham. For viewing and the bowl and the atmosphere, and I'm just a bit of a sucker.
Yeah, Cheltenham's a good race course as well.
Yeah,
What's
just the
better?
visibility's
Like,
great. I love
internationally,
standing.
What's better? Flemington's an amazing race.
Oh, hang on a minute.
I've never been.
I've never been.
The whole place is geared around getting to the racecourse. You
I
come out of the
Pushed
metro.
all in on Orton saying something in Australia.
Yes, Royal
It
Rambit
just
would
depends
be
what
the
you
one.
like. Like I like
Racing
Newbury
course like
as
bingo.
well.
We
Oh,
did
yeah,
that.
Yeah, exactly. Cartmel, me about
Yeah.
Australia, absolutely. Quizmaster
mentioned
being
Astro
insufferable.
King.
Yeah. Shastro King, that's it,
Good old
absolutely.
Astro King.
Me clicking my fingers along with Barry. Bit of shouting.
We've got a rating on RPR for the Gold Cup. Rodders has gone in and done it already because he's handicapping the stairs this year with Robbie Wilders. And we've got a
Here comes
120
the
plus.
pile. A what?
Have you
120
just got
plus.
that there?
It's there. It's not even on the site yet.
Where does that
Cypriot.
compare historically? We've broken the RPR.
Low
Grand
end, I
Rock
think. Low end for the Gold Cup.
Is it?
But I
Because
think-
they were a bit bunched.
Yeah, because they finished a bit bunch.
Yeah, that's how it
as
happens.
we talked about at the top of the show, didn't we?
I
About
might do some RPRs after this. We're going to get
This is
some
us.
tips
I
for the
think
rest
this
of
is
the week.
last one, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last one
Yeah,
going
ready
in.
to
Britannia.
go.
It's exciting stuff, this. This is such a good race to watch. If you get the winner of it, what a feeling. All right, good luck. Who's backing up from Kyprios? If you are, the 5 o'clock is off and running. Hang on a minute. What was the O? There was a spike already.
I thought one of them.
They look all
Left
right, don't
in
they?
oh, they're all there.
I think they're all there. And again, not coming up the stands rail.
More the far side. Certainly more far side
That
than
is
stand
remarkable,
side.
isn't it? I know the going stick yesterday, so it was a smidgen faster on the far side. But they don't want to know this stand side. If you've gone high, you're worrying all of a sudden. It's Tranquil Night, isn't it?
Spencer's
It's
up there.
leading
I
down
just
the near
wouldn't.
side.
I would not want to be on the wing.
This is one of the ammo horses that tried to lead in Ireland last time. Which one is it?
Who put 15 in? Just right in the middle, yeah?
Yeah, who put 50 in? Yeah, watch him because he's not off the bridle, is he?
He's on the wing of the main group, isn't he?
Who's down the near side? Spin around. Bolt hole. Jamie Spencer. Just pouncing.
I'm liking who put 50 in you right
Mr.
now.
McCann in the middle.
He is
Jimi
travelling,
Hendrix is up
Come on,
there.
who put 50 in you? He's travelling beautifully.
I don't know. The near side. There's 4 on the near side, basically. Atrium, where's he?
He's a bit on the wing. I don't like that necessarily.
Looking for one ease. He's cruising. Now King of Time starts to move out. They're Constantine. They're coming together, guys. Look at Mr. McCann. He's absolutely cruising. He's got loads to do in front of him.
Come on, who put 50 in you?
Call this. This is a nightmare, isn't it?
Oh, yeah. Far side.
All on the bridle. What's this in yellow?
Come on, Adam, put all
Koi.
your energy in.
That's Jimi Hendrix in front, isn't it?
Look at Bolt
That's
on
Jimi
trying to come
Hendrix.
through. What's this in the Mean colours? This is Lawful
Come on, Adam.
Command.
50 and you
Really
start a motor.
tough.
Who put 50
Come
and
on,
you start
Adam.
a
Wings
motor?
now.
He
Come
motors
on,
now.
Adam.
No, he's getting to get
He
hampered.
finishes this horse, doesn't he? Look at Jonathan.
Far side.
Thesis on the
John
far
Bond, far
side.
side.
One more.
And the Queen's horse.
Come on, Adam.
Thesis is going to get it.
Saga for the Queen.
Thesis is going to get it. Saga dipping
Oh,
for Frankie. Is he going to get it?
No, he's not.
Oh, more.
He's not.
2 came clear on the far side. Maiden, no more for Thesis. This could be named after Keith Melrose, couldn't it? But
10
one more. Quick
beats
double.
18.
Would have been back because it's Ryan Barry and...
Betfair SP 17. We did give it a shout beforehand. Your runner-up Saga for the Queen hit a low of 2.2. Your favourite, well, he didn't go off favourite, funny enough, at the finish, but obviously we'd who put 50 in you? He's Betfair SP at 10. Would you believe he hit a low of 5-2 on 1.42? King of Time went off clear favourite at 6.2.
the expert eye nap today.
What was?
Thesis.
Was it really?
Mark Brown, yeah.
Dear
He's
me.
one of the
You
best
really don't
judges
want to be the
anywhere in
stand
the
side,
land.
you know.
Wasn't a Skid or Joe, though, one of our social people.
Yeah, he put Jimi Hendrix up.
And he put, Thesis, Jimi Hendrix, and he put Tranquil Night. Am I right? Am I right? Yeah.
Winner drawn 10.
Yeah, winner drawn 10, second drawn 18.
18, yeah.
Third was drawn 20. But they don't, look where they've come. If you're drawn 18 and 20 in that race normally, you would be expected to come 3 off the stand.
This is a Boardman sibling who we see so many times on this show, proper turn of foot. And he would, at the start of the year, they thought he was going to be running in group races at this. And it's just this, look, Ryan's on. I mean, the 2 big yards have taken this out, haven't they? You know, Harry Charlton and Roger. Big win for Harry Charlton, of course. And, yeah, he's probably a very good horse, isn't he? He's a son of Kingman. The second Saga is, I don't know, just... What happened last time with that? I don't know, but the form looks really strong because who put 50 in you is again still quite green, isn't he?
I think what happened was he got caught on the wing of the main group, which is not ideal. You want, if you're running up in the main group, you don't want to be on the edges of it because when he came under pressure, all he needed to do was drift. You know, he drifted a tiny bit. But that's still 3 yards you're conceding to the ones who are in a pack and have stayed straight. Exactly.
Yeah, he's still quite green.
That's why you want to be in the centre of it. You want to be near the head of the arrow because if you're on the wing of the group, you're just going to, if you hang at all under pressure, you've conceded 3 yards. That's probably it certainly cost him third. And he might have gone close and even won it if he'd stayed straight.
Expert eye nap. Wow, and they were clear anywhere they've gone.
What price is that returned?
That's 14 to 1, I think was the last show.
Lovely job. Tell you what, how are you going to spend the money?
£6,000 coming
10 ways.
A share of it coming my way.
10 grand. You've done it twice. You'll feel like you're stealing it.
How they're going to spend the money.
Well, yeah.
Behind the bar. Thirsty pair has seen Mark Brown before. Absolutely. Yeah, no, great stuff. And listen, if you followed in the Expert Eye team, we were talking about them a little bit earlier on. They're insanely good judges.
Yeah, that's the first year you've done it as well, should we say?
We finally we agreed to do it.
Never done it before. So
we're
it's
also
not like
cynical usually in that department, you know. But now that they're not in an office anymore, they've expanded a bit more. They have the chance to be so cynical about things, and they're kind of.
I bet. I mean, I've been in the room with you boys, and yeah, you are quite cynical. But I've seen. No, you're not. You weren't in Typeform's editorial room. Deary me.
That was horrible. Oh, I can only imagine. Yes, indeed. Look, we love positivity here. We've got one more.
Some people now that smile at you on the telly that were worth it a lot, actually.
Frankie very nearly got his first winner over the line, didn't he? He's got the odds-on favourite. 2's on, we think, at the moment on the Exchange Reef for the Moon. Coming up, the Queen nearly got her hats off there, but it's we expect to come next time at 5:35. Who got that then? Juaniz ran really well there. Looking for a couple of others that were there.
Was that fifth?
Fifth, I think it was, yeah. For those that are playing the places of golf, the horses didn't really fire, did they?
No,
you thought you had it there, didn't you? He gave everything, didn't he?
Yeah, I
He's
was.
ran well. He has
run well.
He's made his own run in there.
I am not going to moan in a 30-minute race in the
Cambridgeshire horses, aren't we,
Britannia
yeah?
coming third. I thought I totally agree. What Keith had been on the wing there, and then even coming over just that amount, it was.
I think it's just a little bit green.
It's a well-handicapped horse, the winner.
I tell you what, who put 50 in you? Just to give you the quote. If you'd have read the quote before on your favourite things, Keith, he said, I guess you take out of it the ground was quick enough for him from what he said there. So again,
I mean, looking at his pedigree,
looking at
his pedigree, I'd say that's absolutely nonsense.
Well, that's what Clive Cox has
said.
said.
I know, but he might be right.
He's not a nonsense talker.
And he might be right, but I look at other stuff, and other stuff would say that that's probably trying to find an excuse.
Wow. It's such a hot temperature forecast, sizzling stuff at Ascot tomorrow from Kieran Thurl, our senior producer. He says, following the arrival of the royal procession, once that's done, could that be an indication that someone's turning up? The dress code will be relaxed in all enclosures. You could,
well, they announced, gentlemen, can they take off their jackets?
Yeah.
If she's not been well enough to turn this week so far, she's not going to turn up on the date's 35, is she?
Good shout. Good shout.
So she'll try and get there for Saturday, I suspect.
I think Saturday's the day she'll try and go.
It has got the race out named it fresh after her latest Jubilee.
I just think Saturday, it's the last day. I suppose for her, it's getting in and out, effectively, of the logistics of getting here and up, because she probably doesn't want to go for the full day.
No, she would have wanted to come today. They've laid on a race for her.
It's absolutely.
She nearly got that, and then this she's going to win this.
Generally, one of my highlights of Royal Ascot for over the years was watching her win, on estimate. I loved that. I thought it was the teeth.
It was
the smile.
Was it Carlton House when he won the Cheshire?
It was amazing.
I'm a Carlton House winning the Cheshire.
We've been so lucky with her support, haven't we?
I think they'll, like God forbid, when she does pass away, that everyone will look at that clip. And that's how she'll be remembered from a racing point of view. The sheer delight
John
in the
Warren
woman's
was just
face.
like, I'm going to go down in history.
Yeah. But the sheer delight in her face that day, the enjoyment she got out of that, like to see that, to actually see the Queen, and it was a kind of her veil, like when you see her, it's always so prim and proper. But that kind of, you saw behind the wizard's curtain for a little second there.
Because that's her passion, and horses brings
Queen
it out
and
in
wizard's
her.
curtain
Like,
get mentioned
even with
together.
the Queen, you just think about racing and things like that, but she's the patron of the Highland pony.
Yeah.
When she found the Highland ponies too wide, she then started riding fell ponies every day. She's still been riding every day until...
Yeah, well into her 90s.
Well,
Really?
literally...
Yeah. I didn't know that.
It's a bit of a worry for me.
No, until last
when
year
she
she was
does
riding
depart, because
every day.
the rest of them aren't that into it, are
No,
they?
racing will have
It's
lost
the
a good
lineage that
friend.
she loves. Like you say,
Yeah, but
it's the equine.
she also supports the Cleveland Bay, the horses that parade in the carriages. Like, what the Queen does for equine industry and as a whole is beyond racing. Her knowledge, she's absolutely...
Princess Anne was the one that would most likely, wouldn't she? I know she doesn't have horses.
Yes.
Serious rider.
Yeah.
Well, obviously she won
Princess
Sports
Anne.
Personality of the Year for her riding.
She was mustard. And Zara,
No, but she's been a very good patron to racing, and she'd be sorely lost.
And her mum, of course, with the jumps game, when she went, we were a bit worried about it, weren't we? Because it was just such good
yeah, but
coverage that
Zara's
we used to
picking up
get.
the baton a bit with Cheltenham. I think
Zara,
Zara's going
definitely,
for it. She's
yeah.
going to try and keep that.
Yeah.
What horses did she own? I know Mike, he owned one of the... He owned one big dude, didn't he? But I don't remember Zara's horse.
Involved that, yeah.
No, but just on board for Cheltenham and trying to be passionate
She's
about...
friends with all the top jocks, Zara is,
Yeah, she's
really
Did she
into
go
it.
out with
Johnson.
Dickie. She used to live with
Dickie.
Dickie.
Yeah.
Was
But
Dickie.
they were fire and fire.
Really?
They're like
Dickie
that.
Johnson described as
Oh,
fire
Dickie
just
Johnson.
seems a bit alien to me. I don't know.
No,
about
those
you.
two as a couple. I mean,
right.
Dickie's laid back Luke, isn't he? But I mean, those two, they didn't.
He went on Tuesday. A lot of jump jockeys went, didn't they? Posty was there with them.
Yeah, they were
Yeah.
doing
On
Injured
Tuesday.
Jockeys Fund.
Dickie
in
was there,
Boston.
Fee, his beautiful wife,
I
Fee.
saw that Posty did a podcast or something, so he emerged unscathed, but I think it would have got a bit messy there with those guys. And good to see the jump jockeys coming out, and good to see Her Majesty's horse coming out in the next then. There's the Betfair SB then. 14's on track. No, not here. Just over a shade of 16s. Happy days. And I'm seeing quite a few chats about Thesis would have been an unlucky loser had he not managed to get out. Apparently, absolutely cruised through the race. Ryan, all of a sudden,
Top
coming
job.
back to the
4?
top. Him and Tudhope.
Is that 4 for him?
Buick. Is that 4?
Well, it's 2 today.
Nap of the week and long-term nap of the week.
Oh, an anti-post.
Yeah,
Right.
so that probably gives the game away to people that have been watching anti-post price-wise. But
Well, that's fine. That's all good. That's all good. We'll love it. How's Tom Segal getting on this week?
He's been chipping away. I think he's been. He's had a winner a day.
Oh, that'll do.
Yeah, exactly.
Keeps the doctor away. So have a look at what Tom Segar's gone for out there. What's he got coming up basically in the next? Montaseb in the 6:10. Probably a group horse. Will he find the ground a bit quick? Maybe. He's got Star of Orion as well. What about Keels? Let's find Keels.
Talking about the ground being quick, but the actual times guys that are sort of taking notice of are saying it maybe isn't quite as quick as you'd think.
The watering had done its job on the first day for sure.
I think so.
What do you mean? Monteseb won on good firm at Wetherby. He liked the ground.
He loves deep ground, I think.
No, he won.
It was not. It was
Good
cut in
firm.
the ground at Wetherby.
Oh, it was good firm.
There was a lot of cut there. It was. I watched
This
it.
doesn't look horrendous at Ascot, does it?
Oh, Keels has got Mum's Tipple coming up.
Oh, he
hasn't
has.
Oh, no.
You know what's going to matter? He's put tactical up as well, we should say. For those who give you premium content here on Race Suppose Live. For those of you that are not members, why not? It's a great week to do it.
Yeah, tactical over the
50% off your first year if you sign up.
That's
now
a
to the members club.
that is. I mean, I didn't actually know that offer existed. That's a great deal.
Yeah.
You actually get the whole lot for what? It's 35 a month. So.
Just on, yeah, it is just over 35, I think, isn't it?
Yeah. So you're getting 35.
Yeah,
times
again,
2
look,
hours.
there you go. You can do that. You can go, of course, onto Race Suppose website and sign up. You get absolutely
200 quid for the year.
unparalleled
Good,
coverage.
isn't it, for all the content?
210, yeah, 210 quid for the year. Definitely do it.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Right. One more to come then. We've got 2 more races on the day, of course. I just told you what a couple of our judges fancy in them. But right now, we've got to go for the procession, as we're calling it, because just 6 runners, would you believe it, in the Hampton Court Stakes, Barry. It was odds against at the start of the week, this chap. They thought he might be the Derby horse. He placed in the Chesham last year as a 2-year-old. He's a pretty class act, isn't he? And he's been absolutely whacked.
Yeah, it looks like it has the whiff of the biggest boat race of all time. It could easily fall to pieces. It has, from an entries point of view, fallen to pieces. And your favourite's very short indeed in Reach for the Moon. Has been matched at a high of 1.68 in the exchange and a low of 1.38. So at 5-2 on, or 4-6 to 5-2 on.
Do you reckon she's on?
2's on now, 1.51.
Her Majesty's on.
She's on.
She famously, it's one of her papers that gets delivered, isn't it, the Racing
Yeah,
Post?
we should.
Oh, is it?
I think we should be making more of this. Just the Queen's.
There's a picture I'd like to see her leafing through that.
Yeah.
There is a picture out there
You like
somewhere.
Ed Whittaker's been searching for it for 25 years.
Of her having a
She's
little
just done a
egg
video-
at breakfast and the papers are around and we're
She's
near
just
the
done
top
a
of
video
it,
with
yeah.
Paddington Bear taking a jam sandwich out of her bag. She's
Marmalade.
up for fun. Marmalade. Yeah, marmalade. Paddington Bear. She's
Still
just.
getting Paddington wrong.
I really want this for Her
Paddington references.
Majesty.
Look, opposition thin on the ground here?
A wee
or-
bit. I mean, the opposition was himself a little bit because he was fancied to come out and be a Derby hope or whatever, and he was late in coming back and he ran in the Heron Stakes at Sandown, and you thought, right, let's see then. This isn't the sort of horse that Gosden runs in the Heron Stakes, and he got beat by My Prospero, and you thought, well, let's see, does that mean he's not going to go on or whatever? My Prospero ran perfectly well in the St James's Palace the other day, which sort of put that one to bed a little bit. This horse has had 4 weeks since then to come on for it. There's no excuses, basically.
No, sure.
No excuses. And he is the best horse, we knew that. However, there was always an option that he might beat himself, that he gets that run behind him, that My Prospero's come out and run well, takes that one away a little bit. I don't see any excuses.
Yeah, okay. All right, fine. So it's his to lose, obviously. The market's telling us that. Claymore, I guess, would be the interesting one, probably, Barry, but you are taking another view. You've got to lay this for showcasing the exchange, obviously.
Yeah, but we're going to set our own odds and look to lay it. So what we're going to do is, it's 153 to lay at the moment. We're going to look to get it considerably shorter than that. I want to lay it at about 5-2 on. I'd be happy to lay it at 1.40. We'd look to take 50 quid at a backer stake just to lose 20 quid. And if we don't get matched, that's okay. But 2-5, I think, is probably a fairer reflection than the 1-2 it is at the moment.
Skid Row Joe, who gave us that trifecta, do you remember the last? I think 2 of the 3 were in the frame, so
Yeah,
that's
we.
good.
You
Said that.
got 2 of the first.
Did you?
Did
All
you get
right,
2 of the
Sorry,
first?
after I was really
Wake
giving
up,
him some
Dave.
credit because I
Wake
thought
up,
he
Dan.
picked. Well, he picked 2. I mean, it
2 of
was
the first 3. I hope he did the
placement.
swinger. Can you tell us if he did the tote swinger,
yeah, can
Joe?
you find out? Because that was really good picks.
All right, great. All right.
So, but I know it's a
Back
really
on.
annoying question, like asking if I did the forecast in the Gold Cup. Of course I didn't. But yeah, let us know if you did the swinger, Joe.
Yeah, absolutely. Skid Row. Okay, Maxud is the play then for Barry against the Hot Pot. I don't know much about this chap, actually, to be totally honest. Just got over the line, didn't he, at Windsor? He was actually.
So we're looking.
We've
got a bit of
ex-Gosden horses.
Well, that
doesn't say it.
That looks like he's gone. It looks like Stradivarius might have been retired.
Oh,
that's
big
what
news.
Barry's getting.
why
at.
there's
Just
loads of
saying,
interviews?
no, it's just Frankie's quoted as saying Stradivarius went out fighting and he owes nothing to racing. He's been magnificent. You have to pass on the baton to the younger ones, and he's done his bit. He's been a star.
That's
Doesn't say that he's
Past
out.
tense, though,
That's
isn't
got
it?
retirement vibes to me.
It does. It does.
Past
It
tense,
does.
isn't it?
It suggests that he said that's him.
Well,
I mean,
Well, he's probably
you
said to
could
them, "That's
go
as good
to
as he
Goodwood
is."
and win, couldn't you? But he is obviously valuable to them, you know, in every sense of the word.
He's probably jumped off that horse and said to them, "Look, that's as good as he is these days."
That's yeah.
A couple
Exactly
of 4-year-olds beat me.
It does have retirement vibes to it. We shall see. I mean, we kept waiting for Davy Russell to retire, didn't we?
He's not done it yet, has he?
No, he's waiting. He's going to go out on a biggie.
Is it Biggie he jumps off and says, "That's it"?
He's
Yeah.
waiting.
All right, okay. Where are we? We've got around about 15 minutes to go. Reminder, we're here tomorrow as well. Graham Rodway comes back on the show. Just myself, Barry and Keith, the two betting editors, going head to head. We love a bit of that.
That'll be something, won't it?
That started with Energumene and Shishkin earlier in the year, didn't it? Where you genuinely
So
were
like-
two different tribes.
Yeah, we were. Well, sort of were.
Well, we sort of played it out for the show a little bit, but you got your day at the Sun at Cheltenham, of course. But that was good fun, wasn't it? We'll see if we
Yeah.
can get some head-to-heads. Rodders is having. He looked a bit tired last night. Rodders. I hope he's getting a good sleep.
But I mean, it's a busy old week for us. This.
Oh, man.
At the end of it, you're like Donald O'Connor at the end of Make 'Em Laugh. Just flopping back onto the. We're not back flipping off the walls en route, but we're flopping on the floor at the end.
Yeah.
And so it gets a little bit easier now because today the last decks are out, and we get the Saturday previews written today and tomorrow morning, and then we're all good. So tomorrow there'll be a bit of D-mob about it. It's the sort of last day at school vibes for people like me and Rodders. So he'll be in good form.
We're all having
and he likes to wind me up.
flesh taken then.
He likes to wind me up, and he likes to wind Barry up. So it'll be in great order.
You don't say. Absolutely. Yeah. He's back with us on Saturday as well. As is Natty.
Yes, double header Saturday.
Yeah. Final day. Hey, you getting the trip okay? Was a question that was being asked yesterday to me actually by Bruce. How you going with the trip? All right.
What do you mean the trip?
Are you getting the trip? Are you
Oh
staying
God,
all
yeah,
right?
I've got loads of stamina.
Yeah.
Oh,
Quiet night
I'd be a
tonight?
3-mile chaser, me.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, even more.
Long week for you, Barry, as well, isn't
National.
it? You came over on Monday, didn't you?
Came over Monday, yeah. But it's a great week. It's
Yeah,
fantastic.
it is. You
stay-
can't not enjoy it, can you? Because you're just in it, and you can sleep next week.
It's so hot tomorrow it's going to be, isn't it? In here we've got the lovely aircon, of course. We're going to walk out in a minute. Whoosh, we're going to get it. So, yeah, and we'll be with you Saturday. He said there might be rain showers. They're not indeed. So we'll be giving you 6 races there as well. We'll go off air just before the Queen Alexandra. We are trying to sort of fill really a bit, aren't we, up until Reach for the Moon, basically. So let us know you're out. How are you playing this race? Are you just going, yep, playing up my winnings, this is just going to win? Are you looking for some exotic bets? What are you doing? Forecast out? Are you taking him on like Barry? I mean, Claymore in that native trail form.
I would have Reach the Moon, absolutely just wins. Great, brilliant job done. And I'd have Claymore to chase him home because I think he's better than what we saw in that French Guineas form because actually if you do look at that replay, modern games who I adore, the winner, his excuse is because he sort of was widest of the stalls, then he was stuck wide and his inexperience showed him up a bit. So I think he'd be seen to better effect.
He was drawn widest in that race. You just cannot win from that.
And then he got
sort of
stuck wide as well. So it was.
Just write that one off. I mean,
Yeah, write it off.
you have to. I mean, even if you hadn't done that, even if there was no real excuses, you have to judge this horse more on his Craven.
Second in the Craven.
Yes, yes.
And it looks sexy with Native Trail beating him, and it looks sexy with Huya Mayal, the Derby second.
Oh God, that's a fortune, wasn't it?
He's been so fun. Wow, that's the best time to sell him.
I know, but just so much money.
Oh no, I would love to do it.
To Stradivarius quickly, before we go back to Jane Chapel-Himes Claymont, and Jane's also gone well this week, haven't they? Of course, intelligent, and she's had the winner as well.
Yeah,
Saffron Beach yesterday.
That was
Great day
that's
for them.
still an improving horse, clearly.
Yeah.
She's a lovely filly.
Claymore can be very keen. That would be worried about him. I've got a quote from Gosden, the joint trainer, of course, these days of Stradivarius, and we're saying that Frankie was like, done everything, hasn't he? Now, basically, take nothing away from last year's win. He was very impressive, but there was no pace, and having to come all the way round doesn't help. I think the trouble is they went no pace. He got down on the inside and had to come round the whole lot. It turned into a bit of a dash, so it wasn't exactly a 2.5 mile test. Left something on the course potentially, says Gozzy.
That's
Unfinished business, but
Interesting.
a 2.5 mile dash. That I mean, you couldn't. 3 years ago, that was Stradivarius' territory. That's not an excuse.
No problems about the ride, says Aidan O'Brien. Ryan Moore obviously gave a brilliant ride, said Aidan O'Brien on Kyprios. Held him and saved him, I thought. I'm delighted for everyone. He's a very brave horse. He's going to come forward more.
It was in the right, because usually for somebody like me who's never ridden a horse, you can recognise a tactical merit of a ride. It's not that often you recognise a sort of physical merit of it, and that was definitely a physical ride, wasn't it?
And yeah, absolutely. And the connections of Mojo Star, Ammo Racing, basically they've had a second, haven't they, in the Norfolk today, and they also had a second in the Gold Cup, and he's done a great job with him, Richard, says the owner, Keir Jarabchin, is that how I say it?
Ammo Racing.
It's the agent, isn't it?
Yeah, he's not happy about the first race by all accounts.
Oh,
well, no, you would
he's
be.
not a happy chappy, is he, a lot of the time?
I'd say there'd be more ramifications.
This horse has never let her down. Unfortunately, he has a lot of seconds, but he will have his days as Mojo Star. So I wonder whether we're going to see them renew rivalry, the first three in the Gold Cup. That was fun,
Yeah, they
wasn't
might
it?
well. I mean, they need to find their own races, though. And Mojo Star he's run a cracking race. I don't know yet whether
Champions
it was
Day?
Day. Well, yeah, absolutely. He's now got the whole season to go at. You can find they want the Goodwood Cup. They want the Group 1 with this horse. He's been second now in a Derby, a St Ledger, and a Gold Cup. Like, that horse needs a Group 1.
Yeah.
And you can find it.
And just didn't quite have the race fitness on side. You could see that a little bit in the way he looks. So
good horse in the Derby beat him. Good horse beat him in the St Ledger.
Yeah.
And now he's been beaten by a good horse, yes, but also possibly by the lack of a run or a bit of stamina.
And Hurricane Lane comes out to play on Saturday in the Hardwick, of course. That's when he's going to launch his career. All the roads lead to international targets. Him. Anand is back on. Anand Guram.
that was easy for Dave to say.
Hang on a minute, it's been a long week. We've just gone over the halfway line now, I'll be fine. Claymore has posted so much faster times than Reach of the Moon. Opposable, surely, says Arnold. Very interesting. We'll get a line from the panel after we get another social in as well from George Murray. George, welcome back. When does Keith, he does price-wise, does he approach it any different from his usual columns? We'll start with that one.
From our usual tipping columns, no, not really. From other preview columns and stuff, yes, because I think I'm doing something slightly different in those. When I write a preview column, I'm trying to... you'll be able to infer what I've backed, usually, from reading them. But you won't always... It's not about what I've backed, normally. So it's about trying to tell you the race and set it up for the punter to put it all together themselves a little bit.
Yeah.
Price-wise is totally different. And yeah, you're doing it... The difference with tipping as well is because we get judged to SP, it's a little... If you're doing price-wise for a Saturday, you can't really think about what the prices are then too much, because sometimes they just go. But if you're doing anti-post, it's totally about the prices at that moment. And that's, when you will approach the prices very differently. So yeah, all that changes is the adherence to the actual price that you do when you're doing the column. If I'm doing any tipping column, my approach will be the same, apart from if I'm taking advised prices or if I'm judging ASP, and that will have an effect on how I look at the race.
Interesting. There you go. A description of how he looks at price-wise. Then the trick is in the name. So Claymore then, faster times than Reach for the Moon, said Arnon. Let me just go and have a little look at that. So I've got some speed figures coming up here.
I mean, they've never run on the same card, have they? Which
I think Reach for the Moon is going to blow you out of that one, Arnon, I think.
He's no good. He's not done a good time figure.
Prospero was a good speed figure, but Great Max when he won at Sandown as well. That was also a decent figure. Yeah, and in the Champagne, of course. I mean, I don't think it was the greatest time, believe it or not, from Native Trail when he ran against him. Claymore, let me have a look. You got 107.
What speed figures are you citing there?
Racing Interactive.
Okay.
Yeah, which is split second, which is the Bellingham route.
Yeah, okay.
King of the Sand.
Because we get top speeds on the Racing Post card, which I use as a guide to see how good a time was. It only tells me that. It doesn't factor in sections and all that sort of stuff, but it's a really sort of good rule of thumb for...
A lot of people do their own, don't they, including our own Ross Briley.
He doesn't do his own.
Doesn't he?
No.
Does he nick him?
Yeah.
He uses split second. I know. What ratings does he do then? I thought it was speed.
He's quite a... I'm not going to advertise in other services, but he uses Andy Holdings quite a lot.
Yeah. AH, top man, isn't he, Holding? Good lad out there. All right, we're digressing slightly. Any love for any of the others? Cresta for the Meads. Not sure about him. They were very... When Freddie Mead got interviewed yesterday, after Zachariah got touched on, you could just see how gutted he was.
I mean, if you're getting done for pace over 10 at Chester by Star of India, you're probably not that class. The Star of India, he's the sort of horse that's going to turn up in cup races next year, isn't he? And
He's having a bad week, isn't he?
who's that?
Frankie.
Yeah, he's not having a great today's, but usually this is his day, isn't it?
Lots
the
of
Ribbles, because
placings.
you'll have the Ward first string in the Norfolk.
He didn't shine the last race either. He's just touched off in the same colours.
It's just not. He will be.
He will be,
Wouldn't
yeah.
want to be around him too much.
Yeah,
We're
it's
looking at
usually- 'cause
Zara
Thursday-
Tyndall actually.
If this one doesn't win,
Well,
Yeah.
I wouldn't like to be the
Bad
captain.
day. Bad day at the office.
So Zara's
when the pens start getting thrown at the
Her
screen.
Majesty in the parade ring. John Warren there. There is Reach for the Moon. He wears a hood just at the start. Doesn't need to keep him a bit buzzy. He's again it's the best form at
Hopefully they can
Sandown.
get it off. Okay.
This is of course on the round track. Has he been around a bend before? Oh yeah, Sandown obviously. Of course he has. Yeah, last time out. But he had a lot of straight track form as a 2-year-old. Okay.
Here's your man now, Joachim.
Yes. The
Oh, is
Ammo
that his
Racing
son?
Supremo.
His son looks so cute in a little top hat.
I mean, he'd be an interesting guy to get a word with, wouldn't he, on track, if you had your microphone?
Yeah.
You could probably prod him quite easily, I'd imagine, get him into it. We've done a story on the website, you'll see about Go Bears Go tomorrow. Dave lost name when he was asked about Wallbank and what he thought about that. He said, the best is yet to come for us this week. So Go Bears Go, strongly fancied tomorrow by connections. Where's he drawn in the Commonwealth Cup?
far side 4.
Is he? That was quick, wasn't it?
You what?
Yeah, that was a quick response.
Well, I did the race analysis yesterday, didn't I?
Okay. How many are in the Commonwealth Cup?
20.
Very healthy sprint divisions,
Perfect
aren't they?
Power's in 1, and
Yeah.
El Caballo's in 20. So those two are right on the wings, which I would say the places you do not want to be this week so far.
Yeah. You've been doing a couple of shows with Ross, haven't you?
Yeah,
New show
Flat
called
Pack.
The Fat
Well,
Pack.
yeah, one's gone out, but we've done 2 pilots as well. So we've got it going a little bit in terms of how it works. And
Called
how-
you the greatest export coming out of Edinburgh, didn't he?
yeah, and first time he said it, I said, oh, Sean Connery's going to have a word. But he can't, obviously, because he's dead.
It's
Yeah.
living export.
Living expert, that's right.
Yes, good old Sean Connery, of course. All right, so go and watch that. What's in it?
We basically, Ross's sort of baby a little bit. We want to try and, talk about the flat season without going, oh, what is this running next and what's going to win this race. It's more about looking at how the season forms and what the building blocks that make it up to help you sort of get your way through the season, because it is far less straightforward than jumps, no question. Jumps is all about, right, this horse wins, what does it do at Cheltenham next? Or this horse does that. Whereas the flat season is far more difficult. We talked about it earlier. It's not about horses coming back year after year. It's about dams. It's, how do you tell... Everybody knows about Cheltenham and Sandown's fences, but why is Ascot different to Newbury on the flat? A little bit, but it's more than just one's left-handed, one's right, and one's flat, and one's undulating. It's talking a lot more about...
Right up your street, then.
Very much so. Talking around races a little bit, but also, just giving the insights that help inform Ross, because obviously Ross was a pro punter for many years, still is basically a pro punter. Matt Gardner, who does it with us, is a handicapper, massively experienced handicapper, and I get to nerd out with them. So it's great fun doing it, and we're going to be doing it all summer.
You should have called it.
That's
the herd of
nerds. That's annoyingly quite good.
Yeah, see, this is... Look, that's why I'm here.
I mean, we're
It's
going
hard to sell to a sponsor, surely.
No,
Yeah, it would. It would.
Well, yeah, you got, that's why it didn't get through then. You got a sponsor in the room here.
He's lovely. Reach the moon now. He's real light on his feet, He's just skipping away, changing legs a few times, going down, but really sort of just light and free in the air.
Saying to Frankie here, don't worry, I've got you covered.
I've got
bud."
you. I've got you.
So look at Frankie going down.
You just stay on board.
Look in the best of moods, doesn't he? I mean,
Don't worry.
We're
He'll have
hearing
another fine.
a friend of mine's come on the chat, guy called Dan Ramira. Reach for the moon, 3+ lengths to win at 13-8 will do. Distances, Dan.
The Tory was going to ride him out, isn't he? If the Tory's a length or two up, he's not going to get out the saddle and give it the big licks. He's going to sort of ride.
The distance bet, of course,
That's worth flagging. We have a new thing called lengthen your odds on every race. We have.
That's a good headline.
On the sports book, every race we
You'd
have.
sell that.
Yeah, so Reach for the Moon to win by a length or more is 1-2.
Yeah.
By 2 lengths or more is 4-5. By 3 lengths or more is 11-10. 4 or more, 15-8. 5 or more, 130. 6 or more, 4-1. You get the idea.
So what's it called again? Lengthen your
odds.
That's brilliant.
I
really like
what's
that.
interesting about this is because obviously
Put that one up as well, lads.
I love that.
Get that out there.
Yeah, don't
Lengthen
worry
your
about that.
odds.
Benny Blackmore, our social guy, will do that, absolutely. Who came up with that?
Oh, the product guys.
The product guys, because it's every race, it can't be a guy pricing that up. So there must be a system that does that.
Yeah, there'd be a
So
algorithm
what's
for
the
that.
algorithm that does it?
That's beyond my pay grade, Keith.
Well, it's not going to be pay grade.
That's part of the nerd herd. That's the nerd
Can we get the
herd.
guy who did it on the flat pack?
Yeah.
Because that's really interesting. Because what it must be something like X amount of races are won by this far, and then they just project out from the horse's odds.
I'd imagine it's something like that.
Yeah, that'd be a very.
Just say yes, Keith. That's what I do. Yes, Keith.
Yeah,
there is a logic behind it, obviously.
Oh, of course,
and
yeah.
it's not human because there is so much.
We're up to race time, guys. Yet
Very calm, isn't he? Reach the moon.
they're taking their time again, aren't they, to go in a little
The
bit?
hood's having the desired effect, then, isn't it? They obviously don't think.
Chilled.
They do work, obviously.
Would there be an in-running angle there, maybe? Do you think he's
Oh,
going to
isn't
go
he
bigger, isn't he?
beautiful?
The money's really coming through now, Barry, isn't it? They are
The bit's
queuing up big
enormous.
time, aren't they?
Yes, 1.47. We're not matched though at 1.40, and we won't be getting matched. 2.6 million.
Really?
Yeah, matched in the race,
Wow.
and 2.1 of it is on him.
Something always surprises me about
0.6 million.
turnover stats. Races with short price favourites have a massively good record. Big races with short price favourites have a good record of being really high turnover.
Sure.
Even though the
Everyone's
races.
dumping on.
Well, exactly. That's what must happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like I barely
Oh,
ever
I
bet
hope
in
this
races
wins
that
for
Franco ran in, but they all had massive turnovers.
Yeah, huge.
Yeah, all right. So, Her Majesty,
Is it-
could this be our first winner? Second in the last race. This could be it.
Isn't the biggest? It might have been Corals as such. Wasn't the biggest race of the whole year for one of the big firms one year? Black Caviars. When she was 1 to 6 or something.
6 is on.
6 is on. Biggest betting race of the year.
Was that what she was? 6 is on.
Fortunate to win. I remember laying it and your man sat up in the saddle.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. That was Moonlit Cloud, wasn't it? Turned out to be, of course,
Good horse, didn't she? She was.
world-class individual
Come on,
herself.
King Max. Just
Right then,
getting-
this is it.
King
Final
Max
race
is
of the day
just-
on RP Live. Here we are. Half-time whistle has blown.
You're singing
We're
the anthem, aren't you? If it wins.
on the back end of that. We're on the run-in now, aren't we? Very much so. I was saying, when do you see the end of Royal Ascot? We're coming up to it now. We've got so much action to bring you. Stick with us, Paisley. Good luck. If you're on the jelly beans also, away we go. Max is not the best out. Not as bad as Cresta, though, has fallen out of the gates. Frankie got him right up then. You wouldn't be at all surprised. I mean, he ought to get the lead because can't really see. This is a strange move, this from Kirby. Kirby's not letting Frankie lead. Now, Claymore can be a keen horse now. How's he settled in the run?
Yeah, I think he looks okay there. I mean, that's the best way to put him, isn't it? If he's a keen horse, just keep him there. I thought King Max, he didn't come out brilliantly, did he? And then just looked like a little bit stumbly to get into his rhythm, but they're powering away now.
Turned into a sprint.
Yeah,
Could
look
this
at
be
him.
like
Only walking.
the Magnificent
That's
Seven? What was the
National
horse
Hunt.
called at the
Speed,
end?
isn't it? 33
Maybe.
miles an hour.
Yeah, they're crawling. They're calling Claymore in front. It's interesting this because
Although, I mean, it can be. I mean, the Tory
Yeah.
15:34 at that point, that'll be. Yeah, that's not fast for long at all. The Tories thought about nicking the lead a little bit, and I think Kirby just told them to
yeah,
pee off, basically.
Pee off, yeah.
Nah,
Yeah.
not
All right,
not
okay.
today.
yeah. all
So
right.
yeah, these furlongs, they're coming out of Swinley Bottom now. So these furlongs aren't dead slow,
Ah, they are.
but
I'd be happy with Claymore there
they're
because keen horse.
steady side.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's what you
all
call
right.
the steady side, I think.
Frankie's covering the move though, very much so, not letting Adam slip. I wonder if he was going to lead, Frankie. Do you reckon he was? And
I think he chanced his arm a little bit, and Kirby's definitely not flicked the elbow at him, so he's kept it.
I don't think Frankie wants to get beaten in this. Like, he's going
the
to give
market's not
this.
changed at all, Barry, has it? Up until
Well, 10 to 9 on
Oh,
there.
okay,
He
now we're
seems
getting
to
a
be
bit low.
No, he's
giving
getting
a bit
he's
of a
low in the
twos on
saddle.
again, twos
He's
on.
low in
Oh,
the saddle.
no.
Listen, Claymore's
4.7
good.
Claymore's
Claymore.
ripping away. James Chapel-Hyam going for a double. Now Reach for the Moon goes.
He's winding out. He's out.
Great Max on the outside.
Come on,
It's
Frankie.
King Max, sorry, on the outside. Yeah,
Twos
Maxon's
on.
there. This is where he lets
Yeah,
him
Come
win.
on, Her
Claymore's
Majesty.
struggling
Not
a
yet.
little bit now.
No,
Hats
Claymore,
off, we're looking
10's
at. Hang
on.
on. This is going to be a long final furlong if you're on the long odds on Reach
Come
for the
on,
Moon.
Frankie,
Claymore's
for the
coming
Queen.
back.
For the Queen.
Oh my
For the
goodness, he's going to
Queen.
get
Oh, he's
turned
got
over.
her.
This is it.
For the Queen.
He's got her.
Frankie's trying to go for him now. He's beaten. Wow.
Rut roll.
Wee. Oh man, smell the fingers. Absolutely burnt. And Claymore gets back up. Made virtually all will be the close-up comment. Frankie only second again. Well done, Barry. Took the lay of the day as Reach for the Moon. Woo! How much was matched in the end, Barry? This is going to be hard to hear.
We've got a better cause than a royal winner. We've got what for Wellchild?
Correct.
100 quid for Wellchild.
Correct. Oh, well done,
Reach
those
for
of
the
you.
Moon hit a
Oh,
low
no,
of
the
8's
rest of you,
on.
Stephen Loftus out there. Who else?
1.12.
About 2 strides, I thought he'd won.
Lots.
But I'm not 8's on does surprise me.
says Jeff Williams.
3.1 million matched in the race at the
Hey,
finish.
hey.
Reach for the Moon hit a low, 12's on, 1.12.
Oh, my Lord.
Or 8's on, sorry, 1.12.
Did he?
8's on, yeah.
Wow. Some of them haven't really turned up. Health was right out the back. Oh, my goodness me. Drama, Natty.
I really liked Claymore, but I would have had it Reach the Moon followed by Claymore. Wouldn't have had it that way around.
Native
that was
trail
impressive.
form, everyone will
that
be
was
saying.
really impressive.
Has Kirby mugged off the Tory there?
By going.
No, it's just taking the lead and just going, no, you're not getting a dictate. I'm getting a dictate.
Then they eyeballed each other for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm going to be impudent and call it. I think Kirby's mugged him off.
Well, the horse was good enough to run
they
in the
did
French
eyeball
Guineas
at
last
one point,
time.
and
Native
then
Trail, the
Claymore
Irish
won
Guineas
again.
winner. It was there, wasn't it? But look, everyone was expecting Reach for the Moon to go on, but he's just run up a bit short, hasn't he, basically?
It's very rangy, this Claymore. Big
Jane
type.
Chapelhine, now joint highest winning trainer of the week.
Yes, go on, Jane.
Doubles all over the place. She's had second as well. She's probably trumping Charlie this year. This point, I don't know.
This is good here now when
Aidan.
Adam says, get on to Claymore. Look, his ears are flat back. Like, in that race, that horse wants it, no? Doesn't
Yeah,
he?
it definitely does.
He's
Well,
almost, his teeth are almost out. Like
George
he's...
Murray saying Kirby alpha mailed to
Well,
Tory.
it did a little bit. I mean, the other thing with Reach for the Moon is the royal bloodlines have a reputation for being a little bit, they're not the doubtiest. And this horse is second dam, third dam, fourth dam, all queen bred.
Oh,
so it's a
man.
proper
Frankie's
royal
week goes from
family.
bad to
We
worse.
thought he was going to get on with it, didn't we? And Claymore's very, very brave there. But yes, I don't know. Has he idled or has he just run up short? I don't know. Frankie knew, didn't he? About 50 yards out, he was going to get turned over. King Max just finished a bit close for comfort, really. He's well beyond.
Well, it's
form.
not about close for comfort because Kirby is dictated. We've accepted that. And therefore you close up because when they don't go an even pace all the way out, they can't get strung out and they don't beat the rags by as far as you should. So I'm not worried about that. It's just that Kirby he's on a more genuine horse and he's had the opportunity to give him the sort of ride he needs to.
Seems to nick one every year, at least one, doesn't he, Adam?
Because he's a damn good jockey.
brilliant.
Damn good jockey.
Derby winning jockey, of course. Brilliant stuff. That brings us to our conclusion here then on RP Live this afternoon. Burnt fingers, my goodness gracious me. Keep the chat going. We'll look at it later on. Join us back tomorrow at 2 p.m. for the Friday, the coronation day. Not for the Queen today, but we've seen some marvellous performance. It's been great to have Nat with us. Enjoy a nice afternoon off tomorrow, Natty.
Yeah, looking forward to the morning show though, as always. I think I'm on with Bruce tomorrow. Bruce Millington.
Good stuff.
Heels.
8:30.
Yeah, great.
All right, you can catch that on our YouTube channel, of course, and on the website. Fill your lungs, Keith Melrose. Plenty more to come for you.
Yeah, I'm doing Friday's show next on another show we do it. And I'm back here tomorrow
With Ross.
With Ross. I'm doing back with Rodders and with yourself, Barry. We're going to have that. I'm looking forward to that. Actually,
Yeah.
that's going to be good fun.
It's going to be good fun, isn't it?
It's going to be
Going to be a lot of testosterone in
some
there.
opinions.
Yeah, well, it certainly is
What's the opposite
absolutely
of
right. Yeah, it's
testosterone?
been great to have you with us, Barry,
gonna
again
be
tonight.
some
A bit of dinner
opinions.
tonight and a quiet night. Long week, isn't it?
Dinner tonight, yeah. Going out, nice meal. Quiet enough night.
Yeah, it's nice.
Perfect. That sounds good for me as well. It's going to be scorching tomorrow, guys. Join us for a red hot show, 2 p.m. here on RP Live.